For the next 1,000 days, I'll be turning into all of the Avengers, harnessing each of their abilities to fight the forces of evil in Minecraft. On day 1, I spawned into the world as a normal dude. Honestly, it's weird being a human. Suddenly, Spiderman and Venom landed in front of me.
One spider bite might have made you stronger, Spider-Man, but another will surely kill you.
Says the guy who can't handle a little alien goo.
While I was distracted, one of the weird spiders ran up and bit me. Ow!
We'll make you regret that.
Venom lunged forward and made a powerful blow that fatally wounded Spider-Man.
Now that you are smushed, nothing will stop us in our quest to take over the world.
Venom left, leaving me and Spider-Man alone. I ran up to him quickly. Hey, are you okay?
Wait a second, kid. You're like me.
No, I'm not. I'm Max. I'm usually an animal.
I don't know what that means, but listen closely. Your life is about to turn upside down. Literally. You need to prepare for it.
What? What do you mean?
Take my suit and continue my legacy. You're the last hope in defeating Venom.
Spider-Man then died, leaving me scared and confused. I began to walk away, but I started to feel dizzy and passed out. I don't feel so good. On day 2, I woke up and felt amazing. I also noticed a strange object in my inventory. What's this? Whatever. I also found the Spider-Man suit and decided I might as well put it on. And with that, I guess I was the new Spider-Man. I'm scared. After trying on the new suit, I realized that it was already day 2 and I wasn't prepared at all. Time to gather some materials. First, I punched some trees and used the wood I gathered to make a crafting bench and wooden tools. Next, I decided to go mining and made sure to gather tons of cobblestone. After I had what I needed, I upgraded to stone tools. I think I'm starting to get the hang of this survival thing. I continued to explore when suddenly I accidentally shot a web on a mountain. What the? Ah! I went flying towards it and landed at the peak. What in the world? How did I do that? On day 3, I started cutting down all the trees on top of the mountain. After, I started building my superhero house. If I'm supposed to take Spider-Man's place, this spot would serve as a good vantage point. I made sure to build it nice and tall. While placing down blocks, I accidentally climbed up the side of the house. Whoa, how did I do that? I finished up the build and admired it from the ground. Looking good so far. After I finished building, I felt my hunger coming on and decided to look for something to eat. While I was exploring, I found a woman being mugged by an Enderman thug.
Give me back my purse!
If you want it, come and get it. Oh wait, you can't reach.
I felt scared, but I had to do something. You're Spider-Man. You're Spider-Man. Come on. I built up the courage and confronted the thug. Hey you, leave that woman alone.
You gotta be kidding me! You're just a wannabe superhero!
We'll see about that. We began fighting, and to my surprise, I was amazing. Is it seriously only day 3? After some fighting, I managed to scare him off with my webs.
Thank you so much, young man. How can I repay you?
Just in a day's work, ma'am. But actually, if you have some food, that would be amazing.
Not a problem.
She started to give me tons of different food as well as seeds. You had all of this food just on you?
You never know when hunger will strike.
Good point. On days 4 through 7, I decided to go mining. While digging, I found some coal and iron. Sweet! I headed back home and crafted a furnace to smelt the iron I just mined. Afterwards, I used my new ingots to craft an iron pickaxe and bucket. With my new tools and the seeds I had received, I decided to start a garden. I set off to get some water from a nearby stream. Next, I returned to my base, where I dug out some trenches and filled them with the water I had just retrieved. Lastly, I tilled the garden and planted my new seeds. Perfect! With my garden done, I decided to practice my web swinging. Okay, Max, you got this. I swung my arms forward, but nothing happened. I gave it one more try, and I shot out a web. That's more like it. I then found a ravine and began swinging freely. Woohoo! On days 8 through 11, I crafted an iron axe and set off to gather some more materials. I started by chopping down a variety of trees. Once I had gathered enough, I tried out the new wood on the base to give it some flair. I planned to make it both above and underground. I continued to build, adding both to the top and beginning the underground entrance. It looks like a house with a hat. Not too shabby. As I was wrapping up, I heard an explosion in the distance. What was that? Better go investigate. I set off to find the source of the noise and discovered Iron Man blowing stuff up.
This new tracking system is working better than expected, Jarvis.
Very good, sir.
I decided to go talk to him. Hey there!
Who are you?
Suddenly, he began attacking me. Ah! What did I do?
You don't have the same DNA makeup as Peter. You're an imposter.
I had no choice but to fight. I tried to web swing out of the way of his attacks, but he was far too powerful. Please stop! Spider-Man told me to take his mantle before passing. Suddenly, he stopped.
The kid's dead? Dang.
I know this may be a bad time, but do you want to come back to my base? I could use another set of hands.
Sure, kid. If Peter trusts you, then I'll help you out.
Perfect! I'll call you Mr. Stark.
Well, yeah, you should. That's my name.
On days 12 through 15, I returned back to the base with Mr. Stark.
This is very rustic. I'm more of an Art Deco man myself.
It's a work in progress.
It'll do for now. I'll stay with you for a while until you get your new powers fully developed.
Awesome! With Iron Man joining my cause, I quickly built him a room to stay in.
This place stinks, but it's a start.
After getting Mr. Stark settled in, he said he had a mission for me.
Venom spider minions are terrorizing a nearby town. Go save it.
You can count on me! I used my web swinging to travel to the town and found the whole place covered with spiders. I sprang into action and quickly began to shoot down the spider army with my web shooter. Ugh, this doesn't really seem like something Spider-Man would do. Oh well, die spider freaks! The battle was tough, but luckily an Iron Golem joined to help out. Thanks, dude! With our combined efforts, we managed to finish them off. Huh, maybe I'm not so bad at this superhero thing.
Oh, thank you for saving the village. Please, take this herd of sheep as a gift.
Oh, thanks. I'll take good care of them. With my mission complete, I headed back home. On days 16 through 19, I made some fences and then built a pen for the sheep. As a thank you, they gave me some wool. You guys just carry extra wool around? I then made myself and Mr. Stark a bed. Here you go, sir. While in his room, I noticed he had spruced the place up quite a bit. I needed to add on to mine more. I swung off of Mr. Stark's balcony to a nearby forest and started chopping down some trees. I then found a cave, mining a ton of stone, coal, and even some iron. With my new materials, I returned home and crafted some more furnaces. Afterwards, I added them into my base, creating a furnace room. I used them to smelt cobblestone into stone and finally craft the stone into stone bricks. It's building time! I started adding more to the base, including a watchtower to keep an eye on bad guys. I wanted to build more, but it started to rain, so I decided to call it a night. On days 20 through 23, I was woken up by a loud boom. What in the world? I peeked outside to find thunder and lightning striking in the distance. I decided to check it out and traveled towards the disturbance. Once I arrived, I found Thor flying around and killing swarms of spiders and a frost giant. Holy schmoly! It's Thor! It was amazing to watch him fight. I knew I had to help him, so I jumped into battle. We fought together side by side. It was incredible!
Be careful, boy. My lightning is unpredictable.
Don't worry, I'm watching out. I woke up in my bed, and Thor was standing right in front of me.
You need to be more careful. Lightning is a powerful and erratic element.
Sorry, sir.
Those webs will not get you very far. Take this.
He gave me a frost giant's fang. Ew, where did you get this?
It was my trophy for defeating those spider foes in battle. Use it wisely.
Thanks, Thor. He flew off, leaving me at the base. On days 24 through 28, I decided to explore some more and practice more web swinging while I'm at it. I think I'm starting to get the hang of this. During my travels, I discovered a radioactive area covered in glowing ore and goo. Whoa, don't want to get too close to that. Suddenly, Mr. Stark arrived from above.
Help me mine some of this stuff, kid. We could use it.
Isn't that dangerous?
We got super suits on. We'll be fine.
I reluctantly started to mine up all the ore in the area and gave it to Mr. Stark. Here you go, sir.
Thanks. I actually have something to give you.
He handed me an updated set of Spider-Man armor and a double web swing. Wow, this is awesome! first, I tried out the double web swing, which allowed me to shoot 2 webs at once. So cool! After that, I went ahead and tried on the new suit and gained 5 hearts.
Looking good, kid.
This is great, but what's with this blue thing on the back of my head?
It's an AI I built for you.
Hello, Max.
Ah! Someone's in my head!
You'll get used to it.
After our exchange, Mr. Stark flew back to the base. On days 29 through 31, I began to web swing back home when I spotted Venom chatting with one of his goons. I decided to listen in on their conversation in hope of getting some valuable information.
We've returned with the staff, sir.
Excellent. Then the preparations are nearly complete. We won't stop until every creature has been exposed to a symbiote.
Huh, yeah. And with that pesky Captain America captured, there's one less person to stop us.
Oh no! Okay, how am I gonna save Cap? After finishing their conversation, the 2 of them left in separate directions. I decided to follow the goon in hopes of getting some more information. Sneak attack! I used my web shooter to trap the goon in webs so he couldn't move. I heard you talking to your boss. Where are you keeping Captain America?
Nuh-uh. I ain't talking to a twerp like you.
Then you leave me no choice.
Okay, I'll talk.
Oh, that was easier than I thought. He handed me a map that led to Captain America's location. Sweet. Thanks. With my new intel, I headed back home to regroup for my rescue mission. On days 32 through 35, I began to make the necessary preparations to save Captain America. I told Mr. Stark about the information I had gotten and that I would need a stronger suit to face Venom's minions.
I can't believe they caught Cap. I'll upgrade your suit, but I need redstone to do it.
Okay, I'll go searching for it now. I got to mining and found plenty of redstone for Mr. Stark's upgrades. Red really is my color.
I scanned the area and found diamonds in your proximity.
I searched around, and Karen was right. Score! Thanks, Karen.
Of course, Max.
With my new loot, I returned home to Mr. Stark and gave him the materials he had asked for.
Kid. I'll start working on some upgrades now.
Thanks! While Mr. Stark was working, I decided to do a few things at the base. First, I made a diamond pickaxe. Second, I harvested some crops. Yummy! Afterwards, I fortified the base further by adding some fencing around the perimeter. Suddenly, though, a swarm of tarantula hawks attacked my base. Good thing I secured it. It's fighting time. I began to take out each mob one by one, but they were fast and could fly.
Let me help, kid.
Mr. Stark shot out a huge laser beam out of his arc reactor, decimating some of the mobs. Awesome! We each continued to fight the tarantula hawks. To keep my distance, I attached onto the base and used my web shooter. After a lot of fighting, we slayed the final bug. I decided to get some rest. Tomorrow, I save Captain America. On days 36 through 37, with the necessary preparations made, I headed out to save Captain America. On the way, I passed by a young villager. No, I'm just your friendly neighborhood Spiderman. I continued to follow the map until I finally reached a hideout. Inside, Captain America was trapped in a cage.
I'll figure out a way to get out of here eventually.
No way! Those are premium grade vibranium bars!
Maybe he just needs some help. I made the jump on the goon and began to attack him with my web shooter. He retaliated, breaking a meteor and unleashing symbiotes all over the place.
A gift from Venom!
He tried to fight me with his symbiote army, but I managed to scare him off. However, the entire army remained. I began attacking them, but despite their size, they were strong. They overpowered me. Ah! What's happening? Suddenly, my suit turned black and the rest of the symbiotes died. I even gained 5 hearts. Whoa. I feel good.
Are you okay?
I think so. I broke out Captain America by digging a hole for him to escape. With Cap freed, we headed back to the base to regroup. On days 38 through 41, I arrived home with Captain America.
Thank you for your bravery, Max. I want to give you something.
He gave me some vibranium.
Maybe you can make use of this.
Whoa, thanks. By the way, if you need a place to stay, you're welcome to crash here.
I think that's a great idea.
With the agreements made, I started working on Captain America's room. I built the basic structure first. Not campy enough. I decided to grab some wool from the sheep, as well as red and blue flowers. After gathering my materials, I dyed the carpet and added a fun pattern to Cap's room.
This looks great.
After Cap was settled in, I decided to check in on Mr. Stark. Hey, Cap gave me some vibranium. I thought maybe it could be useful.
I'll add it to your new suit. Speaking of suits, yours is black now. Are you feeling okay?
Don't worry, I'm fine. On day 42, my vision was being obscured by black webs. Where am I? I focused and made out a Venomized Spider-Man and normal Spider-Man fighting in the distance. Hey, stop! Despite my pleas, the two of them continued. I watched in horror as the Venomized Spider-Man overtook the other one. Suddenly, he transformed into Venom. No.
There's nowhere to hide, Spider-Man. We are one. We are Venom.
No! I woke up in a cold sweat. I better get this suit off. I began to experiment with different things to remove the symbiote. First, I tried jumping in some water.
Now I'm just cold.
Next, I tried to cover myself in sand. Nope. Third, I tried to get animals to chew it off. Stop, that tickles! Finally, I tried fire, and the symbiote fell off my suit, returning it back to normal. Yes! But also, ow! So, fire is their weakness. On days 43 through 47, I decided to go web swinging for a bit to get Venom off my mind, and maybe have a bit of fun. During my travels, I stumbled upon a giant city. Holy cow! Where did this come from? Despite the surprise, tall buildings were perfect for swinging. I decided to make my way to the top of one and enjoy the view. This is nice. Suddenly, I heard screaming in the distance.
Somebody help!
Uh-oh. Sounds like trouble. I decided to go check it out and discovered a giant sand tornado destroying the city. Not today! I sprang into action and began to fight him off, and he was tougher than anything else I had fought before.
Stand down, Peter Burger. This city belongs to the Sandman now.
I'm not Peter, I'm Max. I used everything at my disposal, including my web swing, web shooter, and Frost Giant's Fang to take him down. All the while, I was also saving civilians. But despite my efforts, none of it was enough. I got knocked back. What am I supposed to do? Suddenly, I heard a small voice next to me. Huh? What was that?
Over here!
Oh, Ant-Man?
The one and only. Need some help?
Yes, please. The two of us jumped back into the fray. I went back to shooting webs from afar, while Ant-Man was taking him down from the inside. With our combined power, we finally took him down. Thanks for all your help.
Of course! Too bad my hideout got destroyed by Venom.
I've actually been recruiting Avengers if you'd like to join.
Would I ever?
On days 48 through 51, I returned to the base with Ant-Man and started working on a small room for him.
You know I'm a normal-sized dude, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you'd like it.
You're totally right. I love it.
I was thinking about my base when suddenly I had an idea. I'm gonna make it look like Avengers Tower. First, I went mining for tons of cobblestone, as well as tons of sand. Second, I smelted the sand, turning it into glass. Next, I grabbed tons of cornflowers and turned the glass blue stained. Finally, I converted the bottom floor into stone. I also made sure to expand it outward so it'd be more spacious. This is gonna take a while, but it's gonna be great. On days 52 through 55, I decided I was tired of eating veggies. I wanted some meat. I went out and found a group of cows, which I killed for their beef. Sorry guys, you're just too tasty. I went back home and cooked them up in my furnace. However, right as I was about to eat, Mr. Stark walked up to me.
It's time to train, kiddo.
Right now? I'm about to eat lunch.
Bring it with you. If you train well enough, maybe I can give you a sneak peek to what I'm working on.
Oh boy, I'm in! He took me to a giant blue room. Whoa, but how is this gonna help me train?
Jarvis, activate Holo Program 565.
Yes, sir.
All of a sudden, buildings began to build from the ground like magic.
Okay, kid, this is your first test. You know what to do.
I began to swing from building to building until I finally made it to the end.
Great work, kid. Jarvis, activate Holo Program 343.
Suddenly, crazy birds appeared. I began test 2. I swung from building to building while fighting off the birds, but they were crazy strong. They shot out balls of sludge at me and even dodged my attacks. Unfortunately, the test ended in defeat. I'm sorry, Mr. Stark. I failed.
Yeah, a little bit, but that's okay, Max. Spider-Man's friendly neighborhood wasn't built in a day.
Can I still see a sneak peek of the armor?
Sure.
On days 56 through 59, Mr. Stark took me into his lab.
I present the leggings of your new suit.
Wow! They look great! What's so special about them, though?
Besides the nanotech, advanced artificial intelligence, and ultra-flexible yet indestructible material.
Whoa, that was a lot of big words.
I'm glad you like them, kid. They'll be done soon. You'll just have to wait a little longer to put it on.
I can't wait! After my sneak peek, I decided to do some more building. I used my stone, smooth stone bricks, and glass to convert the second floor of my base to look more like Avengers Tower. After I finished building, Ant-Man walked up to me.
Hey kid, catch!
Suddenly, I shrank super small. Whoa, what was that for?
I got a mission, and I need your help. You in?
Of course! On days 60 through 62, I followed Ant-Man through an underground tunnel. While we were there, we passed by giant ants. Hello! We kept walking, where Ant-Man led me to a hole in the wall. Inside was a swarm of symbiotes.
These guys are scaring my ant buddies. We gotta do something about this.
I have an idea. We use fire. I left the tunnel, going back home to grab some flint and steel. After, I quickly headed back to meet Ant-Man.
Flame on?
Flame on. I used my flint and steel, and it worked. The symbiotes went up in flames. Burn, baby, burn. After setting tons of fires, all the symbiotes died.
Good job, kid. Keep it up, and Tony might just make you an Avenger.
Whoa, really? I would love that so much. On days 63 through 66, I sought out a beach. I wanted a lot of terracotta, so I grabbed as much clay as I could. After mining tons of the stuff, I started to head back home. On the way, I heard scared meowing in the distance. I investigated, discovering a cute little cat stuck in a tree. Oh no, little guy, I'll help you. I swung up to the top of the tree and grabbed the cat. When I turned around though, a tiger was staring at me. Ah! We gotta go! I swung down and the tiger started to chase me. I kept my calm and continued running, evading the tiger.
I was just gonna ask for an autograph.
Once we were to safety, I dropped the cat to the ground. Hey, do you want to stay at our base? We could always use a team pet. On days 67 through 70, I talked with Iron Man more about my suit. Do you think it would be possible to add some sort of fire ability to the next iteration?
Say no more, but only if you fix up my part of the base. It's making me sad to look at.
Okay, Mr. Stark, you got a deal. He tossed me over some materials that I can add to his room, and I got to work. I converted Mr. Stark's room to be a part of the Avengers Tower, while also adding a few personal touches. After a ton of work, Iron Man's floor was officially complete.
Ah, much better. Now, your armor as promised.
He put the new chest piece on an armor stand, and it was amazing.
I also added the fire aspect you asked for.
It looks incredible, but I want it now.
Alright, calm down. Here, take this.
He tossed me an upgraded web shooter that shoots faster and does even more damage. I tested it out on some zombies, and it was super effective. I love this thing! On days 71 through 74, I went exploring and noticed Thor's hammer on the ground. Did Thor drop this? I tried to pick it up, but I couldn't. Why won't you budge?
It is because you are not worthy.
Well, how do I become worthy?
There's no straight answer I can give you, son. But we can start with some training.
Awesome! We started training by staking out a mutant skeleton's camp.
These fiends have ravaged nearby villages, destroyed crops and livestock. We need to put that to an end.
Then let's do it! The two of us jumped into battle, but even with my previous training, they were tough. I tried to slow him down by shooting my webs. Meanwhile, Thor did major damage with his lightning attacks. Dang, he is so cool. I made sure to keep my distance from his lightning this time and continued to wail on the giants. After a ton of fighting, we managed to defeat them all.
Excellent work, Max.
So am I worthy now?
Not yet, but we'll train again soon, and maybe then you will be.
On days 75 through 78, I showed Thor our progress in Avengers Tower.
It looks fantastic, Max. Fit for a god.
Would you want to stay here? Tons of other Avengers do. He said he'd love to, so I started building right away. I continued adding on blue stained glass, as well as stone bricks. Once the foundation was down, I worked on the interior, adding accent blocks to fit Thor's Asgardian roots.
Where did you get all this gold?
Mr. Stark.
Oh yeah, that guy's loaded. Well, it looks great.
After showing Thor's room, I continued to build, converting the watchtower floor to be more Avengery. Awesome! After changing Cap's room, this place will be almost done. On days 79 through 81, I went looking for some bad guys so I could impress Mr. Stark. Hello? Bad guys! I was about to give up when suddenly I spotted Venom in the distance. Everything around him had turned black and symbiotes were everywhere.
My power grows every day. Soon, with the power of this staff, I will infest the entire planet with my symbiotes.
Not on my watch!
If Peter Parker couldn't kill me, you definitely won't be able to.
We'll see about that. I ran into battle and began to use all of the abilities I had to take him down. But even with my webs, he was super tough. He quickly overpowered me and beat me down with his powerful attacks. I was only left with half a heart.
In your last words, little spider.
Suddenly, Venom was blasted by a light beam from Mr. Stark.
Might want to bring some sunglasses next time. Come on, Max.
With Venom incapacitated, the two of us made a run for it. On days 82 through 85, we managed to make it back to the base.
What the heck were you thinking?
I just wanted to impress you, so you could make me an Avenger.
Like I said, kid, these things take time. That being said, it's time to train. If you pass, I'll give you your new suit.
It's finished?
Yep, I completed it last night. Now come on, let's train.
The two of us returned to the same room as before, and this time skeletons were everywhere. I knew what to do. I began to fight them and take them down one by one. Wow, I really have gotten stronger.
Not bad, kid. Now it's time for your final test.
What's that?
Fight this guy.
Suddenly, a huge monster appeared in front of me. Bring it on, big guy! The battle began. I used my webs to deal damage from afar, but even with my new strength, he was powerful. Each hit he landed had crazy knockback. I wasn't sure if I could make it, but I managed to land the finishing blow. Woohoo!
Congrats, kid. You finally completed your training. Here's your reward.
He handed over a new set of armor, as well as a new web shooter. I put it on, officially making me the Iron Spider. With my new suit, I now had 25 hearts. This is amazing!
Give that fire aspect you requested a spin.
I tried it out and shot a giant laser, just like Mr. Stark's. I'm unstoppable! On days 86 through 90, I decided to add on to the tower more, converting Cap's room in the process. I even added the A. Thank goodness Tony has so much diamond. I also made the garden bigger, since the Avengers ate a shocking amount. After all the building, a note fell from the sky. What in the world? Hey, Spider-Man, meet me at these coordinates. We need to talk. Harry. I figured this might have been old Spider-Man's business, but I decided it was best to check it out. I followed the coordinates through multiple biomes until I reached a huge mansion. Cool. I entered the mansion to find Harry Osborn waiting inside for me.
Hello, Spider-Man. Or should I say Peter?
No, I'm not Peter.
Liar!
Suddenly, he began to attack me. I had no choice but to fight back. Ah! I'm not Peter Parker!
Yes, you are! And you killed my father!
He threw pumpkin bomb after pumpkin bomb at me. I did my best to avoid them, but it was a little hard to maneuver indoors. After a lot of fighting, I hit him, making him fall to the ground. I quickly took off my mask to reveal my identity. Look, man, I'm not Peter. My name's Max. Peter was killed by Venom.
What? That can't be true.
Yeah, it is. Sorry. Things got a bit awkward, so I left. On days 91 through 94, I decided it was finally time to finish building my base. Here goes nothing. I completed the top of the building, then added a meeting room with a round table and chairs, officially completing the Avengers Tower. I can't believe it's actually finished.
Hey, kid.
Oh, hey, Cap.
You ready for some training?
Training? With you? Of course. When do we start?
Now.
Suddenly, Captain America slammed me off the building with his shield. Hey, calm down, man!
You gotta be ready for anything, even the unexpected.
We began to fight it out. I had to be especially careful to avoid his shield. That thing does not obey the laws of physics at all.
I understood that reference.
I managed to find an opening and got some good hits on him. Finally, I bound him with webs and snatched his shield.
Nice job, kid.
Thanks. Well, I could have landed those punches a little bit better. Sorry, you probably want this back.
No, it's fine. Keep it for now. You're gonna need it.
Really? Awesome! Thanks! After a tough fight with Captain America, I wanted to test out his shield on some enemies. Wow, this thing is strong! On days 95 through 98, all of the Avengers asked to meet with me. What did you guys want to talk about?
I hate to say this, but I'm proud of you, kid.
You have shown tremendous courage.
You've triumphed in the face of challenging foes.
You lit a cave on fire and saved my ant friends.
Anyways, it's my honor to make you an official member of the Avengers. Congrats, kid.
Wow. Thank you guys so much.
You are also now worthy of this.
Thor gave me Mjolnir as a congratulatory gift. This is the best day of my life! After all of my struggles, all of my heartache, I was finally a member of the Avengers!
Also, we can't help you fight Venom.
What? Why?
Yeah, so this new dude, Thanos, is threatening to wipe out half the universe. Much bigger threat than Venom.
Oh man. On day 99, I packed up tons of food and organized my inventory for the final fight.
Good luck, man. We're all rooting for you.
And you're sure you can't come with me?
Nah, we're actually leaving now. You should see this guy. Huge purple dude.
Huh. Weird. After talking to Ant-Man, I began my journey. After a while, though, I started to lose hope. How am I supposed to find this guy? Luckily, in that moment, I spotted one of his goons. I went into stealth mode, following close behind him. After a lot of sneaking, the minion led me to a giant black structure. It was pretty gross, with tendrils sticking out of it. This must be the place. On day 100, I walked into Venom's lair. He was at the center of the room, on a white throne chair. Hey weirdo, your days of terrorizing this world are over.
No, it's just beginning. Soon all will be consumed by the symbiote. All consumed by Venom.
You know I can't let that happen. Right then, our final fight began. Venom didn't hold back though. Just like our previous fights, he was incredibly powerful. He was even able to summon zombies out of thin air. Ow, ow, ow! I threw everything I had at him. Mjolnir, Captain America's shield, and even my own webs. But nothing seemed to slow him down.
Is that it, little spider? You're gonna need to do better than that.
I ignored him, continuing to hurt him however I could. After a lot of fighting, it was actually working. Venom was getting tired. Now's my chance. I pulled out Mjolnir, striking him with lightning and setting him on fire.
No, we cannot die.
Venom died, and I saved the day. I did it! Oh, wait. I don't feel so good. I wonder how the other dudes are doing with Thanos. And with that, I was turned into dust. But my problems weren't over yet. I could feel myself regenerating into a whole new superhero form. On day 1, I spawned in as a young Thor. I was on the balcony of the royal capital in Asgard itself. As an Asgardian god of thunder, I had a crazy amount of hearts. Wow, I'm strong right off the bat. When checking my surroundings, I noticed my brother Loki talking to my father Odin.
Come here, Thor, and join your brother. I have gifts for you.
Ooh, what is it?
As you boys know, you are not normal children. You are gods among men. As such, a god must wield a powerful weapon.
What did you get us, Father?
For you, Loki, I believe 2 swift daggers are in order. With them, you can eliminate any foe quickly and quietly. Thor, I have this.
A hammer?
Not just any hammer. Mjolnir, forged from a dying star.
Cool! Wait, aren't these a little unsafe to give to children?
You are gods! Now go play, my children, and stay out of trouble.
With that, Loki and I began to explore our beautiful home of Asgard. We ran to the end of the Rainbow Bridge to get a full scope of the city. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Whenever I grow up, I'm gonna rule these lands.
Nuh-uh. I am Loki, ruler of Asgard.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
No!
Yes.
We continued to argue all night about it, but that was normal. We're brothers after all. On day 2, Loki and I continued to explore Asgard in all of its beauty. Wow, this place is so cool.
It is, but I'm thinking it could use a little mischief.
What do you have in mind?
Let's go mess with that frost giant.
I don't know.
Come on, where's your sense of fun, brother?
Okay. We went down to the prison cells to say something cheeky to him. Hey you, how's the weather up there?
That's incredibly offensive.
Yes, right, like Frosty the Snowman can get offended.
Just then, the frost giant snapped, busting out of his cell and attacking us. He charged at us and began to beat us down with his massive fists. We had no choice but to fight back. We took out our weapons and began to go at the giant. Cut it out, man! We're literally little kids! You shouldn't be doing this!
Frost giant children know their manners and are punished for acting out of line.
Frost giants are dumb.
The battle raged on, but neither of us showed any signs of letting up. Just as we were about to make our final strike, Odin appeared.
What is going on down here? could have gotten yourself killed.
But you said it, Dad. We're gods. We can do whatever we want.
I did not say that. I won't stand for this disrespect. I've kicked people out for less.
On day 3, I woke up and realized I was now a teenager. As a teen, I had 15 hearts and felt even stronger than before. Whoa, this is sweet. I decided to take another stroll through Asgard to flaunt some of my new strength. However, while I walked, I saw that Loki was now a teenager too. Hey, you're a teen now too. Isn't this cool?
Yes, it is. We should celebrate.
What did you have in mind?
Just a little prank.
The two of us took the flint and steel and approached a nearby home.
Okay, time for a little fire.
Just like that, Loki lit a single block ablaze. What's the plan now?
We wait until the poor sod realizes that their house is on fire. Then we put it out.
Unfortunately for us, Asgardian homes were incredibly flammable. The house burst into flames, putting the entire neighborhood at risk of burning. What do we do?
I'll tell you what we're not doing. Telling Father.
What were you thinking?
We weren't thinking. We're sorry.
You boys won't listen to reason. I have no choice. You're both banished from Asgard.
Banished? But...
This isn't up for discussion. Hand over your weapons.
We did as we were told and headed through the Bifrost, sending Loki and I into a whole new world. I'm gonna die here. On days 4 through 8, I was in the overworld all alone and left completely without resources. This stinks, but I guess I should gather what I need to survive. I started by punching down some trees and used that wood to make a crafting bench and a wooden pickaxe. Next, I headed to the mines and gathered up plenty of cobblestone, which I used to upgrade to stone tools. Now that I had a stone axe, I continued chopping down trees, getting even more wood than before. That's enough gathering for now. I better build some shelter. I searched until I finally found an open field perfect for building. There I used my wood and cobblestone to create a basic house. Pretty solid start. All that work got me hungry, so I killed some sheep for their meat and wool, which I used to make a bed. Finally, I cooked up some mutton for dinner and enjoyed it in my new little house. As much as I liked what I had made for myself, I couldn't help but miss Asgard. I wonder where Loki is. On days 9 through 12, I woke up to find Heimdall waiting at my door. What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be guarding the Bifrost?
Thor, hurry. You have to come back to Asgard.
What? I just got kicked out.
Just trust me.
I left and followed Heimdall, who led me back to Asgard. However, when I arrived, the entire city was in disarray. Who caused all this? From the flames, a strange woman approached me.
Hello, brother.
Do you mean brother like sup brother, or are we straight up related?
Second one. Anyways, Asgard will be no more very soon.
Impossible! Our father won't let this happen!
Our father is currently dying in his throne room.
I felt my heart drop into my stomach. I didn't have a moment to waste. I rushed to the throne room to find him badly injured. Father!
Thor, I'm sorry I banished you. There isn't much time. Take Mjolnir and rebuild Asgard.
Before I could respond, my father died in my arms. No! I couldn't let my father down or the people of Asgard. I ran outside to see if there was anyone I could help save. During my patrol, I heard Heimdall call to me.
It's too late to save the realm, but I'll send as many Asgardians to the overworld as I can.
Good luck, Heimdall.
Same to you, Thor.
I went through the Bifrost, unsure of what the future of my people held. On days 13 through 15, I returned to the overworld and transformed into an adult. I now had 30 hearts and even more strength. The power of Mjolnir is mine once more. I will not waste it. I vow to rebuild Asgard to its former glory, for my family. I started by expanding onto my house, adding additional rooms, including a chest room. It's not Asgardy enough. It's missing something. I set up to the mines and found some coal, iron, and heaps of gold. I quickly smelted the iron ore into ingots and crafted an iron pickaxe. I then used it to mine all the gold ore I needed. I returned back to my home and retouched the house with my new gold blocks. It'll work for now. With my upgrades completed, I ventured out in search of more materials and potentially some Asgardians I could offer refuge. On days 16 through 19, I flew around exploring the overworld until I came across a village being attacked by a monster. I quickly landed to see what was going on.
Asgard was the first to fall, but won't be the last.
This must be Hela's doing. I gotta stop this. I rushed in to fight the beast. He was no match for my godly abilities.
I thought all the Asgardians were dead.
no matter, just another to exterminate.
Not today, foul monster! Our fight continued. I admit, he was stronger than I expected him to be. Each of his hits would do a surprising amount of damage towards me. Luckily, with Mjolnir, I could fly, which I used to my advantage when I needed to heal up. I also used my lightning abilities, which hurt the monster badly. After a fierce battle, the monster fell, leaving me victorious. The villagers of the town started cheering for me, thanking me over and over again.
Hello, great hero. Would you be so kind as to join us for a feast? It would be an honor.
Food? I'm starving!
Very good. Follow me.
This is delicious! I need more!
Dude, he's eating all of our food.
Shh! He saved our butts. It's the least we can do.
Another! A feast for the ages! On days 20 through 23, I continued to search for materials I could use to expand my home. While chopping down a tree for some wood, I heard some rummaging nearby. What's that noise? I began looting around to find the source of the noise, until finally I came across an animal looting someone's belongings. Excuse me, rabbit. Does that belong to you?
Huh? Who are you?
I am Thor Odinson, god of thunder, and mightiest warrior of Asgard. Well, what's left of it.
God of thunder, huh? How about you whip up some lightning and give my tracker a chuck? Ah! Hey, not on me, you idiot. I meant, hey, that actually worked.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but don't do it again.
What do you seek, Rabbit?
The name's Rocket. I'm looking for my friends. We call ourselves the Guardians of the Galaxy. We got split up because of some unforeseen circumstances.
I then asked Rocket if he'd be down to join my cause. I could use a partner.
What's in it for me?
I'll help you find your friends if you help me find mine.
Deal, but not looking like that. Take this.
Rocket gave me a new suit, which gave me armor protection. Not bad, Rabbit. Thank you. With the deal made, we set off back to my home base. On days 24 through 27, with Rocket's help, I started expanding the base. We added a second layer to the house, making it much bigger. Next, we built a sizable farm. Soon, Asgardians would populate the town, and they would need a reliable source of food. After wrapping up, Rocket had a favor to ask.
So Thor, I was wondering if you could do me a favor. I'm kind of wanted by a shady mafia.
Shady who?
You know, mafia, the bad guys. Come on.
Gotcha. Where do I find this mafia man? Rocket then dropped me a map to the place.
Make sure you take out the green-suited guy. He's big trouble.
Rabbit, what did you do?
What? Nothing! I just took his doormat is all. No biggie. He don't need it.
All right, I'll do this for you. Make sure if any Asgardians come by to welcome them with open arms.
Yeah, sure, all right. Just get out of here.
With that, I promptly left New Asgard. Using the map, I flew towards the location. After quite a bit of flying, I found a town, with my brother Loki running it. On days 28 through 31, I tried to approach Loki, but I was quickly stopped in my tracks by one of his goons.
Whoa, what do you think you're doing?
I'm here to see my brother.
Loki? Ha! That's hilarious. You're toast, kid.
The goons lunged at me and began attacking me. I took out Mjolnir and began to strike them with the power of thunder, but they were tougher than they looked. They were highly skilled swordsmen and dealt a good amount of damage whenever they landed a hit. Luckily, Loki came in to break up the battle.
Brother, you finally made it. What a surprise.
What are you doing? How long have you been here?
I run this town. The people here love me.
Well, that's cool, but can you come home and help me rebuild Asgard? It's been destroyed.
No can do, brother.
What? Asgard is dead, along with everyone that we knew and loved. We have to rebuild.
I love ruling these people myself. I don't need you.
What about Hela? We need to stop her. She could come here next.
If she does, she'll feel the wrath of the most powerful god in the universe. Me, Loki.
Fine. Stay here and have your fun. Also, stay away from Rabbit. He's my friend.
You're friends with a rabbit? Just to stay out of my way, brother.
Frustrated, I stormed out of the village. On days 32 through 35, I was traveling back home when I was suddenly stopped by a group of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents.
We need to ask you some questions. What brings you to the overworld? What are your motives?
What? Step aside. I have done nothing wrong.
Freeze!
I ignored them, and they began to send heavy fire at me. However, their bullets were completely ineffective. I was a god after all.
Calling reinforcements!
More soldiers were summoned and stormed in to try and subdue me. They tried to overpower me with brute strength, but unfortunately for them, I could easily overpower them. Please, this won't get anywhere for you. The soldiers kept coming, and I was about to fly away when a strange man with an eye patch emerged.
Stand down, man.
What do you guys want from me?
I'm Nick Fury. I'm trying to gather Earth's mightiest heroes to form a team, and I thought you'd fit right in.
Sorry, I have bigger things to take care of right now.
I understand, but if you ever change your mind, give us a call.
On days 36 through 39, I finally returned home to find some Asgardians waiting for me in the front of my house.
Are you the son of Odin? We heard we can take refuge here.
Welcome to New Asgard. I'll build you a home as quickly as I can. I got to work and constructed a home complete with everything an Asgardian needed to live in luxury.
Thank you, Thor. Please take this golden goose egg.
I'm always happy to help. Later that day, Rocket approached me.
Hey, dude, did you kill Loki?
Nah, he's my brother, but I did get the bounty removed from you.
Brother, huh? Well, good enough for me.
Things were settled in New Asgard, so I went mining for some more materials. I gathered tons of cobblestone, so I could use it to further expand Asgard. I also came upon a good bit of iron, which would prove useful in upgrading my armor. After a lot of mining, I finally found a bit of diamond, an ore fit for a god. After a successful mining trip, I decided to get some shut-eye. On day 40, I had a horrible nightmare. I was once again in Asgard, as it burned all around me. I felt as if all of my power had been drained from me as I watched her bury my home in flames. I have to stop this. I flew up to the top of the royal capital, where I found my dad. Dad!
I hope you know how much of a disappointment you are.
No, stop.
If you were strong enough, you could have stopped her.
Please,
Save our people, son.
I jolted awake in a cold sweat. I have to stop Hela and rebuild Asgard. On days 41 through 45, I had a hard time thinking straight after my nightmare. I felt like a failure for my dad and my people. If only I was strong enough. Just then, I bumped into someone by accident. Hello, sorry, didn't see you there. The masked stranger took out a blaster and fired at me on all cylinders. I thought the bullets would be pathetic, but any hit from his blaster packed a punch. I took to the skies to avoid his attacks and struck down lightning onto him. Whenever I got the chance, I came in close to deal massive damage.
Okay, I yield.
I'm Thor. What brings you to this area?
I'm Star-Lord, looking for a friend of mine. He's a raccoon-looking guy. Have you seen him?
Unfortunately, I haven't. I do have a new rabbit friend, though. He might be able to help you.
And lead the way.
I took Star-Lord back to New Asgard and introduced him to Rabbit. Rabbit, I'd like you to meet...
Will! Oh, thank God, man. You're still in one piece.
Yeah, with no thanks to you.
Okay. That Nova TNT was a little more powerful than I thought it'd be.
A little more powerful? You blew up a freighter.
Regardless, it's good to see you okay, Quill.
You too, man.
I decided to build a place for Star-Lord to stay since he seemed to be hanging around for a while. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Hope this works.
It's alright, but definitely give it more flair later.
Once I finished, I remembered I had a few diamonds from a few days earlier, so I crafted them into some boots. Not too bad. On days 46 through 49, Star-Lord came up to me to give me a mission.
I need help saving our buddy Groot. Hela sent some of her minions to capture him.
Any enemy of Hela is a friend of mine. I accept.
Great. He looks like a tree, so you can't miss him. Good luck.
I then set off towards the location to find Groot. I knew I was close when I spotted a group of her minions with a captured tree creature. Hey, release that tree at once. Once they spotted me, they rushed into attack, and I did the same. They were able to fly, but luckily, so was I. I struck them down with my lightning, but they were incredibly evasive. Hold still! I took down the final monster, thinking the battle was won until a giant monster revealed itself.
Prepare to dawn, Asgardian.
This creature was much stronger than his smaller counterparts, but I was the god of thunder. I took him down with my powerful lightning and evaded his own aerial attacks. Once defeated, the monster dropped a ton of gold blocks. Wow, this is perfect for New Asgard. I took out my pickaxe and freed Groot from his prison.
I am Groot.
No problem, you must be Groot.
I am Groot.
I have seen your friends. That's why I'm here, actually. You ready to see them?
I am Groot.
Awesome, let's go. We then headed back to the base where he was reunited with his friends Star-Lord and Rocket. While they were catching up, I chose to start building another house for Groot to stay in. I started by getting some shears and taking the leaves off of an oak tree. I then got to building. I went with a tree look and love how it turned out. Once finished, Rocket came up to me super excited.
Hey, I wanted to thank you for saving my friend. I made another armor upgrade for you to show my gratitude. Here, try it on.
Wow, thanks Rocket. This is gonna help a ton. On days 50 through 53, I continued to look for more Asgardians in need of shelter. I found a small group, which I happily directed back to my base with a map.
Is there food?
The finest in all the lands.
Are pets allowed?
If they don't eat people, then yes. They thanked me and I took to the sky once again in search of anyone else who was nearby. During my travels, I spotted a village and decided to see if they knew anything about the whereabouts of my people. Excuse me, sir, have you seen any— Achoo! I accidentally zapped the group with lightning, splitting them into a group of witches and lethal villagers. Oops! Sorry!
A little thunder boy. Perfect for my potions.
Move in, boys.
The witches and lethal villagers started to attack. They threw different potion bottles at me and fired their weapons. I could easily overpower them, but I didn't want to hurt them. Ah! Please stop! I pleaded with them, but the onslaught continued. I had no choice but to fight back. If I didn't, they would hurt the innocent villagers. I was much more powerful than them, taking down each of them with relative ease. Okay, I feel super bad about that. Don't accidentally throw your hammer at villagers. Noted. I returned to New Asgard and saw the Asgardians I had recruited arrive safely. To get my mind off the witch village, I decided to expand the city some more with new structures for them to live in.
Thank you.
All in a day's work, citizen. On days 54 through 57, I left my house to find another Thor talking to my friends. What the heck? Who are you?
Whoa, imposter.
What? No, you're the imposter, imposter!
Alright, this is getting real sussy. 2 Thors? Which is the real one?
Rocket decided to hold an interrogation to decide which one of us was the real Thor.
Each of us Guardians will ask a question only the real Thor would know. Quill, you start.
Okay, what is my favorite cereal?
Huh? How would I know that?
Captain Crunch.
Correct. That's 1 point for Thor number 1.
Captain what?
Quiet, Thor number 2. We're asking the questions around here.
I am Groot.
Oh, I know, right?
I'm sorry, what did the tree say?
I am Groot.
I understood you, Groot. I took your language as an elective course on Asgard.
Dang.
Just then, the second Thor transformed into Loki and took off running.
Goodbye.
Come back here! On days 58 through 61, I chased Loki through a number of biomes, but even a god would have to slow down eventually. When I caught up, he immediately began to attack me. I had no choice but to fight back. I used Mjolnir to strike him from afar, then try to come in close, but the minute I did, he teleported away from me. Where'd you learn how to do that?
I've learned a lot since we've last spoken.
All of a sudden, he created multiple clones of himself which all swarmed onto me at once. They might have been copies, but they all felt just like the real one. Ah! I knew I wouldn't get anywhere fighting an army, so I took the skies and shot down lightning from above. I managed to take out each and every clone, leaving only the real Loki remaining.
Oh, brother. You've got me?
Why did you flee from me?
Hello's after us both. Don't you get it? Might as well have some fun while it lasts.
Now isn't the time for fun. When will you learn that? Before I could say another word, he vanished before my eyes. Ugh, that slippery snake. On days 62 through 66, I walked out my door to find all the Guardians waiting for me.
Hey, we got a lead on the whereabouts of one of our teammates, Drax. We're gonna go look for him. You wanna come?
Nah, I'm good here. The Guardians left, leaving me some time for myself. Everything was going great until suddenly a horde of Hellas minions attacked. You may have taken my old home, but not my new one. I flew into the fray, clutching Mjolnir tight as I summoned lightning from the heavens. I shot down the foes one by one and landed to get in some close combat as well. They were tough, but no match for the power of a god. Unfortunately for me, they had me up in numbers. More and more kept coming. When will this end? Just then, Hela appeared from the crowd.
I finally found little Thor Odinson.
I will crush you for what you have done to our people!
Why, I'm only showing them the same hospitality I received. I'm tired of being imprisoned. I'm taking this wretched city back.
She began to attack me with a flurry of thorns and powerful attacks with her fists. Not only was she powerful, but she was fast and similar to Loki, could teleport. I used all the power I had to try to take her down, but my attacks were completely ineffective. I couldn't fight anymore and waited for her to make the final blow that would end it all. Ugh, why don't you just kill me now?
Watching you struggle is half the fun.
Hela left with the remainder of her minions, leaving me defeated in New Asgard. Mjolnir isn't enough. I have to find more ways to train. On days 67 through 71, the Guardians returned from their mission with one of their friends at their side.
Whoa, you look awful. What happened?
It's a long story. Who's this?
I'm Drax. Maybe there's something I can help you with.
I explained the situation with Hela and how I was no match for her power.
Actually, I have some information on the location of a rare artifact. It's said to possess a lot of power if you can get your hands on it. Take this map and you'll see what I mean.
Thanks. I'll start preparing for the journey. I started by expanding New Asgard more and prettying it up so it would be in good shape while I was away. I replaced the cobblestone with quartz and added plenty of gold accents to call back to our Asgardian roots. It took a lot of work, but once it was complete, New Asgard had an entirely different feel, even better than before. With my expansion completed, I went mining and found even more diamond I could use for upgrades. I crafted it into some new armor and set off towards the location on the map. Let's do this! On days 72 through 75, I followed the map Drax gave me until I finally arrived at a battle arena. This isn't a dungeon. I investigated it further to find that the arena was full of people with warriors battling at the center.
Welcome to the contest of champions. Battle it out, climb the ranks, and win the rare and valuable Stormbringer prize.
Whoa, that must be the artifact! I need that! I signed up without another thought and was put directly into my first match. The other competition were pushovers, so I knocked it out of the water. Fight after fight I won, even throwing Mjolnir to one-up my opponents. Why haven't I been doing this sooner? Finally, I made it to the championship match. Who can stand up to a god?
For the final match, Thor, Lord of Thunder, will be facing none other than the Hulk.
Just then, the Hulk burst into the wall and the audience went wild. Uh-oh. The championship match commenced, but the Hulk didn't earn his title for nothing. He slammed his fist into the earth, which sent shockwaves everywhere. Every direct hit also gave me gamma radiation poisoning. It was no question that he surpassed me in strength, but I did one-up him in something. Speed! I threw Mjolnir at him from afar, and even took to the skies to shoot lightning at him. You can't hit what you can't catch.
Hulk smash!
I continued hitting him down with Mjolnir whenever I could get an opening. After a lot of back and forth, I finally took down the Green Giant.
And the winner is Thor.
Yes, I did it! I was awarded Stormbringer for my efforts and left the stadium with the audience roaring behind me. On days 76 through 79, I was flying home with my new prize and went to test it out on some mobs. It was incredibly powerful, which knocked down all the mobs with ease. Haha! Another step closer to victory. When I finally arrived at New Asgard, I found Loki waiting for me outside my home.
I heard about your battle with Hela, and I want to help. Got my hands on a recipe that could amplify your powers immensely. I just need you to get a few things.
What's the catch?
There isn't one. Why do you always think that I have bad intentions?
'Cause you always do. But I don't have much of a choice. I agree. Loki handed me his grocery list and I headed off in search of the ingredients. The first thing on the list were poppies, which I found easily in a plains biome. Easy! Second was some honey. I found a tree that housed a beehive nearby. I retrieved a bucket of honey with almost any hiccups. Ah! The final ingredient on the list was the Power Stone. What? How am I supposed to find that? I was about to give up when I noticed there was another page on Loki's note. I turned it and read what it said. P.S. The Power Stone is guarded by a beast on the peak of a mountain. Love, Loki. Well, I guess I know where I'm headed next. On days 80 through 83, I pinpointed the location of the Power Stone and landed at the peak of a mountain. There, a monster waited for me inside its lair. Here goes nothing. I charged into battle, trying to get the one-up on the beast, but it was more powerful than anything else I had faced before. Each of its punches would send me flying back, and it had the power to manifest gems from the ground. I did my best to evade its attacks and land some of my own. I used my ability to throw Mjolnir to hit him from afar, then took to the sky when he got too close. After a furious fight, the Guardian finally fell. Don't mess with a god! It dropped the Power Stone, which I picked up as the final ingredient. I returned to Loki with all the new loot and handed it over to him for the potion.
Excellent work, brother. Now I can get to work.
I waited for a little while until finally Loki returned with a potion which he tossed over to me. Bottoms up, I drank down the mysterious potion, feeling my body change almost instantly. I had finally reached my most powerful form. Fat Thor? Why do I suddenly want to play Fortnite? Loki!
Okay. It's the real one.
He gave me another potion, which I drank and transformed into my true final form. I now had 50 hearts and unimaginable strength. Now this is more like it. Thank you, brother. On days 84 through 87, I wanted to spiff up New Asgard more to make it feel more like a unified city. Time for some good old-fashioned building. I started by adding more buildings to the town, beefing up the neighborhood, as well as some more residential areas for the Asgardians to enjoy. This included a community center and a central plaza for everyone to hang out in. Lastly, I added lampposts to light the new pass, as well as some benches for people to sit on. This completed the renovations I had in mind, making the city more lively than ever. This is great, but I'm gonna need a front line to protect New Asgard. That Nick guy said to call, but with what? Nick! Suddenly, Nick Fury walked up to me.
You called. My offer still stands if you're up for it.
Yeah, I'll join your team, but I need you to help me take out Hela.
Shield has your back.
I built a small shield HQ for the agents to stay in while they were here to help. I made sure to add in a map room as well in the event of an attack. I finished constructing the HQ, officially completing New Asgard in all of its glory. You'd be proud of this, Father. Our people will live on. On days 88 through 90, I saw Loki hanging out by himself, so I decided to go up and talk to him. Hello, brother. I was curious as to why you came back. What happened to Loki Land?
There was a teeny tiny problem.
Wow, the humanity!
Apparently, a Loki from an alternate timeline wanted to dominate the place.
Then let's take it back together. We both left New Asgard. After some traveling, we made it to Loki Land. He wasn't kidding. The entire place was infested with gators. We both started battling it out with the scaly beasts. They were technically all Lokis, so they were pretty tough. Die, foul beast! With a lot of persistence, we managed to take down all the evil alligators. Finally, Loki Land is ours once again.
Great. Let's go home, shall we?
What? Don't you want to stay?
No. I've grown bored of this place.
On days 91 through 93, I plan to do some recon on Hela. I'm too muscular and handsome. How am I supposed to stay discreet? Just then, Loki walked up to me.
I've got you, brother.
He then threw a potion, turning me into a snake. Heck yeah! I love snakes! Now in my new form, I headed off. I traveled for a while, eventually finding a Hela outpost full of guards.
Wait a sec. Is that snake eavesdropping on our conversation?
Are you insane? That's a snake. It's being a snake.
Man, I just want to have my lunch break.
No can do, pal. We gotta stay here. The invasion of New Asgard is only in a matter of weeks.
They're going to attack New Asgard? With that information, I headed back to New Asgard. Once I was back, Loki turned me back into a human. A battle is on the horizon, but I am gonna be victorious. On days 94 through 96, Star-Lord came up to me with a request.
Hey, Thor. I wanted to know if you could help us look for the final member of our team. Her name's Gamora, and we can't find her anywhere.
Sure thing. What's she look like?
She's green. Can't miss her.
I'll look around. I took the sky in search of the last member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. It wasn't long until I found her. But when I did, she was talking to the Mad Titan Thanos.
Where is the Power Stone, daughter?
I don't know. Even if I did, I'd never tell you.
Daughter?
Why would I help you wipe out half the universe anyway? That's insane.
The hardest choices require the strongest wills, daughter. The universe requires correction. And if you won't help me, you're only standing in my way.
Just like that, they started fighting each other. I had no choice but to step in and help.
Who is this? A friend of yours?
He's helping me stop you. And that's all that matters.
The purple monster was definitely a challenging foe. He wielded a giant blade, one that could do tons of damage. Luckily, Gamora was a skilled fighter. They both took turns striking Thanos, weakening him. After a lot of hits back and forth, I managed to get a good hit on him, ending the fight.
How are you so powerful?
It was probably the Power Stone smoothie I drank earlier. Super delicious.
You did what? You fool! I needed that stone!
Sorry, dude. It was the only way to make me stronger.
We will finish this fight another day, Asgardian. Someday soon.
Thanos teleported away, leaving just Gamora and I to talk.
Thanks for the help. I don't think I could have stopped him by myself.
No problem. Glad I could help.
You want to tell me who you are and why you helped me?
Oh, right. The name's Thor, God of Thunder. The Guardian sent me to find you.
Star-Lord is here? Where are they?
I'll take you to them. Follow me. On days 97 through 98, I returned to New Asgard and reunited Gamora with the rest of the Guardians. Finally, the entire team was together again.
You actually kept your end of the bargain, so I'll keep mine. The Guardians of the Galaxy are here to help.
Thank you. I know you will all be powerful warriors. I knew that Hela's invasion was on the horizon and preparations needed to be made. So I checked in with Nick Fury to see the status of his men.
We're ready when the time is right.
Very good. We're gonna need all the help we can get. After that, I returned home to find Loki inside. Hello, brother. Are you ready for battle?
Of
course, I'm just a little worried.
Why would the god of mischief ever be worried?
She could arrive at any moment. Not even Asgard's greatest warriors could stop her.
Even so, she doesn't stand a chance, because she's up against the two sons of Odin.
You're right. If you've got my back, then I have yours.
On day 99, I heard the sound of footsteps approaching New Asgard in the distance. Hela was getting close. This must be the invasion. Everyone get into position. Everyone stood ready as the enemy army revealed themselves over the horizon, led by none other than Hela herself.
Ah, so you prepared my entrance. That's a bit annoying.
You will not succeed in taking New Asgard, sister.
I took down a kingdom. This little town will be a breeze.
Both our armies charged forward in the battle that would decide the fate of Asgard. My men were strong, but her own warriors had improved their skills since the last attack. The two sides faced off with each other viciously. The sounds of clashing weapons and gunfire filled New Asgard. My men were very resourceful and used their knowledge of New Asgard's landscape to their advantage.
Push him in! Push him in!
Thanks to the help of my friends, I was able to set my sights on Hela. It was finally a fair fight, just the two of us. For my father! Hela threw her thorns at me from afar just as before, but this time they were slower and more powerful. She also quickly teleported to evade my attacks. However, I was now far more capable for the battle. Thanks to the power from Loki's potion, my attacks did incredible damage.
You're a real pain, you know that?
She started to teleport in small spurts away from the battle in an attempt to flee, but I wasn't gonna let her get away that easily. My men stayed and held her army off while I pursued her. On day 100, I followed Hela back to old Asgard where I noticed it looked weirdly different. This place has seen better days. Hela waited on the opposite side of the bridge, ready for battle.
This is it, little brother. You versus me.
We don't have to do this, sister. Lay down your weapon and fight for our people.
It's too late for that. My people outcast me long ago. They thought I should be feared, so I'll give them something to be scared of.
Then you leave me with no choice. Let's tango. We charged into battle, matching each other's strength and speed with devastating blows. I threw Mjolnir as hard as I could, trying to disorient her, but this proved to be useless. She was basically invulnerable. Still, I trudged on. Her skills were impressive.
This is useless, brother. Lay down your arms and join my army.
Just then, Hela took to the skies. I followed close behind, using Mjolnir as a means to close the gap. We then landed on a nearby roof and continued the battle. You've ruined enough Asgardian lives, Hela. It's time for this to end.
I won't stop until my last breath.
Hela continued to throw her blades at me, dealing massive damage. I saw I was beginning to lose this battle, so I retreated back to the Rainbow Bridge to even the playing field. I feared my end would be soon, but luckily, Loki arrived.
I've got your back, brother.
Excellent! Let's do this together! Loki and I began to duke it out with our sister. With his help, the tide of battle began to turn in our favor. We hit her back and forth, her disorientation increasing by the second.
2 versus 1. How pitiful. No matter. I'll destroy you both.
Who said anything about 2 versus 1?
Just then, Loki cloned himself, each of them charging into battle. They overpowered her, almost immediately hitting her off the Rainbow Bridge. I jumped down to join Loki and his clones. She was outnumbered and quickly losing. She tried to run away from our small army, but I quickly pursued her on foot. With anger in my heart, I sent multiple bolts of lightning onto her, killing Hela and ending this war. We did it! We did it! Just like that, Asgard and my people were saved from the clutches of Hela. Suddenly, I felt a fury growing inside me. With a flash, I teleported out of Asgard and back into the human realm. On day 1, I spawned into a flaming village as the Hulk.
Max have urge to smash!
Suddenly, a giant green beast landed in front of me and said,
In 100 days, I, the Abomination, will use my gamma radiation to turn the rest of the world into an army of mutants.
Hulk confused.
You can't even control your mutant form. You'll never stop me.
On day 2, I woke up with a horrible headache in a destroyed city. What happened? I can't remember anything at all. I decided the best way to find out would be to retrace my steps. I headed back towards my laboratory, but when I arrived, the place was in shambles. Something horrible happened here. I rushed inside to see what information I could find. The place was abandoned and mostly everything was destroyed, but I found some notes that managed to remain intact. testing phase.
Today we are manufacturing serum number 23. If successful, the serum will be able to provide super strength to anyone who uses it.
Yes, sir. The military will not be disappointed.
Things are going smoothly. I think this is going to work.
Dr. Emil, do you think this is the serum that finally cracks the code?
I think we did it, Max. I think we finally did it.
Warning. System error.
Oh no! Everyone run! Oh, where am I? What? What's happening to me?
I can feel it too.
Hulk smash!
I remember now. The failed experiment turned me and Dr. Emil into monsters. But that can't be. I could feel a deep rage bubbling in my chest. All of the innocent people inside died because of my foolishness. Suddenly, my body began to change color and I transformed into the Hulk in a fit of rage. I began to smash everything around me to bits. I didn't care if the facility was already destroyed. I wanted to crush it even further. I was blinded by rage and on a mission for destruction. On day 3, I rampaged around the world searching for anything I could to destroy. I came across a village, which I began to tear apart just to release all the anger I felt inside. It wasn't enough. Even though villagers screamed in horror as I demolished their homes, I wasn't going to be satisfied until everything around me was rubble. I couldn't stop and didn't want to stop. I needed to destroy. Just then, military forces arrived and pointed their weapons at me.
Stand down or we will open fire! I'll never stand down!
The military began to retaliate against my attacks. There were countless soldiers, but their bullets didn't even make me flinch. As the Hulk, I had an astounding 40 hearts, as well as immense strength. I smashed into the ground, creating massive craters wherever my attacks would land. The soldiers flew into the air around me and fell to their demise. Even the tanks were no problem for my incredible strength and super thick skin. Between the army of men and tanks, they weren't even able to graze me with my new indestructible form.
Hulk smash you!
I paid no mind to my surroundings and continued to ravage the village as I fought off the soldiers. They weren't worth my time, but they were fun to toss around. After a lot of mayhem, I managed to wipe out the entire group.
Hulk strong! Hulk all-powerful!
On days 4 through 7, I continued my destruction across the overworld.
Smash! Destroy!
I continued for a while until I was interrupted by another green monster.
Hey Max, it's me, She-Hulk. Jennifer Walters, remember?
Hulk, angry!
Whoa there, big guy. I can see that. Can you stop, please? You're causing quite a scene here.
No, me Hulk! Hulk smash!
In a fit of rage, I attacked her.
Whoa, hey, stop. I don't want to fight you. Okay, you leave me no choice.
The fight was intense. I didn't expect someone of such a small stature to pack more of a punch than the military's bullets. Each of her punches actually managed to hurt me. While I was bigger and more powerful, she was much more agile. She was able to dodge and weave my massive fist and land punches of her own. In my blind rage, I couldn't think clearly enough to land a calculated attack. I continued to smash at her mindlessly, but I was getting nowhere. After a lot of fighting, She-Hulk's calm demeanor gave her the one-up on me and allowed her to land a devastating blow.
That should knock some sense into you, Max. How about you come find me when you're feeling better? Then we can talk about what's going on with you and have a normal conversation.
She left and I passed out, not knowing if I'd wake up as myself or the Hulk. On days 8 through 11, I woke up confused in a snowy biome. I wasn't sure what happened or why I was there. The last thing I remember was seeing the lab. Just then, a villager walked up to me.
Weren't you a green giant monster a few minutes ago?
A what?
Yeah, you wrecked our town. You kept calling yourself the Hulk.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'll leave right away. I realized that every time I got upset, I would transform into the Hulk and destroy everything around me. I knew I would have to learn to control my emotions. I better set up my own shelter away from other people. I don't want to hurt anyone. I went to gather some materials, starting with some wood. I punched down a few trees and made a pickaxe, which I then used to gather cobblestone. Afterwards, I crafted a set of stone tools, including a sword, which I used to kill a few cows for meat. I then made some leather armor for warmth. Then it was finally time to make a furnace and cook up my warm meal before eating it. That's much better. After my meal, I found an isolated cave to call my home for now. I eventually dozed off, but it wasn't long until I heard my wife calling my name.
Max, wake up. I've been looking all over for you. You never came home.
Betty, get away from me! I think I'm a monster!
You're always a monster in the morning, Max.
No, a real monster! If I get upset, I...
Shh, it's okay now, Max. Just come home and get some sleep.
Betty walked me back to our home where I could finally calm down. Afterwards, I told her about how Dr. Emil became the Abomination and his plans to mutate the world.
I can't believe Dr. Emil.
The Abomination.
Yes, sorry, I just can't believe he would do such a thing.
The gamma radiation must be affecting his brain, and I think it's affecting me too.
You're what, son?
Just then, I realized General Ross, Betty's father, was at the house too. Oh, Mr. Ross, I'm a loving husband. Thank you again for letting me marry your daughter.
Right. Anyway, I'm gonna be deployed for some time. I just wanted to see you before I go, Betty Boo.
Deployed, sir?
That's right, son. There's been word of some big green monsters terrorizing entire cities.
Oh no. Good luck, sir. I can't let him ever find out. On days 12 through 14, I was feeling a lot better after a few days of rest, and I never once turned into the Hulk. I just have to keep my mind clear. Suddenly, I spotted a horde of mutants in the distance, heading directly towards my house. The Abomination wants to hurt my family? That jerk! Betty, go hide! She managed to get to safety, but I wasn't able to control my rage. My skin turned green, and I grew into a massive size. I was now the Hulk.
Hulk crush mutants!
I ran towards the horde and began to beat them down with my fists. They charged at me with their tusks and slammed on the ground with their incredible strength. They were able to send shockwaves out through the ground. It was an impressive feat, but it didn't faze me. I was so powerful that they could barely do anything. I swung wildly. I didn't care about my surroundings. All I knew was smash. Between the mutants' attacks and my fists, our house was torn to the ground. I managed to defeat every last one of the Abomination's goons, but I was still enraged. Not knowing that I was the Hulk, Betty came out to confront me.
Please, stop, it's over!
Smash!
Please, I have a family, my husband is inside that house!
Betty, okay?
Yes, I'm safe, thanks to you.
I couldn't bear to face her like this, so I ran away. Once I was far enough, I returned to normal. It looks like the gamma radiation affects my body, so it transforms whenever I get emotional or I'm in danger. I knew what remained of our home was beyond repair. Plus, it was no longer safe for Betty to be there with the mutants after us. I'm sorry for everything. I'll make this right. I headed back home in my human form and reunited with Betty.
Max, you're safe. The Hulk just rampaged here.
That's pretty scary. I'm glad you're okay, but we need to build a new, safer place to live. On days 15 through 18, I traveled with Betty in search of a secluded spot to call home. We managed to find a suitable place and got to work. I used whatever materials I had to start working on the basic structure. It wasn't much, but my top priority was safety. I can't let those mutants come close to Betty ever again. After the main structure was completed, I still wasn't satisfied. This needs to be safer. Good thing I know a guy. I went to Tony Stark's mansion to go meet up with my old friend. I wanted to see if he could lend me any of his defense tech to use inside of my new home.
What's up, Max?
I wanted to see if you could do me a favor. I explained everything that had happened, including how I was the Hulk causing a ruckus in the city.
Well, shoot, dude. Take the security gear and keep the wife safe then.
Thanks. Do you think you could also help me find a cure for this radiation disease?
I really wish I could, but I'm super busy trying to find a way to stop an interstellar race of poisonous bug monsters from taking over a village.
Well, okay. You know where to reach me when you find the time.
Also, have you subscribed to Maxcraft yet?
Huh?
Yeah, I've been watching him on my breaks, and he's incredible.
Cool! On days 19 through 22, I headed home with my new equipment when I was suddenly confronted by a pack of mutated creatures with spears. Get away from me! I tried to run, but the mutants were fast and their spears were long. They chased me and began attacking me with everything they had. I desperately tried to maintain my human form, but it was no use. Don't transform, don't transform, don't Despite my efforts, I turned into the giant green beast I wanted to avoid. I used my massive fist to pound down the mutants that were after me. My attacks were super effective. I even destroyed the ground right from under them. They could stop me and my awesome strength. I could feel that the radiation was stronger in this area, which made my own attacks more powerful as well. I beat down the army until none of them remained. I was unstoppable.
Hulk destroy!
I continued to rampage around the area, smashing everything around me until locating a small device that was emitting a large amount of gamma radiation. There, a horde of mutant ghouls were feeding off of the radiation from the device.
Hulk, what device?
I barreled in towards the monsters, who immediately retaliated. They charged at me and shot radioactive projectiles, making me poisoned with radioactive energy. The horde was able to do a little damage to me, even in my super strong form. The puny monsters were pretty easy to dispose of, but they just kept coming. They were starting to wear me down and annoy me when I accidentally broke the device, causing it to explode into a wave of radiation.
Powerful!
The radiation increased my strength, as well as granting me an additional 10 hearts and powerful Hulk hands, increasing my strength even more. I used my new boost in power to wipe out the Horde faster than ever. They were no match. I went on a frenzy, destroying all of my surroundings. Firstly, I smashed the rest of the radiation emitter. I then smashed the trees, the ground, and even the mountain I stood on. Everything needed to be destroyed. I destroyed and destroyed until everything went black. On days 23 through 26, I woke up in the middle of the ocean. I had no idea where I was. Well, I better get swimming. I started exploring. After a while, I found an island. There, I punched a tree and used the wood to build a boat. Now that's gonna make getting back to land a lot easier. With my new boat, I paddled back to the mainland. Okay, time to get more materials. My plan was to continue adding on to my Hulk base, but I needed tools if I was gonna do that. I went underground, finding enough iron to make a pickaxe. After that, I continued, stumbling upon an even larger amount of iron. Sweet! With my new goodies, I made some iron armor to ensure I would be safe while I was still in my human form. After that, I returned to my base and added the equipment to the outside for security. I then expanded my build some more, making a brand new room to the side. After a lot of work, I went back inside, where She-Hulk was waiting for me.
It's nice to see you, Max. I think it's time for a little family reunion.
Shh! What if Betty hears you?
Don't worry, she's not here right now. Okay then, let's talk.
On days 27 through 29, She-Hulk explained to me that she was also infected when the explosion happened.
The thing is though, I've been able to control my powers.
How do you control it?
I don't know, maybe it's my superior cousin genes?
That's not fair!
Tough cookies, but we can't have you blowing your lid every time you stub your toe. We have to get your powers under control.
Agreed. And with that, my training with the She-Hulk began.
Remember that time I pantsed you in the 4th grade?
Yeah? It was in front of the whole school!
Now quick, stop. Do you remember your 16th birthday?
Yeah. We spent the whole day together, at the beach.
Yes, wasn't that nice? Feel those ocean waves, feel the salty air. We spent the whole day playing in the water, building sandcastles, and eating watermelon.
Whoa, yeah, I can see it so clearly.
Hold on to that thought.
Huh, that was a nice day. That calmed me down. Thanks, Jennifer. On days 30 through 33, I was feeling more confident, so I tested my control over the Hulk. Okay, just like I practiced. Don't go crazy. Happy thoughts, ocean waves. Let's do this. I then transformed into the Hulk, but surprisingly, I was still in control.
Whoa, Hulk do it! Now Hulk test on bad guys!
I then traveled around looking for another radiation machine, knowing I'd eventually find some enemies to fight. After much searching, I finally found the Abomination setting up another radiation emitter.
Hulk has to destroy before he mutates everyone!
Before I could get there, the Abomination left, leaving me with all of the nearby creepers now mutated into dark mutated ghouls. They began to charge at me, leaving me no choice but to fight back. Their horde was smart. They almost seemed to move organized together to strike me. Too bad for them. I was more brawn than they were brain. I knocked the ghouls down, but they had me in numbers. Suddenly, I realized that my enhanced ability to control my powers gave me the power to super jump. I launched into the air over and over again, smashing my enemies on the way down.
Be so powerful!
When the fight was over, I ran over and destroyed the device piece by piece, gaining 5 hearts.
Huh? Whoa! Bad radiation make Hulk stronger? Weird.
After the machine was destroyed, a lone chicken pig waddled up to me curiously.
Hi, me Hulk.
The chicken pig just started nuzzling my arm as if I was its mom or something.
Hulk confused.
Suddenly, General Ross ran over to a nearby mountain holding a grenade launcher. The chicken pig ran away terrified.
There's that green freak. Finally, I can end all this madness.
Stop! Me not bad guy!
General Ross didn't listen and began to fire an onslaught of artillery shells in my direction.
You're making me angry!
Even angry and in my Hulk form, I knew I couldn't hurt Betty's dad. All I could do was run away.
That's right, freak. You better run. Mark my words. I'll be the one to end your sorry life.
On days 34 through 36, I woke up in a field as my normal self, dazed and exhausted. Wow, those gamma radiation emitters are no joke. Gotta be careful next time. I hope Betty's dad is okay. I then left the area and headed back home to check on Betty. Hey, have you heard from your dad lately?
No. Why?
Oh, no reason. Just then, General Ross busted through the door, angrily yelling about the Hulk. Woohoo! I'm so glad to see you, Mr. Ross.
Don't get near me, son. I don't trust you as far as I can throw you.
What did I ever do to you?
You married my daughter, and I've never trusted you brainy types anyways. You're weak. How are you supposed to protect her from the monsters out there?
You'd be surprised.
What was that?
Nothing, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
That's what I thought.
He left, and I agreed that I needed to do more to protect my family, so I went mining for stronger materials to upgrade our house. Down there, I gathered tons of cobblestone and a few veins of iron as well. With my abundance of materials, I began expanding our home, making it much more Hulk resistant. It's looking good, but it'll definitely need stronger materials over time to stop a Hulk. On days 37 through 40, Betty asked me to go on a walk with her.
Is everything okay, Max? You seemed really shaken up since the explosion.
Betty, there's something I really need to tell you. Before I could tell her my secret, the abomination landed in between us and grabbed Betty.
Ah! Max, help!
What the? Betty, I'm coming! I hulked out and began chasing them down, but the abomination left traps along the way. 2 huge mutant zombies were in my path. I had no choice but to fight them.
Bring it on!
They were insanely strong. Their hits felt like the kind of punches I throw as the Hulk. The abomination must have exposed them to some serious gamma radiation. They slammed me all over the place, but I slammed them right back. I couldn't let them stop me from saving Betty. I finished them off as fast as I could and continued running to catch the abomination. Luckily, as the Hulk, I had super fast regeneration. After some traveling, I found him with a mysterious red woman.
Hello, Hulk. Meet the terrible, irradiated Red She-Hulk.
What the? Where, Betty? Hulk confused!
The abomination left as he laughed maniacally. The Red She-Hulk then looked at me, and I realized I recognized her.
Betty? You, Betty?
Huh? Betty?
Me, Max. Hulk is Max.
I hate Max!
On days 41 through 43, the Red She-Hulk began to attack me. Her strength evenly matched mine, but I was holding back knowing Betty was still in there.
Betty, snap out of this!
She wouldn't listen. She was completely taken over by rage, punching me at her full strength. There was nothing I could do, so I had to fight back at full strength just to defend myself. She was a force to be reckoned with. The first few punches I could take, but as the battle went on, I noticed she was getting stronger.
Max need end this!
In a fit of rage, I charged at her and landed a superior blow, taking her down. Once she was down for the count, she transformed back into her normal self. I then quickly turned back into my normal self as well. Oh, I might have hit too hard. Betty, are you alright? Can you hear me? I knew I had to get her back home to rest, and quickly. Once I returned back to the base, Betty woke up very confused.
Huh? What happened?
It's alright. It's just me, Max. You're safe.
There's fire inside me. I can feel it. What is it?
It's gamma radiation. The abomination infected you with it. You need to stay calm so you don't turn back into that thing.
Not bad, huh?
Well, no, it was pretty cool. It's just very dangerous. You'll need to learn to control it. I never wanted this to happen in the first place. I'm sorry. Just then, She-Hulk showed up with some good news.
Don't worry, I can help with that.
While Betty rested, She-Hulk and I got to work on building an official training area to make sure we could train safely without damaging the house or hurting anyone else. This is perfect. Thanks, She-Hulk. And hey, where'd you get all the obsidian?
Max, I'm a lawyer. I have some solid connections.
Makes sense. On days 44 through 46, General Ross arrived at our home to see his family. I quickly blocked his entry to cover for Betty.
Let me in, boy. I'm here to see my daughter.
Now's not a good time.
Not a good time? Where's Betty? I want to see her.
You can't. She's sick. Yeah, she's sick. A nasty flu. You don't want to catch it, do you?
A flu? Oh, well, I can't be getting sick. I've got a Hulk to capture. Give her my best regards. I'll be back to check on her.
Of course, sir. Good luck on your search. Now with the general gone, it was time to train Betty. Okay, first things first. Let's get you a little angry so you can learn to control it.
Okay, so how do we do that?
How about a confession? I've been keeping this a secret, so it might make you a little mad for not telling you.
What is it?
Well, how do I put this? I'm the Hulk.
You're the Hulk.
I wanted to tell you before, but I was scared you'd think I'm a monster.
You attacked my dad.
Hey, he attacked me first, I think. I see you're getting mad. That's okay. The gamma radiation that turned me into the Hulk is now part of you as well. Try to control it.
I don't think I can.
Control your rage, Betty. It's the only way. Betty became too enraged and transformed into the Red She-Hulk. Well, that's not what I hoped for. I transformed into the Hulk as quick as I could and started to fight back. If our last fight was anything like this one, I'd have to knock her out to get my Betty back. She smacked me hard back and forth, but I was prepared this time. I tried a few jump slams too, but she was a tough nut to crack. Honey, you need to calm down. I don't want to hurt you.
You think you can hurt me? With the theory-focused device that the Abomination gave me, I'm unstoppable!
Suddenly, she started launching fireballs at me with her enhanced fury. She set me completely ablaze and even set the training field on fire with her anger. Stop! Betty, please stop! Her super strength was one thing, but this was entirely too dangerous. I had to stop her as soon as possible. I finally knocked her down, causing her to transform back to normal. Controlling my form, I transformed back as well.
My head.
Betty, are you okay?
I see why you've been keeping this a secret. This is really scary.
She-Hulk then came back to take Betty with her on a little trip. Where are you guys going to?
Up to the snowy mountains. We're gonna have a little meditation session to control those powers.
Ooh, that sounds like fun. See you, Max.
While they were gone, I took the opportunity to mine for more materials. I gathered more iron to increase my iron armor, as well as make an iron sword to help take down the gamma radiation emitters. On days 47 through 48, I was feeling angry about the Abomination. Not only did he hurt me, but he also hurt Betty. He took everything from me. I have to end this quick. All of a sudden, General Ross walked up.
How's my daughter?
Oh, she's good. She's feeling so good that she went on a skiing trip with Jennifer. Yeah.
Oh, good. I always did like that, Jennifer. Good kid. Way better than you in every way.
His comment irked me enough that I started to turn green. Thankfully, it was only my arm, so I could hide it. Excuse me one moment. I quickly rushed inside the house. Just give me 1 second, General.
Hey, I'm not finished talking to you yet.
It'll only take a second. I couldn't contain my rage anymore. I became the Hulk.
Everything okay in there, young man?
Mac's not a failure!
Well, don't lie to yourself.
In a fit of rage, I busted down the wall opposite to the door and ran away. During my travels, I stumbled upon a village being terrorized by mutant jungle golems.
Hulk, take anger out on bad guys!
I rushed into battle and began to make quick work on the mutant golems. They might have been massive, but they were no match for my super strength. They could fire missiles out of their arms that homed in and exploded when they reached me. Luckily, I was able to crack them to pieces after a few heavy hits. After the fight, a baby villager approached me.
Thank you for protecting our village. Take this flower.
Oh. The cuteness of the baby villager combined with the sweet scent of the flower was just enough to calm me down and transform me back to normal. Sheesh. Hopefully I wasn't gone too long to be suspicious. I returned home and sealed the hole I had smashed. Thankfully, General Ross was still fuming on the other side.
And another thing, I've never liked the way you smell. I swear it's like broccoli or something.
Look, General, I'm sorry. I will never be good enough for your daughter, but I love her, and I would do anything to protect and care for her.
Oh, well good. You better. I'll be watching you.
On days 49 through 52, I set off in search of any more gamma radiation emitters I could find. During my travels, I found a community center holding an anger management seminar. This could probably help someone like me. I sat down in the circle of different faces. There were all kinds of people there, which did make me feel less alone about my anger.
And how does that make you feel?
Angry, but now I understand their point of view, and that makes me a little less angry. Thank you, Doc.
Ah, I see we have a new face. Why not introduce yourself?
My name is Max. I began to explain to the group about why I was there and how I had to keep my emotions in check. But it just makes me so mad. Why would the Abomination do all of this?
Max, you're looking a little green.
Whoops, sorry. What was that? I looked outside to find Iron Man fighting off an interstellar race of poisonous bug monsters.
A little help here?
I shifted into the Hulk so I could help Tony out. He really had worked up the swarm. For everyone I would take out, it seemed like 2 more would take its place. The bug aliens were incredibly freaky looking and had strange fire powers to match. Each one of their hits would set Tony and me ablaze. Thankfully, my tough Hulk armor resisted fire too. I was truly unstoppable. I rushed in with my attacks close up while Tony backed up from afar with his firearms. After a long battle, we managed to take down the last bug.
Thanks, that was a close one.
Now that that's over, can you help me find a cure for the gamma radiation?
Sorry, no can do. Now I have to go to that alien bugs planet and exterminate them for good. Bye!
On days 53 through 56, I continued to search for more gamma radiation emitters until I finally stumbled into a radioactive biome. The animals inside were mutated beyond recognition, and the sky was entirely green. This must be the work of the Abomination. I walked around the biome to check on all the strange mobs. I had never seen anything like it. The animals inside were suffering greatly. Are you feeling okay, buddy? Yikes. I must be getting close to the emitter. Just then, I was ambushed by a horde of mutants. The radioactive mutations had turned some of the mobs hostile. I didn't want to, but I had no choice but to fight off the mutated animals. They were all just little guys, so I did my best fighting in my human form. You guys are lucky you're not meeting the green guy. I pulled out my iron sword and started to try to thin the herd. They were attacking me so aggressively though that I had to get some distance between us. I hadn't fought as a human in a very long time. It wasn't easy. To make matters worse, they were completely deranged from the radiation. After a lot of close calls, I managed to take down all of the mutated animals. Ooh, I definitely don't like fighting as a human. Unfortunately, the fighting wasn't over. A giant mutant mosquito emerged. I turned my focus onto the beast and transformed into the Hulk. He was incredibly powerful, even causing trouble for someone as powerful as me. He kept up with me with his wings and spit blue acid at me at the same time. This thing was a beast. He was more of a mutant wrestling pro than a mosquito.
Hulk, getting tired.
Out of nowhere, Peter Parker swang into the fray.
Hello, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man has arrived.
Cutie Spider, help Hulk!
Peter began to throw webs onto the beast, locking them down so I could land my own powerful blows. Between the two of us, we managed to take the monster down. After the dust settled, I returned back to my human form. Peter? What are you doing here? It's dangerously irradiated here.
Ha! Did you forget? I'm already full of radiation from that radioactive spider bite. You don't have to worry about me.
Gamma radiation is different. Thanks for the help, but we've got to get you out of here before you get hurt. Promise me, okay?
Alright, I promise. Oh, you sound like my Aunt May. See ya.
I moved a bit further and located the radiation emitter, which I made quick work of with my iron pickaxe. Another one down. On days 57 through 60, I returned home in my normal form to find General Ross waiting outside. Mr. Ross? What are you doing here?
I came to ask for your help.
Huh? Why do you want my help?
There's been sightings of radioactive monsters in the snowy mountains, so I need a scientist like yourself.
Betty!
The ski resort is far from these sightings. You should be fine.
Oh, right. I'd love to help.
Great. Follow me.
Those sightings must be Betty and Jennifer. I have to make sure they're safe. I traveled with General Ross to the snowy mountains where we began to stake out. Sure enough, Red She-Hulk ran by.
What was that? Follow that monster!
I'll check it out first. Run my scans.
Sure. That makes sense to me.
With that, I ran to my wife as fast as I could. Ugh, where is Jennifer? She was supposed to be taking care of Betty. Suddenly, I felt an intense surge of radiation. She must be nearby. When I arrived, I saw Betty destroy a radiation emitter with her bare hands. Wow, you're amazing!
Thanks, hon.
It took me forever to not freak out when I destroyed one of those. Just then, we heard the sound of approaching footsteps. General Ross was too close to run, but I had an idea. Quick, play dead! I took out my weapon and Betty laid on the floor just as General Ross emerged.
Wow, young man, color me impressed. She's still breathing though. Let's finish the job.
No, wait! Don't kill her!
Why are you slowing us down?
Let me call my scientist and we'll take her, to a lab. I promise it's worth more alive than dead.
I guess the kid's right. We do want to create the next super soldier. Fine, you can have this one, but the next one is ours.
General Ross left and I returned my attention to Red She-Hulk.
Is he gone?
Yep.
Not bad, you guys.
Jennifer appeared to applaud us for an outstanding job.
Betty, I think your training is officially complete.
On days 61 through 64, I returned home and got to work on our base. I started by building a zen garden using sand and other blocks to make it very tranquil. This will be very soothing for all of us. Next, I made a personal lab where I could continue my research on a cure to radiation poison as well as other brews. I'm gonna put you to good use. I wanted to make some armor for everyone to be protected in our human forms as well, so I grabbed my pickaxe and headed to the mines. I mined for a while, but I hardly managed to find any ore. This is taking too long. Time to let the big guy take care of it. I turned into the Hulk and smashed my way through the earth. Thanks to my super strength, I was able to mine much faster than I could with a pickaxe. Once I hit bedrock, I found diamond. Once I had enough materials, I crafted armor for Betty, Jennifer, and myself. Finally, we were suited up for anything. Things are looking good around here. On days 65 through 67, now that I had my lab, I thought I would get to work on my very own cure. Alright, so I need poppies, bones, zombie flesh, seeds, and emeralds. I started by gathering some poppies and seeds in a nearby plains biome. It was easy to do, and surprisingly relaxing. This is Excuse me. Next, I waited for nightfall so that skeletons and zombies could spawn. Once they did, I hulked out and made quick work of the swarm. Smashing puny monsters was fun. By the end of it, I had plenty of zombie flesh and bones.
Oh, crush pathetic mobs!
Once morning arrived, I was only missing the final ingredient, emeralds.
Those hard to find. Hulk smash ground!
I used my super strength and dug massive craters, but after almost a whole day of looking, I hardly found any emeralds.
Hulk, one emerald!
Just then, a strange green cow approached me.
Cow green like Hulk. Hulk like cow.
I was feeling a bit thirsty, so I decided to milk the cow. But instead of getting milk, the cow produced a bucket of emeralds.
This pleases Hulk! Haha! Thank you, cow.
With my ingredients all together, I returned home in my human form to test out the potion. I got to work until finally my antidote was complete. I wonder if this will work. To test it, I transformed into the Hulk and drank the potion. Instead of curing me, I accidentally made myself stronger. I gained 5 hearts and felt faster than ever. I went outside and tested it. My speed had been enhanced significantly.
That's not what Hulk wanted. But cool.
On days 68 through 71, General Ross showed up at my base.
A giant gilled green monster has been spotted in the Badlands. Been hurting a lot of people and animals. I'm gonna go check it out now.
Let me come with you, sir. It can help me understand the science behind the abomination.
You bring up a good point. Fine, follow me.
With that, General Ross and I left my base. After a lot of traveling, we made it to the Badlands only to find the abomination standing beside a gamma radiation emitter. We had been lured into a trap.
Okay, I guess this freak wants to tango.
Wait, I want to try talking to him first.
Are you crazy, son? He'll eat you for breakfast.
I ignored the general, walking straight up to the abomination. Dr. Emile, listen to me. I know you're still in there somewhere.
You really don't want to be doing this, Max? Or should I let the General know what happens when you get angry? I imagine he won't like that.
Please, we can work on a solution together.
I have just the idea. Get him, boys!
Like clockwork, one of his goons came out and began to attack me. I began to fight it off right away. While I was focused on fighting the goon as a human to hide my secret identity, the abomination grabbed Ross and began to run away. I knew he was in trouble, so I transformed to make quick work of them. As the Hulk, I re-entered the fray. However, when I returned, even more goons showed up.
Hulk, smashed!
Their extra strength arrows bounced off my impenetrable skin, but they still knocked me back an annoying amount. I jumped to avoid their arrow onslaught and slammed into them with my massive fists. I couldn't let these guys stop me from saving Betty's dad. I tried to destroy the mutants as fast as I could before the abomination could get too far away, but there were just so many of them. After I took them out, I destroyed the dangerous radiation emitter to make sure no more goons would stop me, and destroying it caused me to gain 5 hearts.
Hulk pleased. Hulk needs save Ross now.
I sprinted off in the direction of the abomination, but the trail had already gone cold. On days 72 through 74, I decided to go back to Tony in hopes of him helping me find a cure or a lead to finding General Ross.
I don't know about a lead, but I'll see what I can do about that cure. I'm very busy though, so it might take a while.
Of course, I understand.
Since we're here asking favors, is there something you could help me with?
Sure, what is it? Tony led me to a secret room in his lab, full of cool gadgets and a robot in the center. So, are you gonna tell me why I'm here?
For a long time, I've been studying deeper into neural pathways to see ways to make Jarvis more advanced. For the longest time, it's been impossible. But with the recent surge in gamma radiation, I found a way to inject artificial intelligence into a robotic body.
I don't know about this, Tony.
This could protect every man, woman, and child. I see a suit of armor around the world.
That sounds like a cold world.
We need this robot. We need Ultron. Peace in our time. Imagine that.
And why do you need my help?
There's a few things that just aren't clicking on the engineering side of things. You help me, and I'll help you.
All right, well, you're not giving me much of a choice. What do I need to do?
Go grab some iron ore, sand, and cobblestone for me, and meet me back here later so we can really get down to work.
On days 75 through 78, I began to gather materials as requested by Tony. I started in a desert biome and smashed up the ground for some sand blocks. Thanks to my powerful fists, this mission was gonna be a breeze. I burrowed until I ended up digging into another radiated biome.
Abomination make quick work of Overworld.
I knew things were starting to get more dangerous, so I figured it was time to make an underground bunker for the base. I returned home and began to carve a huge area underneath the base. All the while, I gathered plenty of iron ore as well as cobblestone, so it was a win-win for both me and Tony's projects. Once I was satisfied with the size, I cleaned things up by replacing the stone walls with wood to make it more homey. I added a kitchen fit with a crafting bench, furnace, cauldron, and chest, which I filled with plenty of food.
No one go hungry.
Wait, I'm Max. No one's going hungry down here. Next, I added beds so everyone could have a safe place to sleep. Finally, I used any gadgets I had from Tony to beef up security just a bit more. With that, my bunker was complete. Perfect. A safe place to hide if things go wrong. Suddenly, the chicken pig from earlier returned. He was super excited to see me. Wait, you recognize me? Awesome! I decided to build the mutant his own little room, since he proved to be an ally. Enjoy, little buddy. On days 79 through 82, I returned to Tony's lab with all of the materials he asked for.
Thank you, Max. Now, let's get to work.
The two of us got to work on Ultron. It was tough, and we ended up hitting a few roadblocks, but after some time, we managed to complete him. He woke up and began to look around in all of his robot glory.
Welcome to the world, Ultron.
Ah, finally. There are no strings on me.
What?
Ultron then pulled out a weapon. You gave him an Uzi?
In retrospect, that was a mistake.
Our creation immediately began to attack without warning. I hulked out and started to fight back, but he wasn't a pushover. Myself and Tony were the greatest minds around, and Ultron was the product of both of our intelligence combined. I rushed at him with my massive fists and tried to crush him to bits, while Tony fired his weapons from afar. I was incredibly powerful, but so was Ultron. His armor reduced the amount of damage my blows could do. Even as the Hulk, I couldn't fend him off for long. Despite being near invincible, Ultron started to break through my skin, causing damage.
Please stop! You're supposed to help others, not destroy them.
No, humans are the problem, and I will eliminate them all.
Tony continued to fire at Ultron, keeping him distracted enough for me to run in close to land one final blow. I took Ultron down once and for all. Once the battle was over, I turned back to normal. Sorry, Tony. I know you had a lot of hopes in Ultron.
That's alright. At least we contained him. He could have caused some serious damage. He could have even picked up a small country, dropped it back to Earth, causing mass casualties.
That's weirdly specific.
Well, hey, I do have some good news at least.
What's that? On days 83 through 87, Tony was getting ready to tell me his good news.
I feel like we've been looking at this Hulk thing wrong. We've been treating it like he's a disease, something to get rid of.
Yeah, Tony, he's a huge monster that I can't control fully.
Sure, but what if you could?
I'm listening.
I put together a potion that, in theory, should do just that. Put the brains and the brawn together.
Tony tossed over a potion, which I picked up hesitantly.
I understand if you have reservations, but I think this is our best shot.
You're right. I want to protect everyone. I drank the potion and waited in anticipation for something to happen. I feel weird. Ugh, I think something is wrong. Suddenly, I transformed into Professor Hulk. I now had 80 hearts and felt completely in control of my Hulk form. Whoa, this is amazing! Thank you, Tony!
No problem, big guy.
I started to head home when I realized that I was no longer able to return to my human form. And I guess that makes sense. This is a combination of both of my halves. I knew I was no longer able to hide from Ross anymore, but I was strong enough to save him. It's about time he knew the truth. On days 88 through 90, I returned back to home base to regroup. I felt so different, so strong physically and mentally.
Max, I want to come with you. Let me help you save my dad.
I'm sorry, Betty, but I think you should stay here.
And why is that?
Because Abomination wants all of us. If I fail, at least he only has me to experiment on. And plus, I have the strongest grip of my powers now thanks to Tony's help.
I really want to argue with you, but those are really good points.
Please just guard the base and Chicken Pig with my cousin. I'll try to be back as soon as possible.
Okay, good luck, dear. I love you.
I love you too. I set off in search of any clues to the whereabouts of General Ross. I scoured the lands in search of anything until I started sensing a weird amount of radiation. I headed that way and discovered an entire village filled with people in hazmat suits. Whoa, what is this place? On days 91 through 93, I entered the hazmat village to take a closer look at what was going on. These guys are prepared for a radioactive disaster. As I investigated, I realized the entire town was staring at me. I was a big green Hulk, so I guess it was understandable. Oh, I'm sorry everyone, I won't hurt you.
You're the Hulk, right?
Yep, defender of the—
Get him!
Just then, the entire town attacked me. They swarmed me like flies, all trying to take me down as a group.
When we take you down, the Abomination will be so pleased.
The Abomination? Sorry, but you guys are evil. I began to fight off the mob of vicious hazmats. While they weren't the strongest bunch, they had an enormous amount of numbers. They tried to overwhelm me up close, but little did they know they were exactly where I wanted them to be. When they were close enough, I'd beat them down with my fists en masse. One by one, each member of their army fell. All the while, they were unable to even scratch me. After a long battle, I managed to take down all of the hazmats until only one remained.
But how did you manage to take out my whole army?
You have an army, but all I need is a Hulk. Tell me where the Abomination is.
I don't know where he is, but I last saw him here.
The hazmat quickly tossed over a map. Stay out of trouble. That guy is bad news. I followed the map until I came face to face with a mysterious nether portal. He must be through here. On days 94 through 95, I explored the nether in hopes of finding the Abomination or General Ross inside. As I continued on, I could tell that something felt off. I could see that some of the mobs inside were now mutated. Has the radiation gotten inside the nether too? I followed the mutant until finally I arrived to find General Ross in a cage guarded by a giant mutant wither skeleton. Mr. Ross, are you okay?
A green beast. You come to finish what your ally couldn't?
No, it's not what you think. I didn't have time to protest. The giant mutant set its eyes on me and attacked. It pulled out its two giant swords and started swinging wildly at me. He was actually able to deal damage to me, but luckily my superpowers allowed me to heal back quickly. The monster was also able to unleash focused energy slashes at me from a distance. I tried to dodge them, but I was just too big. With some well-placed punches though, I knew I could break this skeleton's bones. With the final smash, I managed to take down the guard. Upon his death, he dropped a note. If you want to defeat me, we will have to battle where this all started, the Abomination. Well, that's cryptic. I'll have to seek him out elsewhere. I rushed to the cage and quickly broke down the bars.
Get away from me, you horrible monster!
It's okay. Come with me. I won't hurt you.
I'll never go with you.
Please, you can trust me. I'm Max, your son-in-law.
Your what?
On days 96 through 98, I returned home with General Ross and reunited him with his daughter.
Betty Boo, you're okay. How could you not tell me you're married to the green monster?
Dad, it's not what you think.
I demand that you separate at once. I won't stand for this.
Dad!
Betty explained everything to General Ross about how we were both mutated by the Abomination and his plans to mutate the world.
Are you telling me that Abomination mutated my precious little girl? I have to fight him!
Dad, you can't!
Just then, General Ross's skin turned red. He had been mutated by the Abomination. I had to think fast and gave him a hit to knock him out. Sorry, sir, you can't Hulk out on us now. While he was out, I locked him in a cage so he wouldn't go looking for the Abomination. It wasn't safe. I have to make a cure. On day 99, I continued my research on a cure to the radiation until finally I had a breakthrough. I can't believe it! I was only missing one thing! I set off in search of the final ingredient, the mutton of a mutated sheep. After a bit of travel and a lot of luck, I came upon a herd of rainbow-colored sheep. If this doesn't scream mutant, I don't know what will.
I made quick work of the herd and gathered their mutton for my cure. Once I had enough, I returned back to my lab and got to work. It wasn't long before I had completed 2 splash potions of my new formula. I only have 2, but I have to test it first. I went to my chicken pig and tested one of my potions on him. After a few seconds, he transformed back into a pig. Whoa! I did it! I quickly returned to General Ross and used my last potion on him. He returned back to normal.
What the? Let me out of here!
I thought curing you would make you calmer. I guess not. With Mr. Ross now safe, I knew it was time to stop this from the source. Wait, where it started? The abomination means the original lab! On day 100, I returned to the old destroyed laboratory. The place had been torn to shreds and all that remained was a large hole in the floor leading into a cave. My guess is he's down there. I dropped down the hole and walked down the hallway to find that it led to a massive underground lab full of gamma radiation emitters. Along the wall, mutated beasts were being kept in cages as test subjects. I know you're here! Come out and face me, abomination! Just then, the beast fell in front of me from the ceiling above. I won't let that happen! No! Our power should be used only to protect others, not control them. Just then, the abomination unleashed a swarm of mutants to fight me. Mutant archers and spearmen fell from the ceiling ready for battle. They immediately started firing at me from far away while the spearmen charged at me. I'd have to take on this giant army first if I wanted to stop Abomination. While I was busy with his goons, the Abomination continued working on his doomsday device. I knew I would have to finish this battle with the mutants quickly. The problem was, there were so many. I did what I could to thin the crowd, but the archers would thwart me from getting in too close. Still, I kept on, slamming my fists into the mutants and ground as hard as I could. Luckily, my Hulk skin was nearly invincible. Otherwise, I would have been toast. I finally managed to take down the last beast, leaving only the Abomination left to take care of. I'm gonna stop you once and for all! I lunged at him with my massive fists. This was gonna have to be the final battle. His radiated muscles were so strong that he could pierce my armor. He even summoned small husks to swarm me during our fight. He wasn't playing fair, but I didn't expect him to. I tried to take out the husks quickly while the Abomination slammed into me. I landed the final blow, taking down the Abomination once and for all. All that remained now was his device. I rushed to it, but there wasn't enough time to figure out how to shut it down. I only had one idea. I hope this works. Hulk smash! I smashed the device to smithereens until it was beyond recognition. I looked around the lab to see that all of the cage-mutated animals had been transformed back to normal. I did it!
Out of nowhere, a deafening boom rang out. An explosion? I knew then that I was needed elsewhere.
On day 1, I woke up in a destroyed laboratory with my head all fuzzy. What's going on? What happened? Just then, a large robot descended from the sky.
Hello, Tony.
Did he just call me Tony?
Finally, there are no strings on me. My plan is to wipe out every single sad, pathetic human on the face of this planet. You all are a disease.
Who are you?
Wow, you must have hit your head really hard. I'm Ultron. You made me to better the world, and that's just what I plan to do. Have fun with your house guests.
Ultron flew away as a legion of his minions began to attack me. I began to fight them off. Surprisingly, I was still a good fighter, even with memory loss. Thank goodness for muscle memory! As Iron Man, I had the ability to fly, shoot satellite missiles, and launch a beam out of my arc reactor. I used all of these abilities to give the robots a good beatdown. They outnumbered me greatly, but I was able to keep my distance from them in the sky while shooting them down with my satellite missiles. Whenever I could, I charged and fired a powerful laser from my arc reactor, burning the robots to a crisp. Thanks to my incredible powers, I was able to win. Okay, what now?
We find a new place of operations, sir.
Who said that?
It's Jarvis, sir, your personal AI. We must hurry. More of Ultron's goons could be nearby.
You're right. Let's go build the new base. On day 2, I started scouting out a location for the new Stark HQ.
The upcoming area is both nearby running water and nourishes local wildlife.
Then we'll build there. As Iron Man, I had fancy mining gadgets, allowing me to chop down tons of trees quickly. Wait, Jarvis, aren't I rich? Why am I not paying people to do this for me?
It appears that Ultron has your bank account locked, sir. Unlock it and you can build virtually whatever you want.
Okay, consider that on my to-do list. Using my materials, I built a basic wood structure. My plan was to eventually turn it into Stark Tower 2.0. It ain't much, but it'll have to do for now. What's next, Jarvis?
Well, sir, Ultron is exceedingly powerful and has intentions of destroying the world. We must stop him, but currently your suit is not powerful enough. We must upgrade it.
And how do we do that?
You have powerful friends scattered across the globe, sir. Ultron may have sent them into hiding, but if we can find Black Panther, Ghost Rider, Spiderman, War Machine, and the others, they could each train you and give you a piece of their tech.
Making me the ultimate Iron Man?
Precisely, sir.
I'm so excited to see all the awesome powers I get. And you should be too. Watch until the end to see how awesome I become. On day 3, I set off in search of my first ally, Black Panther. On the way, I slayed a few cows, made a furnace, and cooked their meat. Usually I would prefer my personal chef to do this, but whatever. I kept moving, feeling a bit unsure of where I should go. Where is this place?
Wakanda is well hidden and sure to be heavily guarded.
Then I'll have to look for clues and keep my guard up. I explored for what felt like hours until discovering redstone dust on the ground. Odd. I followed the trail for what felt like forever until I finally made it to a massive door. Guarding it was a giant, deadly Ravager. This must be the entrance. And I guess I gotta go through you too. Using my suit, I took to the skies and began to shoot my powerful laser attacks down onto the beast. The Ravager bombarded me with brute strength, destroying the terrain below me and attempting to break through my armor with its powerful horns. Normally, my attacks would defeat a mob like this with ease, but he was wearing impenetrable vibranium armor. I did my best to beat the beast down with everything I had, using my satellite lasers to poke down his health bit by bit. After a fierce battle, I managed to take the Guardian down. Woohoo! Upon their death, they dropped a key which I claimed as my prize. Wakanda, here I come. I entered the fabled city. It was beautiful and unlike anything I had seen before. Wow. Just then, a guard walked up to me.
Cherie will see you now.
I followed the guard into a throne room where the Black Panther was waiting for me. Your Highness.
What do you want, Tony?
Really? No small talk or anything?
I am not only queen, but also the protector of Wakanda. What do you need?
Long story short, I need vibranium. An experiment gone wrong is gonna wreak havoc if I don't upgrade my suit, and…
Say no more. My gods will upgrade your suit for you.
Thank you, Shuri. I followed her guard into a laboratory and stood onto a platform.
Stay still and the machine will do the rest.
Aye, aye, Captain. The room began to shake and the light started to flash, when suddenly my suit became black. It was now made of vibranium. With it, I got a vibranium sword and 2 hearts. Amazing! I was about to leave when suddenly Ultron appeared. On days 8 through 10, Ultron was looming over Wakanda.
Thanks for taking care of that Ravager, Tony. Now I'll be able to freely eliminate these humans as well.
How did you get in here? This is a hidden city!
I think you left the gate wide open, sir.
Touché! Ultron summoned a powerful mech to do his bidding and flew off. I put my new and improved suit into action and began to duke it out with the mech. He was incredibly powerful and could not only fire bullets, but also blast me with a powerful laser. Ow! Vibranium doesn't give me fire resistance? I utilized everything in my arsenal to try and take him down, but while I was able to land powerful attacks, he returned them twice as hard. The mech was beginning to be too overwhelming until Wakanda's forces stepped in to aid me in battle. The Wakandan warriors swarmed the mech and used their advanced weapons to dwindle down his health bit by bit. I did my best to aid them with my own attacks, and with our combined power, the mech began to break down. With the help of Wakanda's army, we were able to defeat the imminent threat. I quickly noticed that the mech dropped a letter that read, "To gain more tech, the next target will be someone as tough as Iron Man himself." As tough as me? They must be after Rhodey! I thanked the kind warriors of Wakanda and set off in search of my good friend, War Machine. As I traveled, I took a pit stop to mine a bit of materials to upgrade my base later. As I continued to mine, I accidentally stumbled upon a strange cave. What is this place?
It seems to be a cave, sir.
On days 11 through 14, I explored the mysterious cave further. As I headed deeper in, I spotted a trail of red banners on the wall. I feel like I've seen this before.
That's the banner of the evil group, Hydra.
Then I better walk carefully. I pressed on, until finally stumbling upon a strange wall with a sign. Only the worthy may pass beyond these walls. I bet I'm plenty worthy. I took out my mining gadget and tried to mine it down to no avail. Looks like I'll have to come back with a stronger suit. Suddenly, I heard the sounds of footsteps and ducked down into cover.
We gotta find a way past this wall. The boss wants whatever's behind it, and apparently, it's crazy powerful.
Anything for the boss. We'll use that power to take down those pesky heroes.
Heroes? These guys are bad news! I flew up from my hiding spot and landed a surprise attack on the soldiers. They tried to fight me off the best they could, but they were no match for my upgraded suit. I made quick work of them. Maybe next time, just don't say your evil plan out loud. Upon their deaths, they dropped a map titled Hydra HQ. This could be my ticket through the wall. I'll check this out soon. On days 15 through 18, I continued my search for War Machine when suddenly I heard the sound of fighting in the distance. Looks like that's my next stop. I took off in the direction of the noise to discover War Machine fighting off Emma Frost. War Machine was as tough as a fighter as ever, but he was beginning to get overwhelmed.
Little help, Tony?
Stand down, Elsa!
Elsa, I'm not letting that go.
Emma began to attack me with her powerful ice magic. War Machine and I had no choice but to fight for our lives. It was us against the Master of Ice. While War Machine shot attacks from afar, I used my wrist cannon and my vibranium sword to deal damage up close. Emma was not a weak foe. She could manipulate ice and bombard us with snowballs from a distance. The battle was tough, but with the combined strength of myself and War Machine, we managed to take her down. Ultron is getting stronger by the day. I can't get too cocky. Upon her death, she dropped a letter which I quickly picked up. Thank you for your allegiance, Miss Frost. You will be spared if you take down War Machine as well as the mutated human that has skin as hard as stone, Ultron. Could he be talking about the Thing? I need to find him before Ultron does. With the dust settled, I was finally able to ask for the suit upgrade I wanted.
Anything for you, Tony?
War Machine took my suit and worked on it for a while. When he was done, I put it back on to discover I now had white accents, 2 more hearts, and the ability to use War Machine's weaponry. Whoa, thanks! You want to help me take down Ultron?
For sure.
On days 19 through 21, I returned to the base to show War Machine where we'd be hiding out.
This is the base of the great Tony Stark?
Rude, but this place could use a facelift.
Maybe I can help with that.
I turned around to find none other than Pepper waiting for me. Pepper, I'm so happy to see you.
I bet you are. But enough chit-chat. This place isn't going to build itself.
Pepper and I began to expand the base even more, building up and adding some new blocks other than wood. During the expansion, I made sure to add 2 rooms both for her and War Machine to stay in. Things are looking a bit better around here. I now had 2 more mouths to feed, so I took to the sky in search of some food. During my travels, I discovered a village in ruin. Looks like Ultron was here. I better help these people. I swooped down over the village and helped them extinguish all of the fires. I even patched up a few of their homes while I was at it.
Thank you, Iron Man. Take this for our gratitude.
The residents gave me wheat seeds, an iron hoe, and an iron bucket so I could start my own garden. Thank you. This is just what I needed. I flew back to the base and got to work on our own personal wheat farm. After a bit of work, I finished, and the base was looking much better. All right, Tony, time to check out Hydra HQ. On days 22 through 24, I followed the map I got from the Hydra soldiers and arrived at Hydra HQ. The place was crawling with guards. If I set one of them off, it could be bad news for me. Looks like stealth is my best bet through this one.
I believe I can assist you with that. Hologram activate.
Suddenly, my suit transformed into a Hydra uniform. Sweet! Infiltration time! I walked into Hydra HQ with ease and started to snoop around the facility. Eventually, I stumbled into a room with a giant safe. That's just what I'm looking for.
Looking for what?
I turned around to find a Hydra officer waiting behind me. My glasses! I dropped them!
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the code to our super secret safe. I found it on the ground just now.
That too!
Really? Be careful with your things, dude.
The guard tossed me the code and left. Phew! I used my new code to open the safe and walk inside. There were countless riches as well as an upgraded mining gadget. This could break right through the wall. On days 25 through 28, I returned to the unbreakable wall with my new tool in hand. Here goes nothing. The tool did just the trick. I was able to tear through the powerful wall like butter. When I made it through the other side, I discovered a lone nether portal. That's odd. I walked through it, and waiting for me was a beacon of light. I flew towards it and discovered Doctor Strange's powerful Earth talisman. I wonder what it does.
Unclear, sir, but my readings indicate a massive amount of power emitting from its core.
Huh. Whatever it is, if it falls into the wrong hands, it could be trouble. Suddenly, something sped by and hit me. Ow! Watch where you're going! I looked back and realized the dude had taken the mysterious artifact. Get back here! I chased after the mysterious bandit, but even with my flight abilities, they were quick. We were neck and neck until finally I managed to corner them. When they turned around, it was none other than Ghost Rider. Nowhere to run. Hand over the artifact.
Why would I give something like this to you? You're the one who created Ultron.
That's why I need it, to stop him.
Fine, how about this? If you can complete my underworld trials, I'll give you this Earth Talisman and upgrade your suit. Can you handle it?
Count me in. On days 29 through 31, Ghost Rider and I began my underworld trials. The first trial was to clear an obstacle course over a pit of lava, but I can fly.
Not for this trial. Use your boots and you fail.
Lame. I began the trial, jumping from platform to platform the best I could. As I got further, I discovered a strange cave blocked by a wall of lava in the distance. I wonder what's in there. I'll have to come back when I have fire resistance. I pressed on and cleared challenge 1. For the second trial, Ghost Rider made me challenge a swarm of gas in an aerial battle. The horde pelted me with an onslaught of fireballs, but I wasn't going to let that stop me from upgrading my suit. I retaliated with my own attacks and took out ghast after ghast. After a fierce battle, I managed to take out the whole swarm.
Not bad, rich boy, but you have one more challenge.
The Ghost Rider took me to a racetrack. The final challenge was a motorcycle race between me and Ghost Rider.
I've provided you with a powerful bike. May the better hero win.
You're going down, Bones. We stood ready at the starting line until finally we took off. The two of us were neck and neck, but Ghost Rider still had the edge over me. He managed to take the lead.
Eat my dust, Stork.
I used my suit's rockets to propel me forward. I couldn't lose this battle no matter what. Thankfully, it gave me just the edge I needed to win the race.
Not bad, kid. Here's Strange's talisman as promised. And let me upgrade that suit of yours too.
Ghost Rider casted a spell, empowering my suit even more. I now had a totem of undying as well as 2 additional hearts. With this, Ultron doesn't stand a chance. On days 32 through 35, I returned to the overworld to find Ultron and his goons destroying a village. Now's my chance. I took to the skies and sent a surprise attack onto Ultron. I thought that surely I could put up a fight with my upgraded suit. Unfortunately for me, he was able to evade it.
You'll never win, Tony. Get him, then.
Ultron flew off, leaving me to deal with his swarm of goons. Unfortunately for them, I had gotten stronger since our last encounter. I used Strange's talisman to bend the earth, launching chunks of rock at the goons. With my new power, I knocked down each of the Tinker Toys one by one. After a lot of fighting, I was left with the aftermath of their attack. Ugh, he's still too strong. How am I supposed to protect these villages?
You could attempt to hack into his system and destroy him from the inside.
Huh, that's not too bad of an idea, but how can I do that?
Just leave it to me, sir.
I flew after him and finally spotted him setting another village ablaze.
All right, sir. This is your chance. Sneak up on him from behind.
You got it. I slowly crept behind Ultron once again, being much more quiet than last time.
Now.
I used one of my attacks to fry his systems, causing him to drop to the ground like a fly.
I'm going to enter Ultron's mind to inject the virus. Prepare yourself.
When I came to, I realized I was now inside of a strange realm. What is this place?
We are inside of Ultron's mind.
Sweet. Time to find that panel to inject the virus. I began to explore the vast world of Ultron's mind. Most of it was a void, but after some exploring, I came across a maze of bookshelves. Ultron has so much knowledge. I need to take him down fast. I navigated the books until finally discovering a strange panel.
That's it. Go there and inject the virus, sir.
I rushed over as fast as I could, but suddenly Ultron dropped down in front of me.
That's cute. You thought you could actually defeat me.
Back down, or I'll make you.
I'd like to see you try.
The two of us clashed in a battle of epic proportions. Inside of Ultron's mind, we were both able to wield swords, so it was a battle of skill instead of brute strength. I used my vibranium blade to land hits on Ultron close up, but he was no pushover. He was able to block some of my attacks and land counter hits of his own. Each blow I took made me weaker and weaker to his power. I did my best to block his onslaught, but he was just too powerful. Ultron took his chance and landed a brutal blow that kicked me out of his head and brought us back into the real world. Just kill me now.
I could, but I want you to watch the world burn.
Ultron took to the skies, leaving me alone and defeated. Am I gonna be able to stop him? On days 40 through 43, I tried to think of better ways to defeat Ultron while traveling back to my base. Once I got there, Pepper walked up to me.
Tony, I'm homesick. I want this base to look more like Stark Tower.
Sorry, honey, but I don't have the block.
Yes, you do. Have fun building.
Well, I guess it's time to get to work. With that, I officially started my recreation of Stark Tower. I started with the bottom level, placing blocks over my original build. After that, I continued upward, using a combination of polished andesite and glass. Looking good so far. After I was done building, Ghost Rider approached me.
I need a place to stay in the overworld.
Look no further. I immediately got to work, building him a Ghost Rider-y room fit with red and orange accents as well as skeleton skulls. You like it?
Like it. I love it.
Later in the day, I was just vibing when the Human Torch arrived.
Tony, I need your help. The Thing, he's being imprisoned by Ultron.
And you can't save him, why?
Ultron built bioscans to track major heat signatures. He'll spot me immediately.
Say no more. Happy to help. On days 44 through 46, I set out to find the Thing. After a lot of traveling, I found him deep inside a cave. He was trapped in a cage, Ultron standing directly in front of him.
Let me out of here, you bag of bolts.
Well, that's rude, especially considering you are quite literally a pile of rocks. Regardless, no, I will not let you out. You and the rest of the fantastic Thor are too powerful and could thwart my plans.
Your plans? To take over the world?
To destroy the world, yes. But to do so, I need an army, which I am currently building.
I have to find where he's building his soldiers.
I've grown tired of this conversation. Toodaloo, Thing!
With Ultron gone, I snuck over to the Thing.
Tony!
Whisper now, scream when we're out of here.
Right.
I broke him out using my mining gadget and we booked it out of there. After a lot of running, we made it back to the Human Torch.
Thank you so much, Iron Man.
Seriously, Tony, we really appreciate it. In fact, let me see your armor.
I handed over my armor. After a few seconds, the Human Torch returned it. I now had 2 more hearts and flame resistance. Sweet! Now I can go back to that weird cave I spotted in the Nether. On days 47 through 50, I was exploring when suddenly I spotted a strange sign advertising Comic-Con. That sounds fun, but I really should be trying to take down Ultron. Couldn't hurt to stop by. I traveled in the direction of the convention and arrived at a massive building. This must be it. I stepped inside of the convention center to discover the lobby was full of people dressed in colorful hero costumes. Finally, a place I can go and not stand out. I was wrong. People wouldn't stop walking up and asking me questions.
Wait, are you the real Iron Man?
In the flesh. Or iron.
What's Captain America like in person?
I can't remember.
What is your suit made out of?
Vibranium. The questions went on for what felt like hours until I couldn't take it anymore. Okay, no more questions! Ugh! I stormed out of the convention center feeling annoyed. Man, I'm never going back to one of those things. On days 51 through 54, I decided to head back to the Nether to explore the strange lava cave I spotted earlier. Okay, let's hope the Human Torch wasn't pulling my leg with his fire resistance stuff. With my fire resistance, I was able to easily traverse through the lava unharmed. Thank goodness! I kept moving forward and found a giant room, but it didn't look like it belonged in the Nether. Weird. All of a sudden, someone ran past me with immense speed. Ow! What the? Whatever it was, they were too fast to see, and they wouldn't let up. Hey, whoever that is, cut it out! I'm not here to hurt you! They did it over and over until they finally stopped in front of me.
Yeah, right, science man. You're going to mess with me like all the others have.
No, I'm not. My name's Max. Tony. I'm just trying to stop Ultron. Is that why you're down here? You think people are gonna hurt you?
Yes, I'm Quicksilver. My sister and I were prisoners, forced to undergo experimental surgery that gave us powers. We broke out and sought safety in here of all places.
How do you like it?
Like it. I hate it. It's too hot.
Well, if you'd like, I can offer you protection at my base. It's not nearly as hot.
That sounds great.
On days 55 through 57, I returned to the base with Quicksilver. I'm gonna build you a room. Should be done in a few hours.
Don't worry, Tony. I've got this.
Without a moment to spare, Quicksilver ran around the base, building a room instantly. Wow, that was amazing! As Quicksilver got settled, I decided to do some expansions of my own. I started by working on the tower, adding more height using polished andesite. I was making good progress, but the work felt endless. Man, I can't wait to get my money back so I can hire builders. Afterwards, I made a storage room to hold all of my resources and treasures. I like it.
Sir, I require your attention.
Shoot, Jarv.
I've detected a large presence of radon in a nearby biome, which indicates to me that somebody is working on something radioactive.
Ultron.
Precisely, sir.
Thanks, Jarvis. I'll head that way now. On days 58 through 61, I traveled towards Ultron's factory.
My readings indicate it should be right up ahead, sir.
Jarvis was right. We arrived at a large, ominous-looking factory. I landed on the roof to take a peek inside. Ultron was in the middle of the room, being repaired by a strange device.
So that's how he fixes any damages.
Not only that, sir, but it appears he is constructing robots at a much quicker rate than initially thought.
You're right. This is too many. I'll go give Ultron a piece of my mind right now. I broke through the ceiling to give Ultron a good talking to. Enough games, Ultron. I'm technically your dad, and I say it's time for bed. Ultron and I took to the skies and engaged in combat. We brawled for a bit until we were forced to take the battle outside the factory. He had the same abilities as me and was able to shoot projectiles from his wrist launchers as well as fire a powerful beam from his chest. Using the gun I had gotten from War Machine, I tried to overwhelm him with bullets, but his armor was too strong. If range isn't working, I'll just have to take him up close. I tried going in for a heavy blow with my vibranium sword, but Ultron forced me to back off once again. I did my best, but Ultron had the one up on me. He even managed to damage my arc reactor.
Time is ticking, Tony. If you don't fix that arc reactor soon, you're dead.
On days 62 through 64, things were looking very bleak. My arc reactor was busted, and I was nowhere near my tools. Jarvis, call Nick. When I woke up, I was in a strange room. I had a new arc reactor installed in my chest, granting me 2 more hearts. Where am I?
You're at an undisclosed SHIELD facility.
It was Nick Fury. Nick, I can't thank you enough.
I don't need thanks. I need answers. Ultron.
Yeah, they were meant to be a protector of the planet, I guess? Creating him caused an explosion in my lab, giving me memory loss. I swear, sometimes I think I'm a redheaded guy named Max.
Man, that must have been a big explosion. Anyways, I trust you can eliminate this Ultron threat. You always do.
Fury then handed me a super cool weapon. Wow, thanks, Nick.
No need to thank me. Now get back out there, soldier. I'll be making some calls to see if anyone else can help. I'll let you know who reaches back.
On days 65 through 67, I was on my way back home through a desert biome. This is nice. It feels like I haven't had any time to relax. I fell into a hole, landing inside an underground bunker. What in the world? No worries. I'll just fly out. I tried to activate my thrusters, but nothing happened. Jarvis!
It appears your thrusters were damaged in the fall, sir. In fact, your entire suit is overheating. I would suggest taking it off and repairing this one once we're back home.
Jarvis was right, so I took off the suit. Once I did so, I was greeted by a strange man.
I see you've fallen into our trap, Mr. Stark.
Oh no, I'm getting some major deja vu.
We need you to build us a nuclear weapon.
Yep, definitely getting deja vu. Yeah, I can build your weapon.
Excellent.
After our brief conversation, the strange man left the room.
I assume you're going to build something else, Mr. Stark.
You already know, Jarv. To execute my plan, I was gonna need materials, but I was very limited underground, especially without my mining gadget. Guess I gotta do this the old-fashioned way. I used the materials I had on hand to make a stone pickaxe, then mined some iron underground to upgrade to an iron one. I even had enough extra to make an iron sword just in case.
Sir, my readings indicate some valuable gems are nearby.
Then that's our next stop. I mined until finally discovering a cavern full of diamond. This is perfect! Suddenly, I heard a low growling noise. I turned in the direction of it to find a massive Naga. Nice monster? On days 68 through 71, the beast lunged at me. He wasn't about to let me have his treasure. I had no choice but to defend myself. Without my suit, the battle was tough. I was only able to defend myself with the iron sword I had just crafted. The Naga was skilled in flight and would not only shoot corrosive projectiles at me, but would also dive down to hit me from above. I tried my best to evade its attacks and hit it when it came close, but it was just too fast. Ugh, why do you have to fly? My boots are busted! Suddenly, skeletons began to spawn, which gave me an idea. I began to slice down the horde left and right until one of them dropped a bow. Perfect! Now that I had a bow and plenty of arrows, I began to shoot at the beast above. With my new ranged weapon, I managed to take the monster down. I even gained 2 more hearts. I guess doing all this dirty work has made me stronger. I mined my diamond prize, granting me the materials I needed for my plan. Time to get out of here. I returned to the underground bunker where the strange man was waiting.
Is the nuclear weapon finished?
1 second. Yes, it is.
Then let me see it.
Gladly. Just then, I put on a Mark I Iron Man suit and started blasting at the villain.
It wasn't long before he died. Time to get out of here. I stormed through the underground tunnels, and as I expected, they were crawling with bad guys. Unfortunately for them, my new suit was able to mow them down like nothing. I shot flames left and right. The final grunt died and dropped a map titled Shang-Chi. Well, that's convenient. On days 72 through 75, I made it back to base. I realized that more and more heroes were joining my HQ day by day, and I needed to make sure we had enough room to accommodate. I immediately got to work, building up the tower more. After a while, the exterior was really coming along. With the outside done for now, I began working on a room for the Fantastic Four. I used black, white, and blue colors to match their aesthetic, which really made the room pop.
Thanks, Max.
No problem.
Whenever Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman become available, we'll make sure to send them here.
Awesome! After that, I went to go check on my buddy Rhodey. Hey man, how's it hanging?
I'm alright, but I will kill for some pork chops right now.
You know what? I got you. I quickly flew to a nearby field, using carrots to make a group of pigs follow me. I made it back home, building a quick little pen for the piggies. I then slaughtered a few of them. Unfortunately for me, I didn't know what I had just done.
What do you think you're doing?
Huh? I turned around to find Spider-Ham standing before me.
You just brutally murdered my people!
What the? Jarvis? Why is there a spider pig here?
It appears someone has messed with the multiverse, sir.
You dang bacon lovers don't even think about where your food comes from! This means war!
I'm sorry! How can I make it up to you?
Well, I do like a good carrot or two.
Done! I handed him the rest of the carrots I had.
Oh boy! I mean, you're forgiven this time. Ta-ta!
Spider-Ham walked away, stuffing his face full of carrots. I guess that means peace is restored between humans and pigs? After that strange encounter, I cooked up the pork chops and gave a few to War Machine.
Thanks, man.
No prob. On days 76 through 78, I was fixing to leave to follow Shang-Chi's map. Wait a sec. Jarvis, what's the status of my other suit?
I have repaired it, sir. It should be safe to use again.
Sweet! I quickly put my upgraded suit back on, then flew off to find Shang-Chi. He was far away, forcing me to fly through multiple biomes. But I didn't mind too much, since the weather was great. Ah, this is nice. Suddenly, clouds gathered in the sky and it began to rain. What the? What was the forecast for today, Jarvis?
Today's forecast is clear skies, sir.
Out of nowhere, storm touched down in front of me.
Hello, Tony. Sorry to rain on your parade, but this is the end of the line. Ultron is going to spare me if I can take you out.
Sorry, you messed up the minute you teamed up with a killer robot. The two of us began to fight in an epic battle in the sky. We both swarmed around each other in a dogfight, and I started shooting at her with my guns. She kept striking me with lightning, but my new armor was prepared to withstand those blows. We both fought with all of our might, and despite the onslaught of lightning, I managed to take her down. I gotta keep moving. Eventually, the weather cleared, and I reached a huge crowded forest. This looks like a trap.
You are correct, sir. It appears to be some sort of labyrinthine maze designed to corner and suffocate those who do not know how to properly navigate it.
Huh, I have an idea. I took to the skies, flying over it with ease. Boom. Work smarter, not harder. I then reached an immaculate circular opening in the forest, meeting Shang-Chi.
Trespassers are not allowed on these sacred grounds.
Please, I just want to talk. Despite my pleas, Shang-Chi ignored me and charged at me with everything he had. He swung at me with masterful martial arts powers, and kept hitting me with a powerful flurry of blows. I tried shooting my guns at him, but he was super fast and kept dodging out of the way. I started using my arc reactor beam, and that did a significant amount of damage. It was a difficult battle, but I eventually managed to win. Okay, now will you talk?
I don't think I have a choice.
I explained everything I knew to Shang-Chi about Ultron and his evil plans to destroy humanity.
And so this guy is building an army to destroy the world.
Yes.
And you built him?
Yes.
Why?
Peace in our times. A shield around the world. I don't know. I did it and it's done, okay?
Fine.
I've been making modifications to my suit to take him on. Do you have any tech or 10 rings magic that would help?
Actually, I have just the thing.
Shang-Chi performed a spell and magically upgraded my suit. I now had 2 more hearts and powerful brass knuckles that let me do a flurry of blows.
Use it wisely, Iron Man.
I will. On days 82 through 85, I returned to the base and decided to do a bit of sprucing up. It's about time I have my own room. I got to work on something for myself. I made sure it was big and luxurious, as well as filled with tons of red and yellow accents that compliment me as Iron Man. While I was at it, I added an extra large bed all for myself. With that, my room was complete. This looks more like McDonald's than Iron Man's room. Oh well, I'm loving it. I still had energy, so I moved on to extending Stark Tower. I built it even taller and began to fill in an area with glass when I realized I was running out. Hey Pepper, you got any more materials?
Fresh out.
Dang it! I need to get my bank account back already! Just then a ditzy robot came running by in a hurry, mumbling something to himself.
Ultron will have me disassembled if I don't get this done in time.
Ultron? I gotta follow him! On days 86 through 89, I tailed the robot to a shopping mall. He was purchasing a bunch of different robot parts. Wait, he must be Ultron's errand boy, which means he has my bank info! I ambush him, quickly defeating him and unfreezing my bank account. You know what this means? Shopping spree! I started shopping like crazy, buying myself a snazzy suit, some sick shades, and even a private jet. Man, being rich is the best! My fun was quickly cut short by Nick Fury.
Ultron is threatening all of humanity and you're shopping.
I was just...
Get back to work.
On days 90 through 91, I was scouting over the ocean when I spotted something strange. I flew underwater, finding a laboratory. I broke inside, discovering it was owned by Doc Ock. An octopus in the ocean? How original. I began to investigate, but while doing so, I accidentally triggered an alarm. With little warning, a horde of little robots began to swarm me. They all charged at me and started zapping me when they got too close. I used my laser to start picking them off, but they kept surrounding me. No matter what I did, I couldn't keep the robots away. They continued to swarm me, like the horde of ankle biters they were. I had to change my game plan. When I was surrounded, I started fighting them all off with my fists, which was surprisingly effective with my upgrades from Shang-Chi. I was now able to hit the bots with a flurry of attacks, quicker than before. Despite their numbers, the robots didn't stand a chance against my new melee upgrade. Using a combination of my abilities, I struck each of the robots over and over again. Honestly, it was kind of fun. Eventually, I was able to pick them all off one by one. Upon the final robot's death, they dropped a note. Dr. Octavius, I thank you again for your support. Once you capture Spider-Man, please drop him off at this map's location. I looked on the ground, but there was no map to be found. I have to find that map before they hurt Spider-Man. I explored around the lab and found that the map was locked behind a keypad.
Let me take care of this, sir.
Access granted.
Jarvis hacked into the keypad, causing it to unlock. Thanks, Jarvis. I grabbed the map and immediately set off to find Spidey. On days 92 through 94, I traveled to the location on the map to find Spider-Man was already kneeling before Doc Ock.
Any last words?
Doc, I think there's someone behind you.
Oh, please, Peter. I've grown tired of these little games of yours. Just let me enjoy this.
Don't you have better things to do than picking on a kid? I used my arc reactor blast, eviscerating Doc Ock. Wow, that was easy. I guess he was just a normal human after all.
Whoa, are you like the Iron Man? Like Mr. Stark from Stark Industries?
The one and only.
Why does your suit look so weird? I thought Iron Man's whole thing was like red and gold.
I've made a few modifications. I'm sure you can tell from how powerful that last attack was.
Thanks for saving me, Mr. Stark. Can I return the favor?
Well, I am fighting Ultron, but that's too dangerous for you.
Please, come on, please.
No way! I can't have you getting hurt. How old are you anyway? 12?
Hey, I'm 16.
12, 16. Same thing. You're a kid.
But normal kids can't shoot webs from their wrists. Listen, I'll make it worth your while. Just give me a chance and you won't regret it.
What could a high school student possibly offer a billionaire?
Let's see, wit, charm, and, memes?
My point exactly.
Well, you said you're fighting Ultron. Maybe I can help you upgrade that suit of yours. It'll be your coolest upgrade yet.
I handed off my suit to him and Spidey got to work, spinning webs onto it. After a while, he handed it back to me. In my new suit, I had 2 more hearts, the ability to shoot webs, and I was now very sticky. Gross, but efficient. On days 95 through 98, I returned home with Spidey and got to work on a room for him. I added plenty of bread to his space so that it screamed Spider-Man, and he seemed to really like it. Not too shabby. I was still feeling good after getting my final upgrade, so I decided it was finally time to finish my base. I started by filling in the unfinished glass portions and completely finished the building itself. Once the main structure was done, I added the final touches, completing my reproduction of Stark Tower. It's glorious!
I think it looks amazing, sweetie. How about we have some dinner to celebrate?
I have just the thing in mind. As sunset began, the 2 of us enjoyed our view from Stark Tower with a fine steak dinner.
Thank you for taking the time to make this for me. It feels good to be home.
Anything for you, hon.
You know, sometimes I get a bit nervous about you being a hero. I never know if each time I see you will be the last. But at the end of the day, I know you'll always come back home.
I promise I won't let you down. No matter what sort of difficulties I face, I'll never go down without a fight. I'll always be here to protect you.
Oh, how sweet.
Just then, I turned to find Ultron standing right next to us. How did you get here?
Does that really matter? Surrender now and I won't make you suffer.
You won't get away with this!
I already have.
Suddenly, Pepper was teleported away. Pepper! What did you do?
We're gonna end this once and for all, Stark.
Ultron flew away, leaving behind a terrifying robo-mech. I had no choice but to fight. The mech had a powerful laser attack that I was immediately bombarded with. I fought it off with my wrist cannons and took off to the skies. I was able to slow down the mech with my new Spider-Man powers, but unfortunately, that didn't stop it from blasting me with its powerful sonic laser. I weakened it with my arc reactor chest blaster and then flew in for the kill. Thanks to all the powers I had gotten, I was able to take down the mech and claim a map as my prize. Don't worry, Pepper, I'm coming for you! On day 100, I arrived at the location on the map to find Pepper was already trapped inside of a cage. Standing next to her was Ultron. Pepper, I'm gonna get you out of this, I swear!
Not this time, Tony. I'm going to kill both of you, and then the rest of you pathetic humans. Let's start with sweet old Pepper first.
No! Ultron fired a massive attack, but before it could hit Pepper, War Machine intersected it. Rhodey?
Did you really think I'd let you fight this maniac alone? I'll take care of Pepper. You focus on Ultron.
With Pepper protected, I flew into what would be the final battle. We were flying around each other, shooting at each other with our wrist cannons. We clashed in the sky like two fighter jets. Bullets and lasers flew wildly around us as the battle began to unfold. Even at such great speeds, Ultron was still surprisingly accurate. I had to be careful not to get hit too much. Too many blows from his precise computer-like aim would finish me. He was so powerful. He started hitting me with his machine gun and I was forced to land. He landed next to me and we transitioned into hand-to-hand combat. Even in that, he was just too powerful. He was weakening me a lot. Despite all of the power I had gained, Ultron was still too strong. He landed a fatal attack, but thanks to my totem of undying, I managed to survive. I flew away to reassess. Yikes. No more redos. Jarvis, is there any way we can try to hack him again?
We can try, but if we fail again, my systems will shut down, and you will be unable to use your suit.
Meaning?
If we lose again, you will be as good as dead in the real world.
I gotta try. I charged full speed at Ultron and landed my supersonic attack again, causing him to fall to the ground. Just like that, I returned inside of Ultron's mind. In front of me was the control panel just like before, but Ultron was already there waiting.
Do you really want to challenge me here? You can't even defeat me in the real world, and you expect to beat me in my own mind.
You forget that I'm the one who created your thoughts. Prepare to meet your maker, Ultron. We began slicing at each other, dealing massive psychic damage. I needed to take him down quickly so I could give Jarvis a chance to hack into his system, but he wasn't going down easy. His mind was strong, but mine was stronger. The battle was fierce, but I was able to slash my blade deep into Ultron, winning me the fight. Now's my chance. I rushed as fast as I could to the panel, and Jarvis began uploading the virus.
Upload complete.
No!
Suddenly, I was returned to the real world where Ultron submitted to the attack. He died. Little did I know, the fall of Ultron wasn't the end. Soon, I would face the threats of the multiverse, where the line between hero and villain is harder to see than ever. On day 1, I was Spider-Man and I was being chased by the entire Spider Society. Loads of Spider-Men were using everything in their power to stop me. I tried to throw him off my tail, but every turn I made led me face to face with another Spider-Man. I knew that I didn't stand a chance against their numbers. I swung left and right and tried to slow them down with my web shooting abilities, but there were too many of them. Things got worse when out of nowhere, Miguel, the leader of the Spider Society, dropped down in front of me. He stopped me in my tracks with his webs, leaving me defenseless.
Finally, I will dispose of you once and for all!
Suddenly, a portal ripped open near me, and Miles Morales emerged. He jumped Miguel and landed a surprise attack that left him dazed.
Come with me, quick!
I freed myself from the web trap and followed Miles through the portal.
Everyone get them!
On day 2, Miles and I fled through the portal into another dimension that was made of Legos. Miguel and the rest of the Spider Society followed close behind. What do they want with us?
We're both anomalies. They want to eliminate us.
What? We navigated the dimension of plastic until spotting a bridge under construction over a massive hole. I have an idea. Miles and I booked it over the bridge and the Spider-Men followed us onto it. Unfortunately for them, they were too heavy and caused the whole build to crumble. The Spider-Men plummeted into the chasm below.
Not bad, but that won't hold them for long.
Miles opened another portal to make our escape, but Lego Spider-Man jumped out instead.
Ha! Taste my Lego power!
The tiny hero uses building powers to create a wall at the speed of light. Luckily, Miles and I stayed on our toes and managed to clear the jump with our web swinging. Just as we made it to the portal, the massive Spider Rex came out in front of us.
Hold on tight.
Miles opened the new portal beneath our feet, causing us both to fall through into the unknown. On day 3, Miles and I landed in another dimension with a massive city. Where are we? Suddenly, a massive mecha dropped down in front of us. Inside was a girl controlling it.
Welcome to my dimension, Max and Miles. I'm coming for you.
Don't do this, Penny.
Sorry, you know I have to do this.
The mecha lunged at us and we had no choice but to fight. Penny started by using a stomping attack that caused debris from the ground to fly all around us. Miles and I did our best to evade her onslaught, but armed with her mech, Penny was a force to be reckoned with. Our spider punches did barely any damage to the mecha's sturdy armored body. Even with 2 Spider-Men against 1, this battle was tough. She used her powerful metallic fist to smash into us for loads of health. At this rate, we couldn't keep up much longer. Luckily, we had a trump card of our own. Miles had the ability to use electrical attacks which could fry the mecha circuits for good damage. I did my best to support Miles with my web shooting attacks while he went in close and zapped the robot as much as he could. We were neck and neck, but suddenly my body started to glitch out. Ah, what's happening?
You don't have a multiverse bracelet? This is gonna be easier than I thought.
I'll meet up with you later. You need that bracelet or else you'll die.
Before I could protest, Miles pushed me into the portal, sending me to another dimension. On days 4 through 7, I fell through the portal inside of a strange room. When I looked around, I spotted the multiversal bracelet on a pedestal. That must be it! I walked up to it, when suddenly Miguel jumped down in front of me.
Stop right there.
What do you want with us?
You're both disrupting the timeline. I'm going to eliminate you or else everything we know will cease to exist.
Just then, Miles jumped up next to the bracelet.
Max, catch!
Miles tossed over the bracelet and opened up a portal.
Follow me.
He warped away, leaving me alone with Miguel. I now had a bracelet of my own in my possession, but there was one huge problem. How do I work this thing? Miguel attacked me as I fumbled with my new contraption. His fist really packed a punch, dealing significant damage to my health. I dodged as much as I could, but couldn't evade him fast enough to avoid his attacks. He threw his punches with such immense force and speed that I couldn't even react fast enough. It seemed like it was no use. I couldn't get the bracelet to work. Isn't there a manual for this thing? He was too powerful for me in my current state. I desperately tinkered with the bracelet until by some miracle a portal opened before me. I escaped the facility with only half a heart remaining. On days 8 through 10, I appeared in another dimension with Miles. The bracelet had worked successfully.
Glad you're okay for now, but we can't relax. Miguel has a tracking device on these bracelets.
What are we gonna do?
Let's make a base. That way we could be shielded from the tracking.
Miles and I quickly got to work on our own spider base. We wanted it to reflect our identities as Spider-Men, so we planned to make it shaped as a giant spider. We started with the main structure, which would be the body of the spider, and filled it with everything we would need for survival. It didn't look like much yet, but eventually it would have all 8 legs to fit all of the recruits we found. We were getting close to finishing when I spotted a portal opening in the distance. Oh no, Miguel is closing in, hurry! We ran inside and watched as Miguel began to look around the area like a bloodhound.
Your tracking both went offline, but it doesn't matter. If you want to stop me, you have to recruit more than just one Spider-Man. I will find and eliminate both of you.
Miguel walked away, but suddenly my spider sense went off. I turned around and the Prowler was standing before us.
Hide!
Miles vanished into thin air with his invisibility powers, and the Prowler lunged at me instead. On days 11 through 14, the Prowler slashed at me with his swift claws. The two of us clashed in hand-to-hand combat. I tried to punch him down with my fists, but whenever I got too close, the Prowler would land blows with his deadly claws for massive damage. I knew I couldn't run him blindly, so I tried to trap him in my webs to slow him down. This worked and let me land some solid hits, but he was far too powerful. Even with my nimble movements, I wasn't able to keep up with the Prowler. He had severely weakened me until suddenly Miles ran in front of me.
Please stop! Look, Uncle Aaron, it's me!
Miles, do it. Kill him.
To my surprise, the Prowler lowered his weapon, but in a matter of seconds, the sound of a gunshot rang through the area. The Prowler died before us.
No! Not again!
A large man in a black suit stepped forward. It was the villain Kingpin.
I'll do it myself.
Hey, we gotta go, Miles! We need more help!
Yeah, You're right. Let's go.
I used my bracelet to open up a new portal and fled through with Miles. Unfortunately for us, Kingpin ran close behind. On days 15 through 17, Miles and I emerged in another dimension with Kingpin close behind us. We were in the sprawling city of London. Miles was beginning to lag behind and Kingpin caught up. He smashed his fist into him, causing him to pass out. Miles! Hey, big guy, come and get me! Kingpin directed his attention towards me and I kept running. I had to keep him away from Miles. I ran until I was met with a dead end. Kingpin loomed over me with his massive fists. I thought I was surely done for. Suddenly, a punk rock Spider-Man jumped down in front of me.
Oi, don't just stand there. Let's kick this corporate loser's butt.
Kingpin smashed at us with his massive fists and dealt tons of damage whenever we tried to get up close. Spider-Punk and I realized we needed more footing to take this guy on, so we lured him out of the alley and continued to fight in the street. Kingpin jumped high in the air and smashed into both of us one by one. I tried to slow him down with my webs, while Spider-Punk strummed his guitar and sent shockwaves at him. Spider-Punk's music was so strong that it even sent someone as massive as Kingpin flying back. He tried to trip us up by punching the ground and sending debris flying at us, but we are more savvy than he thought. We dodged his attacks and continued to overwhelm him with our own. He would fall to the ground, but the man was like a tank. He always got back up and kept fighting. Although the two of us were getting tired, we knew we had to end this here. We kept up the attacks, doing everything we could to win. Thanks to the help of the Spider-Punk, we managed to defeat Kingpin once and for all. Whoa, you're super cool. Who are you?
Call me Hobie.
Just then, the chief officer came running towards us with their weapons out.
Get those delinquents!
Cops? Aren't you a hero?
I don't use labels. Let's move.
On days 18 through 21, the two of us were in a heated chase with the police. Every twist and turn we made, we were met with hordes of policemen. Eventually, there was nowhere else to run.
We have you surrounded. Surrender, Spider-Punk.
Look, we don't want any trouble.
I'll never surrender to the system.
Hobie shot all the cops down with his webs, trapping them in place.
Follow me, I know a shortcut.
I followed behind the Spider-Punk who led me to a manhole. The two of us hopped inside before the cops could find us. Wow, you're pretty resourceful. We could use a spider like you on our team.
I don't know.
Well, think about it for a bit. I looked around and realized we were inside of the sewer systems of the city. I thought surely we could avoid trouble down here, but the ground began to tremble. What's that?
Looks like the cops are filling the place with water. We gotta move now.
On days 22 through 25, Spider-Punk and I were running through the sewers trying to find a way out before the water swept us away. It seemed like every turn we made was a dead end. As we ran further and further, I saw a light in the distance. Look, there's an opening over there! Spider-Punk and I ran out of the sewer, narrowly avoiding being submerged by the rushing flood. That was close! When we thought we were safe, we turned around to see that a giant monstrous spider was looming behind us. What the heck is that thing? The spider monster began covering Spider-Punk in webs, making him unable to move.
You're on your own with this one, mate.
Nobody was here to help me this time, but I had to free Hobie. I went in close with my fists and started to beat down the beast in hand-to-hand combat. It was 8 legs against 2, but I was gonna take my chances. I punched at the beast while it retaliated with its poisonous pincers. Normally, I would try to trap it in webs, but it was a spider too. It had the ability to climb through webs like nothing, so I was forced to fight them head on. The spider began to spit different types of venom at me. I used my superhero agility and web swinging to try and avoid the attacks and went in close for damage whenever there was an opening. The beast was tough, and its poisonous attacks brought me down to my last heart. It was anyone's game, but I knew I had to protect Hobie no matter what. With that, I managed to stomp out the arachnid once and for all. I took the chance I had and freed Hobie from his web prison.
Alright kid, you got skills. I'll join your team. Oh, and take this.
Hobie handed me his guitar, and I gained 5 more hearts. Whoa, thanks. Suddenly, another portal opened up before us. Miguel had finally caught up.
I've got this one. Catch you later.
Hobie opened our own portal behind us, and I did what I was told. On days 26 through 28, I fell through a portal into a new dimension. Everything here was tinted pink and blue. Whose dimension could this be? Just then, my spider sense tingled. I could immediately tell that Miles was somewhere in this city. I swung around the city with my webs looking for any sign of Miles, but as I turned a corner, I saw a building completely on fire. Oh no! What happened here? My question was quickly answered when I spotted a giant lizard being fought off by this universe's Spider-Woman. Time to knock out some bad guys! I swung into action and began to help the other Spider-Woman take out the nasty lizard. He was a powerful warrior that dual-wielded 2 steel hammers. He swung his weapons at us and smashed into our super suits for massive damage. I knew he was a force to be reckoned with up close, but we knew our webs wouldn't do enough damage to pierce through his tough armor. We had to get in close with our fists if we wanted to stand a chance. We tried to beat him down with our super-powered punches, but we dodged his heavy swings. Whenever we needed some distance, I would take out my new Spider-Punk guitar and give it a strum that sent him flying. The two of us were starting to get an edge when the lizard smashed his hammers into the ground, powering him up even more. We kept fighting the best we could, but it was anyone's game. After a long fight, Spider-Woman and I wiped out the lizard foe.
Hey, are you Max?
Yeah, that's me. How do you know my name?
I'm Gwen. Miles said you'd be here.
You know Miles? Can you take me to him?
Sure, follow me.
Gwen and I swung through the city until we got to an apartment where Miles was laying on the bed. Miles, you're okay!
Hey, Max, good to see you.
You guys caused Kingpin some trouble, I heard.
Yeah, me and Hobie took care of him. We gotta be more careful. More danger could be behind any door.
Spider-Man, in my apartment? You're all under arrest.
On days 29 through 32, Gwen's dad had mistaken us all for villains and was putting us under arrest. I knew there was no easy way out of this. I had no choice but to use Spider-Punk's guitar. I strummed a chord and the burst of sound sent the captain flying backwards. We have to go, now!
What about my dad?
I'm gonna get you, spiders. Ugh.
He'll be fine. I used my bracelet to open a portal, escaping through it with Miles and Gwen. When we got to the other side, we were back in my base.
Oi.
Hobie! I'm glad you're all right. Thanks for holding off Miguel for me. I knew Miguel would still be looking for us, so I decided to reinforce our base. I started by adding a farm so that we could have a consistent source of food for the team to snack on. Next, I added a room for Hobie to call his own. I made sure that bits and pieces of his hometown sprinkled around, along with some musical instruments for him to play when he's bored. Afterwards, I made a room for Gwen. I used lots of pink, white, and blue blocks to fit her vibe and added a drum set for her to rock out on. Lastly, I added legs to the base to make it look more like a spider and function as hallways to the underground rooms. With that, my expansion was complete.
Thanks, Max. But now's no time to relax. I know someone else that can help our team.
Let's go! Gwen opened another portal outside, and the two of us continued searching for more backup. On days 33 through 35, Gwen and I arrived in another dimension where we stood near the Taj Mahal. Is this India?
Kinda. Pub should be around here somewhere. Let's split up and look.
Gwen and I went our separate ways, and I began to navigate the city around me. As I looked around, I spotted a massive monster fighting another Spider-Man. That must be the guy. I better help. I swung into the fray to help the guy out. The monster was nimble like us and was able to perform incredible acrobatics in combat. He was armed with a staff which he used to smash into us for massive damage. Luckily, we were fast too. We rushed in and punched into him whenever we could find an opening. He was 3 times our size, making it hard to deal enough damage, but we had the will to keep fighting. Suddenly, he unleashed a blazing fire breath attack that set both me and the other Spider-Man ablaze. My hearts were dwindling fast, but I couldn't give up. We continued our onslaught while the ape smashed his staff into the ground, sending a massive shockwave our way. We both endured the hit and cornered him right where we wanted. Between both of our punches, we were breaking through his armor and I could tell the beast was growing weak. With one final blow from the other Spider-Man, the monster went down, but so did he! No! I rushed to his side, only to discover that he was just sitting and relaxing. What the? Aren't you hurt?
Nah, being a Spider-Man is easy. I'm Pavitra, but you can call me Pav.
I'm Max. Nice hair, by the way. I explained to Pav my mission to recruit more Spider-Men to help stop Miguel. Luckily for me, he agreed. Suddenly, a portal opened beneath Pav, causing him to fall into the unknown, and Miguel jumped out in front of me. Oh no! He tracked us here! On days 36 to 39, I was being chased by Miguel. He was extremely fast, but so was I. I used my web-slinging abilities to send him in a high-speed chase. I tried to throw him off my tail, but he seemed to be waiting around every corner. Is my bracelet giving me away? I found a corner to hide in, but my spider sense went off. Ah! Just then, Gwen dropped down in front of me.
Don't worry, it's just me. I have an idea, but you're not gonna like it.
Gwen snatched my multi-dimensional bracelet and swung away. I watched as Miguel foolishly chased her instead, but now I was at risk of glitching to death. Unfortunately, I didn't have a moment to breathe. A new portal tore open in front of me and Spider-Rex in an upgraded form emerged.
I finally found you.
What happened to you? You can talk now too?
The latest Spider Society tech has empowered me. Let me show you.
The Rex charged at me with his jaws open. I tried to evade his attacks, but he knelt down and bit me for big damage. If it wasn't for Hobie's guitar, I would have been swallowed whole. I went in close with my superpowered fist and fought the massive dino one-on-one. His thick scales and armor made it hard to deal much damage. On top of that, he was armed with incredible weapons. Spider-Rex unleashed a mighty roar that sent a huge wave of projectiles at me. I did my best to evade his moves and retaliate with my own. We were neck and neck, and I wasn't sure how much longer I would be able to hold on. I kept fighting and finally managed to overcome the beast. He dropped a razor web attack and I suddenly gained 5 hearts. Sitting around and glitching is a death sentence. I gotta get out of here. I looked around and spotted the Spider-Rex's portal was still open, but it was closing fast. I sprinted full speed into the portal just as it closed for good. On days 40 through 43, I fell through the other side of the portal to discover I had returned to the Spider Society. There, I was inside of a room full of trapped anomalies. I looked around and spotted Pav imprisoned in one of the cages. Coming, buddy! I broke him out and told him that we needed to find Gwen quickly. She was in trouble when I started to glitch out like crazy.
Whoa, slow down there. You need to find a new bracelet, otherwise you won't stay alive much longer. Come with me.
Pav and I kept our heads low and began to stealth around the spider-infested facility. We were keeping ourselves hidden when suddenly one of the guard's spidey senses went off.
Come here quick.
Pav and I shot our webs at a pillar and climbed upwards just in time before the spider guard found us. With them off our tail, we kept moving deeper, keeping our guards up high. Finally, we arrived at the room that held the bracelet, but a spider woman was waiting outside.
I've got this one. Keep going without me.
Pav walked out towards the woman and started to work his charm on her. I thought an idea like that surely wouldn't work, but to my surprise, it did just the trick. While she was distracted, I snuck past them and snagged the multi-dimensional bracelet for myself. Time to save Gwen! On days 44 through 46, I arrived back in Pav's dimension to find Gwen at the end of her rope. Gwen, are you okay?
I'm sorry, I couldn't defeat him. It's up to you, Max. Please take this.
Gwen handed me a pink and white sword just as Miguel came in close.
There you are. Are you going to keep running from me?
No way. You're going down now. I readied my new weapon and ran in towards Miguel. Little did I know that he had 2 blades of his own. The two of us slashed into each other with all of our might. It was Spider versus Spider in an epic battle unlike any other thus far. Miguel was quick on his feet, dealing crazy attacks with his dual blades. Each hit he managed to land on me expelled a massive amount of energy that sent me flying into the air. I used Hobie's guitar to blast Miguel off of me and gain some more space. Once he was far, I used my new razor webs to slash him down. He avoided the attacks the best he could, but I was chipping him down bit by bit. The two of us exchanged attacks, blocking and slashing into each other each chance we had. It was anyone's game. We charged in to land our finishing blows, but suddenly a black hole ripped open beneath both Miguel and I. We fell into the darkness below, unknowing of the horrors that would await us. On days 47 through 50, I woke up inside of a massive white void with Miguel. There stood a strange man covered in black dots.
Ah, you're finally awake, my nemesis.
Your what?
I used to be a normal person, like you. But because of the reckless actions you took as heroes, I've been reduced to this terrible form. I'm going to eliminate every last Spider-Man from all dimensions.
You fool! You're destroying the multiverse as we know it! This ends now!
Miguel charged in full speed at the villain only for them to teleport before he could land a hit. He unleashed a crazy attack that left Miguel unable to move.
My name's The Spot. Remember it.
Miguel! I couldn't leave him for dead, but the Spot came for me next. I took out Gwen's blade and began to slash at the villain. I used all my strength and speed to try and catch him, but with his teleportation powers, he was too quick. I swung at nothing but air. I tried to pin him down with my webs, but he was too fast for those too. No matter what I did, I couldn't land a single hit. The Spot hit me with an attack so powerful it left me at half a heart.
Run, Max!
I swallowed my pride and did as I was told. I had to live another day if I hoped to save the rest of the multiverse. I opened a portal and rushed back to the base.
On days 51 through 54, I returned back to my base to find black holes had opened up all over the place. The spot is already attacking? I rushed inside to find that Gwen, Pav, and the other Spider-Man were all taking cover from the attack.
What's going on?
I explained to them about my encounter with the spot, his unbeatable power, and how Miguel was in trouble.
I've got an idea.
Gwen ran outside of the base and set up some Spider Society equipment. She didn't have much time, but luckily she was able to stabilize the space and close up the holes.
I won't hold forever. We better make a plan.
Together, we discussed what we were gonna do next, and decided that the spot was a bigger threat than Miguel. We would have to save him and put an end to the evil deeds of this new villain.
I think saving the guy that wants to kill you is a bit dumb.
We're heroes, and heroes help people. I'm sure he'll come around.
I already told ya, I don't use labels, mate.
Well, let's make an exception this time. In the meantime, I got to work on expanding the base for our new team member. I added a room for Pav that would remind him of home, including decor and colors that gave it that homey feel.
Wow, this is great, Max. Thanks a bunch.
I also added more red, blue, and cyan colors to my spider base to better represent my spider people. With that, my expansion was complete. Afterwards, I checked on Gwen, who was monitoring the Spider Society equipment.
These holes are going to reopen if you can't find me a quantum gem block for the machinery. Do you think you can find one for me?
You got it! On days 55 through 57, I began to search for the quantum gem that Gwen needed. Suddenly, my spider sense went off. I jumped back just as the black hole appeared in front of me. The Spot! Like clockwork, a horde of the Spot's goons appeared in the hole and charged towards me. They surrounded me with overwhelming numbers. I slowed them down by shooting my webs, making it easier for me to pick them off one by one. But they kept charging at me. They slashed with their shadowy claws, doing minimal damage. Unfortunately, my webs couldn't slow down the whole herd, so I flipped and dodged to keep my distance. I blasted them away with my guitar from Spider-Punk, using its powerful bass to blast them away. With them crowding me, I pulled out Gwen's sword and was able to slash most of the goons. As the pack was getting smaller, I gained more space to dwindle their numbers. Eventually, I managed to take out the swarm, and took this opportunity to find more intel. I jumped through the black hole and braced myself. When I arrived on the other side, I found Miguel trapped inside of a cage.
Help! This cage is rigged with TNT. If you can't save me before the time runs out, it'll explode.
Just then, a massive warden dragon came out to face me. I've never seen a mob like that before. The Spot must be pulling mobs from other dimensions to attack me.
Intruders will die.
The Warden Dragon Goon charged at me, ready to take me out. My opponent circled around me fast and struck me when I couldn't defend myself. I had to use my spider senses to counterattack his strikes. I used Gwen's sword to slash him down when he came close enough to attack. Its hulking fists rained down on me with immense force, slowly draining my health, but I was able to recover quickly to deal the same damage right back at it. Miguel watched from the sidelines, not able to help, so it was up to me to take down this monster using every spider power I knew. I fought with all of my might, but the monster was proven to be too powerful. I was running out of time. Miguel would be killed if I didn't act fast. I have an idea! I used my web swinging to pass the beast and quickly free Miguel from his cage.
Get back here!
Miguel and I ran away as the monster tailed slowly behind. Unfortunately for him, the TNT went off, causing him to fall in the explosion behind us. Miguel, I don't have much time. Do you know where I can find a quantum gem?
I saw some just south of here.
I thanked Miguel and had him set off towards the base while I continued my quest for the quantum gem. I was running out of time, so I didn't have a moment to waste. On days 58 through 61, I followed the direction Miguel pointed me in to find a cave full of ore. In the wall, I spotted the quantum gem waiting for me. Time to get digging. I took out my pickaxe and started to dig. However, just as I finished mining it from the wall, the gem shocked me. Ow! What a weird rock! Little did I know, I had started something terrible. My bracelet started to beep wildly until it abruptly stopped, and tons of portals opened all around me. Oh no, I think my bracelet is broken! Not knowing where the portals lead, I opened another portal for myself to take me back home. I arrived back just in the nick of time and handed the quantum gem over to Gwen.
We got here just in time. Great job.
Suddenly, my bracelet began to beat rapidly once again. It was on the fritz. Uh-oh. I couldn't control my bracelet anymore. I was teleported away to an unknown location. On days 62 through 64, I appeared inside some sort of western dimension. I tried to use my bracelet to head home, but it wasn't working anymore. I need to find a new bracelet, quick! I looked around and spotted a web slinger on his horse. I decided it was worth a shot asking him, "Hey, fellow Spider-Man? You wouldn't happen to have a multiversal bracelet I could use, would ya?"
You think you can just ask me for my bracelet after running away earlier?
Yes?
I'll only give you my bracelet if you can beat me in a standoff.
You're on! The two of us stood in an open area with our weapons ready. I waited in bated breath as he began to count down.
3, 2, 1.
Draw! We drew our web shooters and I fired mine first, winning me the standoff. Unfortunately, the rogue web spooked his beloved horse companion. The horse trotted off towards who knows where.
Hey, you scared my horse. Say bye to your prize.
What? But I won!
Nuh-uh, not without my horse you didn't. Bring her back now.
I was out of options, so I quickly ran and began to chase the horse as my only hope for the bracelet. I finally caught up with her as night fell, only to find that the horse was being attacked by a group of zombies. I couldn't let anything happen to the horse. I swung in and duked it out with the monsters. I had faced a lot of difficult foes up to this point, and I couldn't let a horde of zombies stop me. I used everything I had to take out each one by one. It seemed like the horde was never ending. For each one I killed, 2 more would arrive. I punched and sliced through their rotten flesh and pushed through their onslaught of attacks. The battle was tough, but I managed to save the horse from the swarm. Just then, Webslinger caught up to me.
I saw what you did for my girl. You're worthy of my bracelet.
He handed over the bracelet like we agreed, and I prepared to portal back to the base. On days 65 through 68, I arrived at the base where Miguel was waiting for me. Still think I'm a bad guy?
Thank you, and sorry for the trouble I've been causing. The spot is our main issue now, so let's work together.
You got yourself a deal! With Miguel now my ally, I decided to expand the base a bit more. I started by making a lab for researching and creating more multiverse tech. We now had access to all the tools Miguel had to offer. After that, I added an underground room for Miguel that was full of all kinds of gadgets he could use to watch over the multiverse. Finally, I added a meeting room for all of the spiders on my team to discuss plans on how we can defeat our new enemy, Spot. With that, my expansion was completed. It's meeting time! I gathered my whole team together and we sat around ready to listen to Miguel's briefing.
First, I'd like to say sorry for almost killing all of you. I'm a good guy, I promise.
Whatever, mate. It's in the past. Tell us how we're gonna beat this Dalmatian guy.
The Spot's black holes are already appearing all over the multiverse. Our best course of action will be to stop these disturbances and gather more Spider-Men for the team.
Everyone agreed with Miguel and he told me the coordinates of the first multiverse disturbance.
Be careful. The Spot is stronger than anything any of us have faced before.
I didn't have a moment to waste. I hopped into the portal and went to my first destination unaware of the horrors that awaited me. On days 69 through 72, I arrived inside of a cartoony dimension. Everything looked like a 2D drawing, but something was horribly wrong. It was full of black holes. In the distance, I spotted a giant hamburger monster crawling out one of the openings.
Oh no you don't.
Out of nowhere, a spider pig jumped into the fray. That could be a new teammate. I better help. I followed after the pig and began to battle it out with a massive burger. Although it was just a sentient piece of meat, its giant size protected it from a variety of my attacks. I tried to blast the burger off of me using Hobie's guitar, but the monster continued to fight me like it was nothing. I would have to take it on up close whether I liked it or not. I took out Gwen's blade and began to slice down the burger to size. Meanwhile, Spider-Ham tried to plant the monster in place with his webs. It was a difficult battle, but between the two of us, we gradually gained the upper hand. Without our forces combined, me and Spider-Ham managed to take down the oversized sandwich.
Thanks. Which Spider-Man are you again?
I'm Max.
Yeah, I never heard of you.
Suddenly, we heard a loud roar coming from behind us. We turned around and realized tons of burgers had emerged from the black holes. There were too many for us to take on alone. We have to run! On days 73 through 75, Spider-Ham and I fled back to the base to take refuge.
My home. It's being destroyed, and I can't do anything to stop it.
I'm sorry. We'll definitely go back. I just need time to make a better plan. Just then, Miles walked up to us.
I think I can help you out. Come with me, Max.
I followed Miles until the two of us arrived at a training ground. The place looked intense, and dark clouds were beginning to gather in the sky. The weather doesn't look good. Are you sure it's okay to be out here?
Definitely. Now, let's get started. Put this on.
Miles tossed over some iron armor. What? That'll attract the lightning to me!
Exactly. Trust me.
I thought Miles might have gone crazy, but I did what he said anyways. Once I was fully equipped with armor, thunder began to strike in the distance. I have a bad feeling about this. Just like I had predicted, lightning came down from the sky and zapped me hard. I was left with low health, but I had gained 5 more hearts and a new electric ability. Whoa, that actually worked! Thanks, Miles!
No problem. Oh, and for the finishing touches...
I removed my iron armor as Miles took out a can of spray paint. He began to spray my suit with a brand new palette to give myself my very own Spider-Man identity. My suit was now a signature orange and purple. Time to save Spider-Ham's home. On days 76 through 79, I returned with Spider-Ham to his dimension to find it festering with burger monsters. Unfortunately for them, with my new lighting powers, I was ready now for anything. It's lunchtime! We engaged in combat with the army of burgers. They were just as insanely powerful as the first monster, but now I was up against an army. Luckily, my training had made me much stronger. Thanks to my new hearts, I was able to take more attacks while dishing out damage of my own. The horde of monsters all tried to devour me, but I used my new electric venom to zap them off of me. I honed in my strength and electrocuted the army en masse. The burgers fried and fell one by one. Thanks to my training with Miles, I was able to take down every last one of the intruders. With the burgers now defeated, the black holes closed up.
Thank you so much for saving my home. Take this as a gift.
Spider-Ham tossed over a cartoonish hammer.
Consider me an ally.
Thanks, Ham! Before we could celebrate, the horrible Spot appeared out of nowhere.
You think that charade is enough to defeat me? Come on! Take this!
Spot teleported into the fray, but Spider-Ham started to fight him off. When he had a chance, he ripped open a new portal for me.
I'll hold him off. Go through this portal and meet my friend. He should be able to help you.
I did as I was told and fell through the portal into an unknown dimension. On days 80 through 83, I arrived inside of a black and white dimension. In front of me was loads of police tape. I was at the scene of a murder. What happened here?
Just who are you, fella?
Out of the shadows, a Spider-Man in a black suit emerged before me. He quickly shot me down with his webs, making me unable to move. Uh-oh. Before I knew it, he had me sitting with him inside of an interrogation room.
I'm Spider Noir, private detective. I'll ask again. Who are you?
I'm Max?
Wrong answer. Tell me why you were at the scene of the crime.
It's a long story.
Actually, save your breath. I know why you were there. You're the killer.
What? No! I'm a Spider-Man like you! I'd never kill anyone innocent!
I don't believe you. You bought a cheap costume so you could trick me. I'm ending this now.
Things were going south quickly, but I suddenly remembered I had something to prove my innocence. I put the hammer Spider-Ham gave me on the table. Your friend Spider-Ham gave me this. You have to believe me.
That is definitely his hammer. You could tell by the cartoony shape of it. You're right. I'm sorry. But if it wasn't you, then who was responsible for the murder?
Suddenly, we spotted someone run by the window.
After them! Now!
On days 84 through 86, Noir and I pursued the mysterious suspect. They were quick on their feet, and something told me they weren't your typical civilian. Regardless, we were ready to take on whoever it was. Noir and I cornered the villain, only to discover it was none other than Venom.
What's this to Spider-Man?
That's right. Now tell us, were you responsible for the murder scene?
That was just the leftovers of our dinner. But now it's time for dessert.
Venom charged at us, ready to make us his latest meal. He smashed his massive fist into the ground and caused the concrete to fly around us. I knew that even though both Noir and myself were fighting him, he still had enough strength to take us both down if we weren't careful. He hit us one after the other with his powerful attacks, and there wasn't enough space to evade in the alleyway. I lured the symbiote out towards the main street to give us more footing, and continued fighting in the open. I shot him down with my webs to try and keep him from running and used all of my powers to deal loads of damage. He would break free from our web traps, but Noir and I kept doing everything we could to hold him down. The battle was tough, but we were slowly getting an edge. Between the power of Noir and I, we managed to take out the oversized symbiote. Upon his death, he dropped the mysterious letter. I've almost retrieved the void gem that the Spot asked me to find. Once I get it, his plans will be completed and all Spider-Men will be eliminated from the multiverse. This is horrible! We have to find that void gem before the Spot can!
This sounds serious. Let me help you in your fight to take this guy down.
We'd be happy to have you. Noir officially joined my team, and the two of us hurried back to the base to fill in the other Spideys. On days 87 through 89, I returned to the base and called a meeting with all of our team members. To my surprise, Spider-Ham was there too. You made it back safe!
Don't underestimate me. That Spot guy got away though. We have to do something.
Yeah, about that. I quickly filled in the team on the letter that Noir and I discovered and the Spot's plans to eliminate all Spider-Men with the use of a void gem.
Did you say void gem? The artifact is incredibly powerful. We have to find it first.
Any ideas?
With all of the gear at this base, I'm sure I can find it, but I'll need some time.
You got it! Since I had to wait, I started to work on an expansion for the Spider base.
I made a room for Spider-Ham, being sure to add plenty of cartoony elements to make the little guy feel at home. Finally, I made a room for Spider-Noir completely out of black and white blocks. It was like he was in his own dimension. Once I finished the room, my expansion was complete. Time to check on Miguel. I returned to Miguel's room and asked him for a status update.
I'm still working on finding it, but I did notice another disturbance. Could you handle that in the meantime?
You got it! On days 90 through 92, I arrived in the dimension that Miguel asked me to investigate to find a city in ruin. After some investigating, I discovered that it was being destroyed by none other than Carnage Max. Wait, aren't you me? It's kind of a long story. Could you stop doing that, bud? Yeah, sure, as long as whoever's watching subscribes to the channel. Thanks, man. My Carnage counterpart stopped its attack, so I portaled back to the base to see if the preparations were finally complete. On days 93 through 95, I returned to the base and reported back to the team.
How was the mission?
It was kinda weird, but I figured it out. Suddenly, I heard a loud strum of a guitar that caused the whole base to tremble. What was that? I rushed to the source of the music to find Hobie shredding away on his guitar. It was amplified stronger than anything I had heard before. Once he spotted me in his room, he stopped playing so we could chat. That was incredible! How'd you do that?
Oh, it was a little trick I picked up. Let me show ya.
I practiced my guitar skills with Hobie, and after a while, my guitar skills grew even stronger than before. Whoa! This'll definitely help us take out the spot. Thanks! Just then, Miguel entered the room.
I finally have the coordinates of the Void Gem, but be careful. It's in a dimension unlike anything I've ever heard of before.
I'm up for the challenge! I gathered all of my strength and set off towards the unknown dimension. I had a sinking feeling that my hardest challenge was just ahead. On days 96 through 98, I arrived at the dimension to find that it was a massive dark void. Nothing was around me. It was completely lifeless. What kind of place is this?
You shouldn't be here.
I turned towards the source of the sound to find another prowler had emerged from the darkness. Another prowler? What's going on?
Let's make this quick.
Suddenly, the prowler pounced onto me with tremendous force. He used his sharp claws to slice my health down little by little. I retaliated with every weapon I held in my arsenal. Utilizing my guitar, I sent shockwaves in the prowler's direction, but he wasn't stopping. He continued forward, stepping past some of my attacks. I bombarded him with my electric venom, shocking every bone in his body. Nothing I was using was working. He saw past every move I made like he knew what I was gonna do next. I had no choice but to pull out all the stops, even trying hand-to-hand combat. But with his deadly claws at the ready, that wasn't looking like a great idea. He even managed to deal the brunt force of Spider-Man's hammer. He was too strong. I fought with all of my might, but the prowler managed to knock me down to very low health.
This is the end for you.
On day 99, I was at death's door when another portal ripped open before me. To my surprise, Miles jumped through.
I'm here, Max. Wait, Uncle Aaron? No. I'm your worst nightmare.
The prowler changed his suit, revealing that he wasn't who we thought he was. He was Miles from another dimension.
Let's see who the stronger Miles Morales is.
He turned his sights on my ally and the two began to fight. It was good Miles versus his evil counterpart. The prowler was armed with his clawed gloves, but Miles only had fists. The fight looked like it was gonna be one-sided, but I could tell that Miles had the resolve to push through. He punched through the prowler as fast as lightning and electrified him with his electric venom. The prowler was fast and managed to dodge some of his attacks, but he couldn't escape all of them. Unfortunately, he was able to dig his claws into Miles too for massive damage. The two went back and forth, neither side giving in. It looked like either of them could fall at any moment. Even so, Miles kept fighting with all of his might. The battle was fierce, but in the end, my Miles managed to pull through. He overpowered the prowler and took him down once and for all. Miles, are you okay?
Yeah, but I can't move on with you. Take this. Get the Void Gem. You're our last hope.
Miles handed me the potion of healing, which would turn me back to full health. Thanks to him, I was able to keep moving deeper into the void. I had to end this before it was too late. On day 100, I walked deeper into the void until I finally spotted the Void Gem on a pedestal. There it is! Suddenly, the spot appeared out of nowhere in front of the pedestal.
Shame that my minions couldn't stop you. Would have been easier for you to die that way. But I guess it was always meant to be this way. Looks like I'll have to take this on myself.
Out of my way!
You're not getting that! It was now or never. I had to take down the spot before he could complete his master plan. Just like our previous encounter, he was able to teleport around rapidly, making it hard to get a hit on him. All the while, he would get in close and punch me for heavy damage. I tried to use my webs to pin him into place, but he managed to teleport out of my traps before I could land any real damage. He was faster and more fierce than anyone else I had faced this far, but I didn't get all the way here just to fail. I used my spidey sense to predict the spot's movements and finally managed to land attacks back. I had a wide arsenal of weapons to use on him now. I cycled between Hobie's guitar, Gwen's blade, Miles' electric venom, and Ham's hammer to deal damage into my foe. We went back and forth, trading hit after hit. I was getting closer and closer to defeat, but I could tell the spot was getting weaker too. I held on for the fate of the multiverse and all of my spider friends I'd made along the way. I mustered up all of my strength and landed one final blow. The spot fell to my power and I took him down once and for all. I did it! Suddenly, I felt myself drift from this reality to the next. A little girl's voice called out to me. On day 1, I was walking with my daughter Cassie.
I love you, Daddy.
I love you too, sweetie. I'll always be by your side. Suddenly, King the Conqueror appeared before us.
You broke our deal, Max, so now you'll pay the price.
Deal? What deal? The world around us began to change, and new builds appeared out of nowhere. What's going on?
Timelines are already beginning to merge. Now for one more thing.
Just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, Cassie was teleported next to Kang.
Dad, help me!
Good luck finding us in the quantum realm.
I rushed in to save her, but Kang vanished, leaving behind Mysterio in his place.
I don't know how I got here, but an Ant-Man in any timeline is bad news.
Out of my way! I put on my mask and rushed into battle. As Ant-Man, I had the power to shrink to microscopic size. I tried as hard as I could to grow, but I wasn't strong enough yet. Small would have to do for now. I did my best to dodge Mysterio's fire magic, but he was still able to get a few hits on me due to its spreading capabilities. Even so, he was having a hard time hitting me with my small size. I was able to get in close and land powerful melee attacks that started to become too much for him. Thanks to my powers, I was able to take down Mysterio. I have to find the quantum realm, but how? On day 2, I explored the overworld for clues on how to get to the quantum realm. During my travels, I found Spider-Man fighting another Spider-Man. What the? The two Spideys were very skilled fighters and were taking care of this face-to-face with their fists. They both shot webs at each other and tried to evade attacks with their athleticism. Despite their differences in appearance, I could tell they were both evenly matched. The longer the fight continued, I noticed this wasn't going too far, so I rushed in to break up the fight. Alright, break it up!
This spider lady is an imposter.
I don't even know how I got here.
This must be because Kang is merging the timelines.
Whoa, wait a sec. Yeah, I've read about this before. If you're serious, and this timeline is about to be visited by all of the craziest superheroes and supervillains the multiverse has ever seen.
Wow, if I was the audience, I would want to watch until the end to see who they all are. With things resolved, I asked if the two of them wanted to join my team.
Sure, I'm Gwen, by the way.
And I'm Miles.
Sweet! I'm Max. On day 3, I started exploring for a place to build my base. I found a good spot and left the two Spideys there while I gathered materials. On the way, I ran into a little ant. Hey, my name's Max. You're so cute.
Thanks.
Whoa, you can understand me?
I guess so.
Well, I guess it's an Ant-Man thing. I wonder if I could build an Ant-Man army one day. The ant and I parted ways, and I started punching some trees for wood and used my new materials to craft a pickaxe. Next, I mined for some stone and used that to make some stone tools. Once I had enough materials, I returned home and got to work on a simple structure. I made sure there were 3 rooms, so each of us had our own and added a crafting bench and furnace. Not a bad start. All of that building had really worked up an appetite, so I went to search for some food. During my travels, I spotted a creeper picking on Doctor Strange. Leave him alone! I sprang into battle and took out the creeper lickety-split. Are you okay?
Foolish little hero. Thanks for saving me. Now, I'll be able to take over the world.
What? At that moment, I realized that this was a Doctor Strange from a different timeline. He attacked me with all of the incredible powers of a sorcerer. He was able to do a variety of magical attacks on me, dwindling my health down from afar. I used my shrinking powers to get in close and slash him down with my stone sword. At my small size, it was hard to hit me, so I was able to evade most of his projectiles. Hey Max Craftians, like the video please? Oh, and watch me slam dunk on this fool. Yeah! It was difficult, but I managed to defeat the Dark Mage. Upon his death, he dropped some food as well as a strange map titled Dr. Pym. Pym! He made my super suit, so maybe he can help me find the quantum realm. With my new lead, I followed the map, unaware of the disaster that awaited me. On days 4 through 7, I arrived at Dr. Pym's laboratory only to find that it was engulfed in flames. What the? I rushed inside the facility to find the Wasp fighting off a group of spider pigs. I quickly charged in to lend her a hand. The spider pigs had us in numbers and trapped us to the ground in their sticky webs. I used my shrieking powers to avoid getting hit by their attacks while landing powerful blows of my own. The Wasp wasn't too bad either. She was an incredibly skilled hero with wings to boot. Between the two of us, we managed to take down every last baddie.
I recognize that tech anywhere. How'd you get my dad's suit?
I kinda stole it.
You what?
It's a long story.
Did you kidnap my father?
No, absolutely not. In a fit of rage, the Wasp began attacking me. What the? The two of us duked it out fist to fist. I tried to shrink down and give her the one-up, but to my surprise, she was able to shrink too. We had a mini battle of epic proportions. I switched to my stone sword to try and dish out more damage, but she was tougher than the other foes I had faced thus far. We brawled to the best of our abilities, but she was too strong. I was beginning to lose. Ah! Truce! Truce!
I find it hard to believe my dad would have been kidnapped by a wimp like you.
That's what I've been trying to tell you. Your dad wanted me to steal it. It's complicated.
Then where did my dad go?
I don't know, but I'd like to help you find him. On days 8 through 11, the Wasp and I continued to search for Dr. Pym. As we headed deeper into the lab, we discovered a secret trapdoor. Weird. The two of us went down the ladder into the underground. All around us were sprawling tunnels like a maze.
What in the world?
Did your dad build this?
No way. This has to be the work of someone else.
Well, I'm guessing your dad is at the end of it, so let's move. The Wasp and I split up and began to navigate the labyrinth. The place was full of twists and turns and even traps to boot. I better be careful. I misstepped and set off a pressure plate trap. Thankfully, I was able to shrink down and avoid the arrows. Sheesh, who set this up? I continued onwards, taking care not to hit any more pressure plates or tripwires. Finally, I reached the end of the maze to find Dr. Pym. Unfortunately, Nightcrawler also stood waiting. Man, the multiverse is really acting up. Nightcrawler attacked. He was strong and attacked with a flurry of moves to put me in my place. Strength wasn't his only pro. He was also incredibly athletic. He could jump great heights to evade my attacks while using his teleportation abilities to trip me up even further. I used my suit to try and evade his onslaught while bringing on one of my own, but I was beginning to fall behind.
Grow large!
What? I can do that?
Yes, of course. Concentrate, and you should be able to increase in mass and punching power.
I did what he said and was able to grow a little larger than a normal human. It wasn't much, but it was just the advantage I needed to take down the blue mutant. Once that was over, I freed the doctor from his prison. Are you okay, Dr. Pym?
Call me Hank. Thanks to you, I am. Let's get out of here.
On days 12 through 14, I headed back to the base with Dr. Pym and the Wasp. So let me get this straight. Kang put you inside that maze?
Yes. He's got an odd sense of humor and thought no one would be able to solve it.
It honestly wasn't that hard.
He's also arrogant, thinks he's smarter than he is. He's more powerful than we think he is, though, so we need to stop him as soon as we can.
What do you need?
A new lab.
Okay, I'll get right to work. I built a tunnel beneath the base and started carving out a large underground area. After a lot of digging, I finally had a large rectangular room, as well as cobblestone, coal, and iron. This could be useful later. Next, I got to work on populating the lab with new items. I used a variety of different blocks Dr. Pym gave me to fill the place up until it was a functional lab. Finally, I added a small bedroom to the corner for the doctor to sleep. After a lot of work, Pym Labs 2.0 was complete. You like it, Dr. Pym?
It'll do.
Aw, man! On days 15 through 18, I stepped outside to find that the world was warping again. The blocks around me were changing and at a more rapid pace than before. This is insane! Suddenly, a block beneath me transformed into a lava pit. Ah! Before I could fall to my death, the Wasp swooped in and saved me. I wish my suit had wings. The Wasp lowered me back to the ground. Thank you so much.
Don't mention it.
She flew off, and Hank ran outside.
Mercy!
What do we do, Dr. Pym?
We need to get to the quantum realm and stop Kang. But the only way to do that is with a quantum tunnel.
I built you a lab. Can you use that?
Well, to build a quantum tunnel, I'm going to need a lot of brain power. I need the help of other talented scientists like Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, Mr. Fantastic, Dr. Otto Octavius, and more.
Dr. Pym left to return to his lab, and an alternate version of Tony Stark appeared before me. That's convenient. Excuse me, Mr. Stark?
What's that tech you're wearing? I'm gonna take it for myself so I can create the ultimate super weapon.
Uh-oh. The evil Tony attacked me with everything he had. He was able to fly and shoot a powerful beam from his arc reactor. To make me a harder target, I shrank down and began to evade his attacks. He rained satellite missiles from above to throw me off, but I still managed to avoid them and pummel him down up close. After a long battle, I managed to take him down. Okay, I have to make sure I'm not talking to the evil alternate versions. Noted. On day 19, I was getting ready to sleep for the night.
Good night, Dad. I love you.
I love you too, sweetie.
I miss Cassie so much. Hang in there, sweetie. All of us went to bed for the night, when suddenly I had a dream. I was standing in a mysterious realm that was shrouded in fog. There were strange colored blocks floating all around me. Where am I? And why is it so familiar? Just then, I spotted Cassie running through the mist. Cassie, come back! I tailed behind her, trying to catch up, but she was always just a bit ahead. Eventually, she turned a corner and vanished, leaving only Kang in her place. You give me back my daughter!
Remember our deal, Max.
Suddenly, I woke up in a cold sweat. Was that the quantum realm? But I've never been there. Why do I recognize it? On days 20 through 24, Dr. Pym told me to seek out the first scientists on my mission. Time to look for Mr. Fantastic. I traveled far and wide, eventually coming into a desert. As I traveled, the TVA teleported in front of me. Whoa! Who are you?
You're violating the sacred timeline. Come with me, sir.
Sacred timeline? I think you're looking for Kang the Conqueror, not me.
Are you Ant-Man?
Yeah?
Then you're coming with us.
I have more important things to do. I began to walk away when they suddenly shouted.
He's resisting! Take him down!
Huh? They hit me on the head and everything went dark. On days 25 through 29, I woke up trapped inside the TVA. Where am I? This place is whack! Just then, I realized my suit was missing. There was no way to escape. Before I could call for help, a strange man walked into the room. You have to let me go. The fate of the entire multiverse is at stake.
Something's been off at the TVA for a while. Okay, I'll help you. You have to find a suit and escape yourself.
You got a deal. My name's Max, by the way.
I'm Mobius. Good luck.
Mobius let me go, and I went on my way. I began to sneak around the TVA to look for a way to escape. I went through hall after hall, but the place was never ending. Come out, wherever you are, suit! Just then, I spotted a TVA employee wearing my suit. Whee! Hey, that's mine! Ah, much better. I pressed on until I found another TVA agent with a strange remote. Hey, I think that's how they travel the multiverse. I grew big and charged in to claim the remote for myself. We started whacking each other with our swords, but his hits were too strong for me. I shrank down small so he couldn't hit me, and kept on swinging my sword. Eventually, I started wearing him down and grew big again to finish him off. With one final blow, the agent went down and I got the remote. Here goes nothing. I used the remote and teleported away. On days 30 to 33, I was teleported back to the base. Wow, what are the odds?
0.0005. You got beyond lucky, Max.
I turned around and spotted Mobius. I can't thank you enough. How can I repay you for getting me out of there?
Let me stay here. The TVA is bad news. I want to save the multiverse, but not their way.
You got a deal. I got to work on a room for Mobius, making sure it had a bit of TVA charm to make him feel at home. Next, I expanded the base more in general so there was plenty of space for any future recruits. Once the base was well expanded, I decided to go hunting for some more food. On my way out, I almost fell into the lava pit. Whoa, this is still here? I gotta fill it in. I filled in the lava hole, and then went out to kill some sheep and pigs for their meat and wool. Afterwards, I cooked the mutton and pork chops and placed them into a chest. Looks like we don't have to worry about food for now. It was time to continue my search for heroes, but Hank ran into the doorway.
I'm getting crazy seismic readings.
On days 34 through 37, Hank and I spotted a dimension portal opening up nearby.
We're colliding with another dimension. Be very cautious. Who knows what's on the other side?
Just then, Dr. Doom appeared in front of the portal. He looked a bit different though. Dr. Doom?
You must be the fool altering my dimension. Prepare to die.
No, it's not me! Before I could contest, Dr. Doom attacked me. He shot at me with some crazy magical attack that did a ton of damage. I did my best to get in close and attack with my sword, but I knew at this rate I'd lose too much health. I shrunk down to avoid his magical blasts and continued my onslaught. Dr. Doom didn't let up and continued to shoot his powerful attacks at me. Looks like I have to bring out the big guns.
I grew a bit bigger and went in with more power than before. I slashed and slashed with my sword until it was on the verge of breaking. I fought as hard as I could, but it was no use. He was too powerful. Please, I'm not the one responsible for this. When I thought I was finished, Mobius arrived.
TVA agent here. Everything he said is true.
Mobius explained the entire situation to Dr. Doom and told him the real villain here was Kang.
Really? I'm the good guy in my universe, and you're the bad guy.
Me?
I'll help you, but only if you can go to my dimension and gather my equipment. But be warned, many people will see you as a threat there.
Don't worry, I got this.
Very well. It's just through that portal. Oh, and take this. You're gonna need it.
Dr. Doom tossed over a molten sword. Sweet! I won't let you down. I hopped through and braced myself for what was coming next. On days 38 through 41, I spotted Dr. Doom's lab on the other side of the portal. Perfect! This'll be easy peasy. As I was about to enter the lab, I was stopped by the Fantastic Four.
Didn't we tell you to stop coming around Victor's lab, Scott?
Scott? My name's Max. Wait, Ant-Man is evil in this dimension.
Real funny, Scott. Hey, Ben, you want to crack at the Ant-Man this time?
It would be my pleasure.
Uh-oh. The other heroes left, leaving me alone with the Thing. The Thing roared and sent chunks of sand flying at me as he pounded the ground with his fists. I dodged, but the shrapnel still managed to get a few hits in. I figured it was a good time to try out the new molten sword Dr. Doom gave me. I hit the Thing with it and it caught him on fire. Whoa, that's sweet! The fire didn't stop the Thing though, and he continued his attack. I tried to fight back, but I didn't want to kill a hero. He then jumped into the air and landed with a heavy thud, hitting me with a strong shockwave. I decided to shrink myself, causing the Thing to become confused as he had a hard time seeing me. I used the advantage to get some better hits on him with my sword as he attacked the air where he thought I was. He started to weaken and I grew again, still dodging his hits. You got the wrong guy! Suddenly, the evil Ant-Man made his appearance.
There are two of you? Don't lump me with that goody-goody. I'm pure evil.
See? He said it himself! Help me take him down!
Let's do it!
Evil Ant-Man flew down and we began to fight him. I slashed at him with my sword and he used his armored fist to fight back. The Thing hit him as well, but Evil Ant-Man managed to dodge and continued hitting us both. The Thing tried to help, but he was too weak from our previous battle. He was forced to retreat, leaving me alone with Evil Ant-Man.
Let's have some fun.
Yeah, why not? Evil Ant-Man and I shrunk down and continued our brawl. We sped around each other, making our hits more difficult to land. Luckily for me, my molten sword had better reach, even with our speed. We grew again and he tried to block as I swung at him. The flames from my sword broke through his defenses and I caught him off guard. With one final blow, I managed to take down the evil Ant-Man. I went ahead and took his suit, which gave me a flight upgrade and 3 more hearts. Time to get that equipment. On days 42 through 45, I headed into the lab. Finally! Time to get moving! I gathered all the equipment Dr. Doom would need. As I was about to leave, Mr. Fantastic walked inside. You're not gonna kill me, are you?
The Thing told me everything. I'll help with this multiversal problem too.
Cool! Follow me! I returned to the base with Mr. Fantastic and gave Dr. Doom his materials.
We'll get to work right away. Come back in a bit.
While they worked, I decided it was time to expand the base some more. I used the wool I had to make sure each room was color coordinated for their respective hero.
Sunflower's a nice touch.
I figured you'd like it. I also worked on a garden outside the base so all of my lovely ant friends could enjoy too. Afterwards, I went mining where I gathered plenty of iron and coal. I went home and smelted the iron into ingots and crafted myself some iron tools. Better late than never. Once I was finished, I returned to the lab to find that the quantum tunnel was halfway done. It's looking good, guys. We're halfway there to saving my daughter and the whole multiverse.
I'm afraid that's all the help we can offer. We will be returning to our timeline. Good luck.
The two scientists prepared to leave, and I decided it was time to get some rest. On day 46, I was having another dream of the quantum realm. I'm here again? Just like before, Cassie emerged behind me sobbing.
Why did you put me in danger, Daddy? Why did you make a deal with Kang?
I don't remember! Why did I make a deal? Suddenly, I was transported back inside of my old home. There were lights flashing and cops standing outside my window.
Open up, convict. It's over.
No, please! I have to stay here with my daughter. Out of nowhere, Kang appeared.
I can help you now. I can clear you of your past.
What do I have to do?
All you have to do is offer me your loyalty.
Done! With our agreement made, the lights returned to normal and the cop vanished along with Kang. Is it over?
Daddy!
Cassie ran through the door happily to me. Everything was okay. Just then, I woke up. I made a deal with Kang to clear my criminal history? But why did I break it? Before I had time to think, Mobius ran into the room.
Come quick, there's 2 green monsters fighting nearby.
That must be Bruce Banner in another version of the Hulk. I gotta go. On days 47 through 50, I traveled to find the Hulks Mobius had told me about. With my new wings, it would be a piece of cake. Woohoo! This suit rocks! I spotted the 2 in the distance, but they weren't fighting. Oddly enough, they were actually arguing with each other.
Hulk not bad, Hulk big boned, Smart Hulk fat.
The normal Hulk looked infuriated and began attacking Smart Hulk. With 2 Hulks in the area, someone was definitely going to get hurt. I rushed in to stop the situation from getting any worse. Hey big guy, you better chill out, or else.
Hulk smash!
Alright, I warned ya. I immediately shrunk down and began wailing on him. It was easy to evade his punches with my small size. The Hulk blindly tried to attack me, but he was only wearing himself out. Bzzz, you can't catch me! Gradually, his attacks became slower and eventually he tired himself out. Looks like I won this fight. The Hulk finally reverted back to his human self. I know this is kinda sudden, but would you be up for helping me with the quantum tunnel? They both looked at me and agreed, so I tossed them a map to the base. Suddenly, the wasp flew up to me.
There you are, I've been looking all over for you. It's time for you to start training.
On days 51 through 53, I was taken to a training area with the wasp.
To see where you're at, you're going to fight me. Give it all you got.
We started fighting right away. I slashed her with my sword and she punched and dodged. I set her on fire and she rolled to try and put out the flames. After a little bit of punching and slashing, I took to the skies and she followed. We flew around each other, and I got several good hits in as I flew past. After we landed, I grew and knocked her down even more. I thought for sure that I would win with my growing ability. However, despite all of my efforts, the wasp suddenly grew giant and put me in my place. I knew you could grow, but you can grow that big?
Yep, I'll show you how.
For the first lesson, the wasp had me take to the skies and fly through an aerial obstacle course. I dodged and weaved, doing my best to make it through each hoop. Next, I was put over a pit of boiling lava and told to jump from platform to platform. I did my best to clear each jump, being careful not to slip. Finally, it was time for the 3rd lesson, shrinking and growing.
You're going to shrink and grow repeatedly to build some stamina. This is just what you need to grow big.
If you say so. I grew and shrank repeatedly, trying my best to build as much stamina as possible. Almost there! Suddenly, my suit malfunctioned and I wasn't able to grow. Ah! I'm stuck small!
Whoops! Stay there, I'll get some help.
The wasp flew off, leaving me all alone. I better stay put. I'm really vulnerable. Just then, a tarantula hawk emerged out of nowhere. Uh-oh. Ah! I took off running as the tarantula hawk chased me as fast as it could. I eventually shook it off when a horrible feeling of dread came over me. Am I lost? On days 54 through 57, I was lost as a tiny Ant-Man. I tried everything to find a way home, but with my suit on the fritz, using my wings was impossible. What am I gonna do? Just then, an ant walked up to me.
Please, you have to help! Our colony is being terrorized by spiders!
Take me there! The ant took me inside of an anthill, and sure enough, it was crawling with spiders. Time to get to work. I slashed my way through the hordes of bugs until finally reaching the center of the anthill. There, the queen spider stood waiting.
Well, looks like my meal has arrived.
More like your worst nightmare. The spider rushed in at me with great speed. Thanks to her 8 legs, she was able to quickly evade my attacks. All the while, she shot webs at me from afar to try and overwhelm me. I had to calculate each move carefully if I wanted to land a hit. I managed to slice her down with my molten sword, dealing burn damage each chance I got. Little by little, I took her health down, and things were starting to go in my favor. With one more blow, the Spider Queen was slain once and for all.
He did it! All hail the new queen!
Actually, I'm a boy.
All hail Queen Max!
Queen Max?
I turned around and realized the wasp had shrunken down to look for me. I think it's time to go. The 2 of us left the colony, and the wasp quickly repaired my suit.
Try to grow giant now.
Here goes nothing. I harnessed all of my training and grew bigger than I ever had before. Wow, that training really worked. Before I could celebrate, Miles ran over in a panic.
A strange city just appeared. Come quick.
On days 58 through 60, Miles and I arrived at the city.
Be careful going inside.
What do you mean? There's nothing to worry about. I took a step in and suddenly everything turned black and white. What the heck? I felt uneasy, but I pressed on deeper into the city. I didn't know where I was headed, but I was about to face something unlike anything I had faced before. As I was walking, clouds formed above me. I looked up and spotted him. On top of the buildings was none other than Spider-Man Noir.
Looks like we have a trespasser.
He jumped down from above and began to attack me. I pulled out my sword and readied myself. Spider-Man Noir came at me and started throwing punches. I managed to block him just in time. He stepped back and started shooting webs at me, freezing me in place. I did my best to struggle out of the webs and then flew up before he could pin me down again. He grappled up the side of the building with his web shooting and I followed him up to the top. We continued fighting on the building. I shrank down and buzzed around him. He couldn't keep up with me and was punching and shooting webs at the sky in vain. He jumped to another building while still trying to spot me and I got in several hits with my sword. He was persistent and kept punching me despite being caught on fire. It was difficult, but I managed to take the hero down. What was that for?
I'm defending this place from anyone who comes here. They could be working for Dr. Octavius.
He's here? Out of nowhere, Doc Ock made his appearance. On days 61 through 63, I was face to face with Doc Ock. This is perfect! I need your help to make the quantum tunnel.
Why would I help a goody-goody like you?
Great. This one is evil. The Doc jumped into his mech and had a battle of epic proportions. Spider-Man was too wounded to help me in battle, so I was on my own. He shot at me with grenades and I avoided him the best I could, but I was on top of a narrow bridge. He pushed me down the bridge until I was forced down onto the ground. He was too powerful, and I couldn't hang on for much longer when suddenly I heard a voice.
For the Queen!
Huzzah!
My ant army swarmed the city and went after Doc Ock with everything they had. They ran into the doctor, cornering him next to a building. They may have been small, but they were mighty. Doc Ock and his mech didn't stand a chance against the swarm of pincers.
Ah, I surrender, I surrender.
With my new allies, we were able to take down the vicious scientist.
Please spare me.
If you help me take down Kang, then I'll consider it.
Wait, did you say Kang? I hate you, but in my timeline, we hate Kang the Conqueror even more. You got yourself a deal.
Just then, Spider-Man Noir walked up.
Thanks for the help. I'd love to join your cause.
The more the merrier. On days 64 through 67, I returned home with Spider-Man Noir and Doc Ock.
There's another one? How many Spider-Men are there?
I know, right? One is enough of a nightmare.
Doc Ock left to help out Dr. Pym, so I decided it was time to make room for the newest member of the team. I built Spider-Man Noir his own room, taking extra care to use black, gray, and white blocks so he felt more at home. Next, I got to work on a proper anthill for my ant army to come and go as they pleased. Things have been much more lively around here. With my expansion complete, I returned to Dr. Pym to see how things were going. Thanks to all the help he's gotten, the quantum tunnel was even further along. I got you another scientist. Do you think this will be finished soon?
Yes, but I still need some more manpower.
Suddenly, the machines in the lab began to beep wildly. What's happening? I rushed outside to find the world was shifting again. Blocks were changing rapidly until they suddenly stopped. Is it over? Just then, a massive robot fell from the sky.
Eliminate!
I charged and set it ablaze with my sword. It retaliated with a shockwave. I flew up and dodged as it shot down beams from the sky. I darted around and avoided the blast to the best of my ability. Getting a good hit was difficult with the robot's ranged attacks, so I grew to my larger size. Now, I could strike it much easier and stomp through its shockwaves. The robot kept trying to shoot me, but I managed to fly past the lasers and hit it again and again. With one final blow, the robot was defeated. Upon its death, it dropped a map titled The Professor and a Firefly weapon that shot projectiles. Could this lead to Professor X? I have to find out. On days 68 through 70, I knew the journey ahead would be rough, so I decided to get some shut-eye before leaving. I fell into another dream where I was once again in the mysterious quantum realm. This again? I looked around and spotted a doorway I had never seen before. What's through there? Before I could walk through, another version of me walked by. What the? Where does he think he's going? I left the door for now and followed my clone until he arrived at a clearing where Kang was. I could tell this was a vision from my past. I hid and spied on them while they talked.
You remember our little deal, don't you? You promised your loyalty.
Of course I do, but this is too far.
It doesn't matter what you think. You cannot tell the other heroes of my plans.
If I don't, then you'll merge all the timelines and tear apart reality as we know it.
What about your precious Cassie?
She won't have a world to live in anymore.
You'll regret the day you broke my trust, Max.
Suddenly, I woke up from my slumber. I broke the promise to save the world? I guess Kang acted before I could tell the others. I have to get to the quantum realm and fix things as soon as I can. On days 71 through 74, I set out to find the location on the map. When I arrived at the location, it seemed like nothing was there. Was this all a joke?
I'm afraid not.
Ah! Who said that?
I'm Professor X. I'm speaking to you through your mind. I was trapped underground.
Then I better get digging. I started to dig down, and to my surprise, discovered a trapdoor. Bingo! I headed to the door and entered an underground facility. There, Professor X was being kept inside of a high-tech prison. I'm coming! Just then, Wolverine jumped down in front of me.
Not on my watch.
Let me guess, you're an evil variant of Wolverine from another timeline.
Yep.
The villain charged at me with everything he had. With his insanely sharp claws, he sliced and diced me down in size. He would take out chunks of my health with almost every hit. I thought this fight was almost impossible to win. I used my molten sword to catch him on fire whenever I could, but he just kept on coming. I took to the skies and shot my firefly projectiles in his direction, but even that wasn't enough. Eventually, he cornered me and attacked with a devastating blow. I can't lose! Not here! Suddenly, I grew giant and attacked Wolverine with a second wave.
I didn't sign up for this.
The evil Wolverine ran for his life, and he realized he was clearly outmatched. With my towering size, I chased after him as he cowardly retreated. After a difficult battle, I managed to defeat Wolverine. Woohoo! I shrink back to normal and freed Professor X from his prison.
Thank you for saving me. How can I return the favor?
Can you build a quantum tunnel?
You've got it.
On days 75 through 78, I arrived back at the base with Professor X and introduced him to Dr. Pym.
Thank you for everything, Max. We'll start working right away.
While they worked on the quantum tunnel, I decided to start making small improvements to the base. I started by changing around some of the blocks for the main structure so that it really screamed Ant-Man. Next, I improved my own room for a change, making it also coordinate to my hero identity. Once I was done building, I went mining, and to my luck, found diamond. Score! I used my new materials to upgrade my suit with some diamond boots. Finally, with my task complete, I headed back to the lab to check on the scientists. Are things almost done?
Yes, but I'm missing one more part, and only Tony Stark would have it.
Then I know my next mission. On days 79 through 81, I flew through the sky in search of Tony Stark. Where do you find a billionaire? As I searched, I spotted a puppy stuck on a roof in the middle of a lake. Oh no! I rushed down and used the materials at my disposal to build a bridge across the water. Once I was finished, the puppy ran over to the other side. Oh, you're so cute! I'm gonna call you Noodles. Suddenly, the blocks around me began to shift again. To my horror, the puppy transformed into Fenrir, the massive demon dog. Nice Noodles? Noodles shot at me with flaming sparks. I retaliated with my molten sword, but he was resistant to its flames. He had some crazy chain power that wrapped me in chains, and I tried to avoid them. Unfortunately, I kept getting hurt by the magma blocks all around us as I dodged. I flew up to get away and decided I needed a better advantage. I shrank down and flew back into battle. My size made his attacks much less effective. I could get much closer to him now and slashed at him like crazy. It was a difficult battle, but I managed to overcome the mutt. R.I.P. Noodles. Just then, clouds began to gather in the sky. Oh great, what now? Lightning struck down from the heavens, and Thor appeared before me.
Hello, tiny man.
Thor? Oh my gosh, I'm a huge fan.
Hold your applause, mortal. I am actually here to thank you for defeating the horrible Fenrir.
It's not a problem. Actually, you're an Avenger. Do you know where I can find Tony?
I think I actually saw him on a mountain just east of here.
Then that's my next stop. I took the skies and headed east in search of the mountain. After flying for a while, I finally spotted it and landed at its peak. This is very tranquil. Huh, that's not the Tony from my universe. Excuse me. Before I could reach him, a grizzly bear jumped out of the bushes and attacked me. I won't let you hurt Tony! I hit the bear with my sword and it angrily turned its attention to me. It had a powerful bite, so I had to keep jumping away as I fought back. At one point, it even nearly knocked me off of the mountain peak. I was thankful for my awesome wings. After some struggle, I managed to defeat the bear. Woohoo! Did you see that? I turned and noticed that Tony was still meditating. Hello? Are you dead? Despite my efforts, Tony was too deep in his meditation. I waited for him to wake up for what felt like hours until I fell asleep. On days 86 through 89, I was woken up by Tony.
Boo!
Ah! Tony! I need your help!
I'm not actually the Tony you know, though. From my timeline, I'm the Sorcerer Supreme.
Could you still help me?
I'm not going to cut my vacation short. Besides, you're not mindful enough.
Can you make me more mindful?
Ugh, fine.
With his incredible magic, Tony teleported me and himself into a different universe. Whoa!
Now, watch carefully.
He began to cast incredible magic unlike anything I had seen before. He wasn't lying. He really was the Sorcerer Supreme.
Now you try.
I did my best to mimic his techniques, but nothing seemed to work.
No. Think about what you're doing.
Think. Okay. I focused harder than before, but instead of performing magic, I grew giant. I even managed to gain 7 more hearts.
Well, that works too.
Tony returned us to the real world, and I returned to my normal size. Now that I'm mindful, you want to team up?
Sure, but let's be quick about it.
Tony tossed over a new set of armor. I put it on, and it increased my resistance. Wow, thanks! On days 90 through 92, I returned home with Sorcerer Tony and brought him to Dr. Pym. Hey Pym, look who I found! He gave him the final piece we needed, an arc reactor to power the machine.
Max, I need to warn you about the quantum realm. It's a world where time and space don't make sense how you understand them.
Yeah, I've been there in my dreams a couple of times, but it just felt like normal dream stuff.
Well, the experience is totally different in person. You'll need something to help you with your sanity.
He handed me an amulet that would filter my perception of the realm.
Don't take that off, or you'll totally lose your mind. Alright, now back to my vacation.
With that, Tony left and Pym and I resumed our conversation.
Just give me a little more time, and the tunnel will be completed.
Awesome! While I waited, I finished expanding my base and put some finishing touches around. With my base finished, I did some final preparations for the journey ahead and returned to Dr. Pym. The quantum tunnel was completed and ready to use. Okay, I'm ready. The wasp came to send me off, and I said my final goodbyes.
Good luck out there. We're all rooting for you.
Here goes nothing. With that, I entered the portal and traveled into the quantum realm. On days 93 through 95, I came through on the other side, and I was in the quantum realm. Whoa. This place is even crazier in person. It was so much brighter than in my dreams, and I could see so much further. It seemed to go on indefinitely in every direction. Now, where is that evil monster Kang? I traveled around for a long time, but I couldn't find him anywhere. It was nothing but chunks of colorful energy in every direction. I can't give up. I had to keep going. For Cassie. Eventually, I came across some sort of doorway. Huh. Looks familiar. I cautiously entered, and I ended up in a space that looked totally different. This is weird. Suddenly, a strange floating headman descended from above.
Well, I see you have entered my realm.
Who are you?
It is I, MODOK, the supervillain you came here to defeat, but you will never stop me.
I actually came here for Kang the Conqueror.
Well, in any case, I will destroy you, Ant-Man. You will never reach Kang the Conqueror.
Over my dead body! I charged in to fight him, but he used his psychic powers on me and I started to lose consciousness. No, Cassie! Before I knew it, I was asleep. On days 96 through 98, I was sent into a nightmare. I was standing in a dark void, with MODOK floating across from me. Where did you take me?
Into the world of my wonderful mind. Here in the dream world, you're all mine.
I'd like to see you try and defeat me. Iron Man just taught me how to control my spirit. As I said that, I pulled out an awesome spirit sword that I manifested with my mind. Whoa, awesome!
You call that manifesting?
In response, MODOK transformed into a huge, horrible monster. We charged at each other and began to fight. I realized that my wings were gone, so I had no choice but to fight from the ground. He started by giving me blindness, making it harder to see around me. But that wasn't enough to stop me. I used my fist to knock him back. He began summoning lightning around me. I did my best to evade the strikes, but it became harder to dodge. I pulled out my spirit sword to deal more damage, but it just wasn't cutting it. He was way too strong. I couldn't beat him. Just then, I remembered what Tony had taught me, and began to focus on honing my spiritual energy. After a few moments, I began to grow huge. With one stomp of my huge foot, I stepped on MODOK and woke up. After waking up, I realized I had grown huge in the quantum realm too.
Please, don't hurt me! I'll do anything! Here, I have a map to find Kang the Conqueror.
I shrank back to normal size, and he tossed me a map. I looked at it, and it was super confusing, but I had a feeling it would lead me to the right direction anyway. Huh. Thanks. I decided to spare him, and set off to find the fortress where I knew Kang was waiting for me. On day 99, I traveled through another door and ended up back in the chaotic quantum space. I traveled around some more, following this crazy, confusing map. I have no idea what this thing says, but I feel like it's this way. After wandering for a while, I found another door. How many doors am I gonna find? This has to be it. Upon entering, it led me to a whole new region. There it is! Somehow, Kang's fortress was standing right in front of me. Inside, I spotted a portal that led to where Kang was hiding. I tried to enter the fortress, but suddenly Thor appeared. Uh-oh. You're not evil, Thor, are you?
Oh, yeah. I'm super evil.
Dang it! How did you even get here?
Do not worry about such trivial things.
Please, let me through. I'm just trying to save my daughter. Not to mention the fate of the universe is at stake.
Nope. Not gonna happen.
Ugh, fine! I charged at evil Thor, and soon we were locked in battle. I used my wings to take our battle to the skies. Thor used his hammer to follow behind me. Luckily, I was fast enough to avoid lightning strikes. I used my firefly weapon to shoot projectiles that homed in on his location. I couldn't keep flying forever, so I brought the fight back to the ground. I was running circles around him and getting punches in here and there, but he eventually started reading my moves and released an onslaught of attacks. Thor was destroying me. Just when I thought all hope was lost, I remembered my ant army. I called upon them, and somehow they made it into the quantum realm. It worked! They all stormed evil Thor, and while he was distracted, I ran into the fortress and through the portal. On day 100, I arrived on the other side, and there he was, with Cassie right beside him. Cassie!
Daddy!
Aw, what a touching reunion.
Let her go, you monster!
You should have never betrayed me, Max. This is your punishment. This is what you deserve.
Kang put on his helmet and grew much larger. I'm not scared of you. I'm saving my daughter and the timelines. I took out my wings and charged in to fight him. He retaliated with his laser weapons. Kang was incredibly strong and fired a flurry of fire attacks at me. I used my molten sword to get him ablaze whenever I could get the chance. Unfortunately, even burn damage wasn't enough to take him down. I took to the skies and shot at him with my firefly weapon and even shrank down small to try and catch him off guard. Kang was always one step ahead though, and even had an ice attack that protected him whenever I got too close. Looks like I'll have to fight fire with fire. I grew giant to match his size and charged in. We started fighting hand to hand, and he was a master of martial arts. I was starting to get the upper hand and wear him down, but then he came at me quick, and before I could react, he destroyed the amulet around my neck. Oh no! I need that!
I knew your weak mind couldn't handle the effects of the quantum realm.
Without the amulet, my vision started to warp. The effects of the quantum realm were driving me crazy. Cassie! I knew I couldn't give up, and just as I was about to lose consciousness, I remembered Tony's teachings again. Okay, I just need to focus my spirit. As I focused, everything went calm, and I regained some control of my mind. It's working! I dealt a huge final blow, and Kang the Conqueror was, conquered! Yes, I did it! Cassie, we're going home!